What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 3RP51. The object of common fear, is this guy that scary? 4th update? Previous chapter next chapter advertisement, what did you say? Hearing Levi's unkind words. Although the CP0 with arrogant attitude could not see his face. But the tone suddenly turned cold to ultimate. Even if Levi is a Marine Admiral, Levi is higher than him in military rank. But he was much worse than their superiors. Their leader is equivalent to Marine Marshal. Even when walking outside, it represents the face of the 5 elders and world government. When they do things, the entire Marine headquarters should facilitate them. Even Akainu, who was called a radical, later became Marine Marshal. CP0's Lu Chi came to represent the world government, and he still had to comply with many things. They are called messengers of God. I believe you are not deaf. Now I want to go in. Do you want to stop me? If this guy talks as well as the other CP0, Levi just waits. After all, he is not that domineering. Not a big deal, but another CP0 made it look like 5 elders was there in person. Who are you showing it to? How dare you? The arrogant CP0 snorted coldly. Can you stop me? Levi just released Reiatsu slightly. Advertisement. The proud CP0 instantly fell to his knees with a thud. Black Crow Admiral, what's wrong with you? We're here on behalf of the 5 elders. Seeing this, another CP0 reminded him in a deep voice. I know, so you are still alive, right? Levi looked at the CP0 calmly. Damn Marine. We represent God and exercise divine power, and you do this to me? Although the proud CP0 was crushed to the ground. But what arose in his heart was not fear, but anger and shame. I am a dignified CP0 senior agent, representing the 5 elders. Marine Admiral dared to disgrace him like this. Aren't you afraid that you will read his book in front of the 5 elders? You should know that when you went out to perform tasks before. When he says that, the 3 admirals usually give in. After all, although his status is not as high as Marine's senior official. But the identity it represents is very extraordinary. He usually derives great satisfaction from it, but he didn't expect that the Black Crow Admiral wouldn't give him any face. And still have to go in. Why don't you dare? Levi stepped forward. Get out of here, you dog of world government. Really, you old thing, you have to hold on, don't tell these bastards anything. That's right, CP0 bastard, come here and interrogate me, lousy will kill you. Ma Dan. These are the bastards who played dirty tricks and took all my friends hostage. Now they dare to come. A burst of Conqueror's Haki burst out and rushed outside. This Conqueror's Haki made many CP0 members' faces change slightly and their bodies stagger. CP0 actually doesn't really want to come to this hellish place on the 6th floor. Advertisement. Place an undercover agent on my ship, instigate my members to rebel, and let my woman attack me while I'm sleeping. You CP0 bitch, we should settle the score. Come on, come and kill me. As the CP0 chief's interrogation of Rayleigh begins. The criminals on the entire 6th floor became more and more violent. Many people have a blood feud with the world government. So these people have not given in yet, and the person who represents the world government is CP0. Many powerful people have suffered from CP0's assassination. Listen to the crazy curses of the thugs on the 6th floor. The CP0 agents gradually became silent and did not dare to approach the cages. Even the 2 CP0s guarding the passage deliberately kept their distance. But listening to this increasingly crazy voice, while they were angry, they were also slightly afraid. If these lawless madmen who are not afraid of punishment find an opportunity, they will risk their lives. These thugs will definitely take a bite out of them. Why are you making such a fuss? You can't get out, are you going to kill me? Levi passed the 2 CP0s and walked leisurely towards the 6th floor. HMPH, even if you are Marine Admiral, these guys are. The arrogant CP0 just wanted to taunt Levi. These criminals are so angry that they are not afraid of even the poison of Magellan. So what if Levi is a Marine Admiral? If he speaks now, he will definitely be scolded. He really has no discernment at all. The young admiral just doesn't know how to advance or retreat. But the sarcastic words that the arrogant CP0 was about to say stopped abruptly. Because he discovered that the entire 6th floor suddenly fell into a strange dead silence. What's going on? You're not hallucinating, are you? Advertisement. Is it really quiet? Are they afraid of Admiral? Impossible, these lawless guys? Aren't you afraid of nothing? Even the 5 elders dared to curse? And vaguely, he heard some slight discussions. Damn it, that disaster has come again. Last time, 3 people were tortured and crippled. I don't know who to choose this time. I don't know. Anyway, don't choose me. I don't know what kind of gameplay this pervert has developed. I have never seen anyone's legs wrapped around their waists. Experiment madman. I hate these guys doing experiments the most. The sound is very low, so low that even CP0 cannot hear it without using observation Haki. Even if you can't see CP0's expression, you can tell from his sluggish movements at this moment. There must be no peace of mind. How is this possible? The proud CP0 couldn't believe it. Those extremely evil criminals would actually fear a Marine Admiral together. Has this guy done anything to them? Are the madmen who are not even afraid of their punishment methods afraid of him? Are you not talking at this moment? The two people who were originally going to stop Levi hesitated. Could it be that this guy is a ruthless person? I'm going to inform Chief Kosas. Another CP0 with a good attitude trotted to report instead of blocking him. They felt like Levi was scarier than they thought. Oh, interesting. A Marine Admiral was able to suppress this group of lawless thugs. A middle-aged man with no mask and a slightly delicate appearance looked thoughtfully at the changes on the 6th floor. He is the current Supreme Commander of CP0, Kosas. Rayleigh in front of him, although no wounds could be seen. But he was much more haggard than before he was imprisoned. It would not be an exaggeration to say that he was out of breath and on the verge of death. 52. Interception of soul information. The secret revealed by Rayleigh. The 5th update. Please give me monthly flower evaluation votes. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Levi walked in front, followed by the proud CP0. He is what Levi just said. He couldn't stop Levi. And when he entered the 6th floor, he saw those fanatics looking at Levi with fear in their eyes. The proud CP0 suddenly felt a little regretful. He momentarily wondered if this Marine Admiral was some kind of lunatic. What else can make the thugs afraid than a madman? If he really is a madman, he will provoke him. He wants to kill himself at all costs. He was not punished afterwards. It's useless to me, not worth it. Thinking of this possibility, this arrogant CP0 decided to lower his arrogant head temporarily. The look in the eyes of the criminals on the 6th floor. It's something you don't have when facing them. The interrogation just ended. Are you the Black Crow? Levi just walked in a few steps. Kosas took several other CP0 men with him, walking from the cell where Rayleigh is. At the same time, 3 people's curses came from Luffy's cell. Someone with CP0 was torturing them and taking pictures. To punish them for taking action against the celestial dragons. You can also hear Luffy's weak voice. Damn it, I will definitely get out. Even if I do it again, I will still beat him away. It is absolutely impossible for me to admit my mistake. After these words, there was another round of beatings. Advertisement, but Levi felt nothing. Prisoners had beaten Luffy and the others severely before. After all, the people above have already taken care of the celestial dragons. But Levi always felt that these people were here to level up Luffy. Because every time Luffy was severely beaten, his body recovered the next day and became slightly stronger. The anti-strike ability is significantly improved. Even Levi felt that this bloodline and talent were a bit ridiculous. He is indeed a person favored by God. I am. Levi looked at the CP0 commander with an expressionless face. But deep down in my heart, there was a storm. This guy's soul is actually black. It is also full of twists and weirdness, as if there are countless evil ghosts roaring. And there is a sense of vicissitudes of nearly 8,000 years. But his body is obviously only a few decades old. This feeling seems a little weirder than Straw Hat. Kosas looked at Levi, and the two shook hands in a normal way. Chief CP0's attitude is not arrogant, it can even be said to be kind. He didn't care at all about Levi's rude behavior just now. But he always felt a little uneasy after being glanced at by Levi. It seemed like something had been pierced. Levi also became more vigilant. This was not an easy person to deal with. I am afraid that he is a talent with extremely outstanding military force and strategy. Advertisement, my subordinate is rude, Kosas said politely. Sooner or later something will happen. Levi added another sentence. Well, what Black Crow Admiral said makes sense. CP0 shouldn't have such people. Whoosh. Kosas quickly drew his gun, and then with a bang, a gunshot rang out. The arrogant CP0 was shot in the head and was still in a daze before he died. The other CP0s were still standing there, expressionless, as if they were used to it. World government upholds justice and cannot tolerate any dirt. Is the Black Crow Admiral satisfied? Kosas asked with a smile. It's okay. Levi understood immediately. This is not for justice, it is just to please yourself and draw yourself into the world government camp. Otherwise, why would something happen to this arrogant CP0 only now? This kind of temperament seems to Kosas. There is no problem, now I just do it for myself. Because he knew that the 5 elders wanted to draw this young and powerful Marine Admiral into their camp. Become a full private force, not Marine Admiral. I have something else to do, so I'll take my leave now. I look forward to meeting the Black Crow Admiral in the Holy Land. Definitely. Levi's answer made Kosas smile a little more genuinely. With these words, the people he just killed were not in vain. Kosas retreated calmly with the CP0 people. His work here was finished. But he didn't know that when Levi said he would definitely do it, he meant that he would definitely sign in. It's really strange. Why did I feel so cool when I shook hands with Black Crow? Is it an illusion? Kosas always felt that something was wrong. But I can't tell. Advertisement after Sarkos left, Levi raised his right hand. No one could see it, but in Levi's hand was a small black ball of soul matter. When they shook hands just now, Levi used Reiatsu to analyze and stripped it from Kosas. Just a very tiny bit, the size of a grain of rice. Kosas is very powerful. Although Levi knows people in this world, he may have little research on souls. But don't dare to take too much. Over the past few days, Levi has developed another small ability through soul analysis. That is to seize part of other people's soul matter and explore it with enhanced perception. Able to explore some of the owner's memories. Levi is curious about some of the secrets of world government. So I just took action and intercepted some soul material. It seems that your relationship is not very harmonious. Rayleigh's calm but weak voice came from not far away. It's okay. Levi didn't say much, just his perception fell on the soul material. Trying to get some information from above, however, after sensing the information contained in the soul material. Levi's expression changed dramatically. This is? You really have magical abilities. What did you get from that person just now? Information? Rayleigh seemed to be sure of something. At the same time, his eyes gradually became sharper. Is there another truth about the world? Maybe I have someone I can entrust my secret to? 53. The truth about the Valley of Gods, the corner of world government, change, update 6, asking for monthly flower evaluation tickets. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement. Although Levi heard Rayleigh's words, he didn't pay attention to them. The memory images Levi obtained from the soul fragments deeply shocked him. He saw 5 towering peaks, the peaks of which were decorated with beautiful palaces. Standing on the 5 peaks are the world government 5 elders. He was followed by many celestial dragons, the world's nobles in their richest clothes. Their faces were full of excitement and enthusiasm. Surrounded by 5 peaks, there is a deep pit in the middle, a huge pit that goes straight to the ground. From the heights of the 5 peaks, people are constantly being driven away and falling into deep pits. Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions. An endless stream of various human beings are escorted by powerful force, constantly being filled into this indescribable pit. The long-handed tribe, the giant tribe, the little human tribe, the fishmen tribe, the long-legged tribe, the Sky Island people. All races that can be named in the world can be seen here. Levi initially estimated that the light was seen with the naked eye and dropped. The number is conservatively over 10 million, or even more. This is definitely an unprecedented massacre. Even if Levi had always been a big-hearted person, he couldn't help but be horrified by the cruel and inhumane aspect before him. He saw the baby and old man pushing down the mountain and rolling down the steep mountain without reaching the bottom. The whole person was covered in blood and flesh, and the screams continued until the bottomless pit. Advertisement. But after one group of people, there is another group, and there is no end. He saw the shackled marines, pirates, civilians, and businessmen with faces full of fear and despair, dragging their families and their families being pushed into the abyss by the CP0 people. It's like making dumplings, and during this killing process. It didn't last for a while, but nearly half a month. Day and night alternate, filling the city with an unknown population of tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions. The pit slowly filled up with corpses, gradually reaching the level of the mountain. The bloody smell permeated the entire island, forming bloody clouds, and even the wind turned into a faint blood-red orangutan wind. Sir, after 100 years, the 4 remaining former marine admirals and some powerful pirates are here. Perform the last rites. Yes. The scene suddenly changed, and the entire island exploded. At the same time, a roar echoed through the sky. Young men, seize the world government's ancient weapon and kill all the celestial dragons. Sir, the situation has changed. Rock's pirate has come to kill us. We still have many troops that have not been mobilized. This is an unexpected situation. The entire island has been surrounded. Damn rocks. Destroy all traces immediately. Others will attack. Nothing here must be discovered. Kosas, you stay and clean up. Tianqing, you are the strongest. Stop that madman Gibble for the time being. Let's evacuate first. There is no need to fight with him. If the situation is not right, just retreat. We have many other ways. Learn. Wait for 40 or 50 years, and the world will recover again. The most glorious era in the prophecy will definitely have more powerful people. Just wait. Advertisement, clear. The memory stops abruptly here, to the last moment of memory. Levi saw a peak on the island with the words Valley of the Gods written on it. An invisible rage burned in Levi's chest. He has never been a person with a strong sense of justice. But at this moment, as a human being, I feel an unprecedented anger. No massacre Levi could remember hearing about could compare to what he saw in the memory fragments before him. The amount of this kind of massacre was incalculable. For half a month, the bottomless abyss was filled. The entire island environment has been transformed. Levi even suspected that it almost ruined most of the world's lives. Even the former Marine Admiral was filled in without mercy. This is considered one of their own, but the world government still fills it in frantically. In other words, the Marine headquarters, in the eyes of the world government, is just some fertilizer. If necessary, they will consume it without hesitation. Unless it's to join them, to join their slaughter, to become one of their executioners. Levi is not a good person, but he cannot become such a genocidal murderer. Levi took a deep breath, and he even regretted it a little. Know these things in advance, once the world government finds out. First, the Marine Admiral may also become the next wave of nutrients to be filled in. Advertisement. But Levi quickly adjusted his mentality. Knowing now is better than knowing when the butcher's knife falls on his head one day. Pirates cannot be trusted. Even Rayleigh and Whitebeard, because they are too individual and believe in things that are not necessarily the same as mine, and many pirates are disasters and must be eliminated, but the world government cannot be trusted either. It's too natural to take it for granted. Even if you become a Marine Marshal, you are just a pawn of the world government. I don't want to be the executioner, and I don't want anyone to control my destiny. The only one I can rely on is myself. It seems I have to plan ahead and make arrangements in advance. I need to be strong enough to protect myself, even the strength to surpass them, but the world government's background seems to include ancient weapon. This is something that even Kaido and Big Mom want to get. You must become much stronger than the average general, to be able to not be influenced by any force. Perhaps, one person's strength is not enough, so we have to prepare early. Levi's eyes suddenly fell on the prisoners on the 6th floor, and he smiled slightly. That smile made many strong men who were looking at Levi feel a little scared in their hearts. What is this devil planning? Even Rayleigh, who was about to say something, was stunned. What Rayleigh is sure of is that Levi must have gotten something about the truth about world government just now. Because each of them who had arrived at Raftel had a special feeling. Whenever someone touches that truth, even in a small way, they all have a whim of warning, but just after seeing Levi's evil smile, Rayleigh was confused. Would someone who learned about those things have this kind of expression? Shouldn't it be despair? Rayleigh-san, what did you want to say to me just now? 54. Secret Plan. Forced Summons of the 7 Warlords of the Sea Hancock. Update 7, asking for monthly flower evaluation votes. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. No, it's nothing. Rayleigh began to deny it. He was a little unsure if Levi really knew. It will take a few more days of observation. Make your decision again. After all, there is some truth. It's not something ordinary people can bear. And tell Levi, in case Levi is from the world government. That means telling the world government that they, the Roger Pirates, know the truth. In that case, the world government will definitely hunt them all out and execute them all at all costs. No one will be left, and many people will be implicated. Garp may not be spared. Because there are some things that they dare not tell Garp until the time comes. That would only make him confused, hesitant, and in danger. Moreover, if something happens to Garp, then Captain Roger will start the Great Pirate era of selecting strong ones, and there will be no one who can uphold justice and order. In the Great Pirate Age, Garp is alive and important. Perhaps I know Roger's purpose of starting the Great Pirate Age. But even if you are doing the right thing, it does not necessarily mean that the result is correct, Levi said calmly. It's true that sometimes it's poisonous to work hard, but there are some things that have to be done by someone. Rayleigh nodded in agreement. If I ask, you won't tell me the truth about everything you learned after you arrived at Raftel or on this road, right? I don't know what you're talking about. Rayleigh decisively pretended to be stupid. He sat in the corner with shackles on his hands, like an ordinary uncle. After saying this, I felt as if all my energy had been drained from my body. He looked extremely tired. Advertisement, CP0's punishment is really strange. I can't see any skin trauma, but I feel like your breath is about to disappear. Pain on the flesh is of little use to us. Haki can cut off the human body's nerves. Only Haki's mental torture can make us feel pain. I see. What, does Black Crow Admiral feel guilty or pity for arresting an old man like me? Is it inappropriate? Rayleigh said with a smile. You are overthinking. You are a pirate and first a marine. Even if you are executed tomorrow, I will not feel that I have done anything wrong. How heartless. Ah, but you can't die now. Levi Reiatsu was released, wrapping around the entire room where Rayleigh was. Rayleigh's eyes narrowed slightly, but he did not resist. First, he was unable to resist. Second, when people are impelled down, Levi really wants to kill himself. It's easy. Rayleigh is miserable. He finally took action against the highest level prisoner. This guy, it won't be my turn next. Red Earl and Bullet didn't care at first. Over the years, they have received no punishment. But Levi's counterintuitive research these days has frightened them all. Especially those who haven't had their turn yet. The longer they wait, the more uneasy they become. Levi had a new plan just now. These people cannot die in the next few days. We have to handle them from all aspects. However, Blackbeard has a very tough life, so you can try more extreme experiments on him. Levi had some difficulty modifying Rayleigh's extremely powerful soul. Fortunately, Rayleigh did not resist. If he resisted, Levi's Reiatsu analysis and modification would be more difficult. Advertisement, it doesn't even work. Only by crushing and maiming him so that he loses resistance can he succeed. Huh? What's going on? Rayleigh was surprised to find that his hands and feet were not wrapped around his waist or head. On the contrary, the energy and spirit that had been drained out by CP0 and the Haki power that had been broken were all restored to their original state. Even more energetic. Live well for a while longer. Levi left a word and walked towards Blackbeard. Then take out Blackbeard and practice your skills. Why are you here again? Yesterday it was me. Why is it still me today? Blackbeard was extremely desperate. Looking at Levi's back, Rayleigh touched a brick in his hand. There is a slight scratch there. That was originally his planned escape route and Luffy's retreat. The captain had indeed opened up an unknown space here. A path to possible redemption was left open to all prisoners. Maybe he knows that some prisoners in Impel Down were brought in by powerful people. Not everyone deserves to die. Although the captain is not an esper, he does have some fragments of ancient instruments on his body. Some of them can hide very well, and some of them turn themselves in from the beginning. If you are prepared, Garp will not be able to prevent it. However, it may not be necessary now. In the next few days, the outside world was turbulent, and Levi sat alone on the 6th floor unmoved. Advertisement. Although Levi is still conducting experiments these days, he is deliberately destroying the will of these thugs. But it's not easy. The stronger they are, the more their will needs to slowly disintegrate. Waiting for fear and the unknown to come is an invisible torture. But even if it's not easy, Levi is still working hard. Looking at the entire world, most powerful people have affiliations or their own forces. Now the only place with the most powerful people who don't belong to any force is here. If you can control these lawless madmen, you will have some self-protection ability. But no one can know this, especially the world government, not even Sengoku can tell. Now tell Sengoku about some of the things he saw. He would never believe it until the fact happened before his eyes. Maybe he will believe it because there is no evidence and the matter is unbelievable. Until then, go save the old man yourself. Of course, it is best to hope that such a thing will not happen in this era. Just when Levi was thinking about Marshal Sengoku also called. You brat, didn't I tell you to take one of these days to come back? Let Sakazuki guard you for a day or two. The 5 elders want to see you, so go back to the headquarters first. I know, I'm going to go there even if you don't tell me. Oh, by the way, according to the latest intelligence, 7 warlords of the sea Boa Hancock is near you. She previously refused the compulsory summons of 7 warlords of the sea brought to her by the nearby marine. When you come over, drop by. Invite her. Although they won't fight with all their strength, if they can involve some strong people, our marines can reduce casualties. Sengoku suddenly remembered something. Okay. Levi didn't refuse it. 15% 55. The focus is on coercion. Breaking news. Redhead attacks. 8th update, please give me monthly flower evaluation votes. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement summon it? Forced call? Oh, I understand. Levi understood. Since Straw Hat Luffy is in jail, some things have naturally changed. Don't say that Hancock hasn't returned to the Amazon Lily Kingdom yet. Even if I come back, without Luffy, according to Hancock's original plan, he would rather subjugate his country than agree to the call from the Marine headquarters. However, it is not ruled out that it was an angry comment. But it might not be easy for her to agree. Levi doesn't think he has any special charisma. But it did not prevent him from understanding this compulsory summons. Forced? In other words, as long as Hancock can get to Marine headquarters? No matter what methods and means, this shouldn't be difficult. When he arrived at the Marine headquarters, would Hancock dare to refuse? Show her 10 courages. What? Love the fragrance and cherish the jade? That also depends on the person. If that guy Hancock likes someone, that man is indeed a blessing. You are a nymphomaniac and I've arranged everything for you. But if she doesn't like it, I'm afraid not many people can bear that kind of temper. Sengoku even called personally to urge me, and Levi originally planned to visit the Holy Land before the Summit War. Upgrade Reiatsu again, with stronger self-preservation ability. What I do is more calm. Sakazuki, Impel Down, don't let those guys on the 6th floor escape from prison. Levi waved to a Kainu who was standing in front of the gate. Advertisement if it were before, jailbreak would be jailbreak. But not now, there are many combat forces in it, all reserved by Levi. And secretly reshape the minds of these people, pull out more of their souls and forge them. Levi thinks the success rate is relatively high. Because of soul exploration, as long as the opponent's resistance is not very strong. Levi can see all their memories. With their memory and prescribing the right medicine, the success rate is very high. However, it is difficult for someone like Rayleigh Bullet to break through their deepest soul defense. Black Crow Admiral, don't worry. As long as I'm here, no one can escape from prison. Magellan waved goodbye. It's great to have Black Crow Admiral and Impel Down. The people on the 6th floor have become much more honest recently. I think Black Crow Admiral is better suited to manage Impel Down than me. Levi. He doesn't want to be praised like this by Warden. Akainu had a dark face and said nothing. After a few days of observation, I found that there was nothing wrong with Levi. He will return to headquarters today. Unexpectedly, Levi had to go back to the Marine headquarters before going to the Holy Land. He was summoned by the 5 elders. Akainu can only temporarily manage it for a few days. Because so far, there is no news about red hair pirates. But people don't know that. When Levi takes the warship and follows the location given by Sengoku, he is looking for Hancock, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. A shocking event is happening at Marine headquarters right now. Advertisement: Red Hair Pirates attack Marine headquarters. There are many people gathered at the Marine headquarters at this moment. But most are nearby Marines. Outside the port, in the streets and alleys, inside the bay wall defenses, forts, observation towers, underground passages. Various Marine headquarters have military settings and buildings that have existed since ancient times. Marines are busy everywhere, rearranging. There are already more than 20 standing warships moored in the port. However, many powerful people are still performing tasks outside and completing handover tasks. After all, when they leave the base must be well defended. Otherwise, if other pirates or the 4 emperors take advantage of it, you will suffer a big loss. Marine looked busy. Although many Marines were uneasy, they watched more and more powerful Marines arrive. Their confidence gradually doubled, buzzing. What is that? Suddenly a Marine heard a deafening roar. Looking up subconsciously, I saw a golden, vertical aurora flying at high speed from the sea level. Like thunder, it was extremely swift and violent, splitting open the sea surface. Get away, a Marine Vice Admiral suddenly said in horror. In an emergency, the back of the knife swept out a strong wind, directly sweeping the Marine away from the ship. Boom. The moment Marine flew out, the warship they were on was directly swept in half by a golden sword energy that was almost as high as the sky. The sword energy cut off the warship and rushed forward along the straight line between the bay, the square, and the Marine headquarters building. No signs of slowing down at all. Advertisement: the seawater in the bay was divided into two halves, and the bay wall without raised copper and iron walls was directly cut open. The ear-piercing sonic boom is getting louder. The air continued to make explosive roars. The sword energy swept into the Marine headquarters square, and the entire Marine headquarters trembled under the huge sword energy. The sword energy pulled a huge ravine out of the square in front of countless Marines' horrified eyes. Enemy attack, woo, a harsh voice suddenly sounded throughout Marine. But the sword energy has already arrived in front of the Marine headquarters building. If no one can stop it, the entire Marine headquarters building will be split into two by this sword energy. Which bastard attacked Marine headquarters? Garp's furious voice sounded. Then there was a loud bang, and the wall of the headquarters building was smashed by a figure. Garp appeared in front of the sword energy instantly, and his whole body seemed to be steaming. Covered in black and red, Haki's iron fist blast out at the sword energy. Bang! The earth-shattering explosion resounded throughout the Marine headquarters. The sword energy was smashed into pieces in midair by Garp. Vice Admiral Garp, it seems you haven't weakened much over the years. A voice suddenly came from the center of the square. The redhead smiled at Garp. Red hair. Sengoku's expression changed drastically when he saw the person coming. What's going on? Red hair pirates, why did they suddenly appear in the square? Red hair, it's red hair pirates. A big storm instantly set off in the entire Marine headquarters. 4 emperors, red-haired shanks, attack Marine headquarters. At this such a sensitive time, how come? 56. Conqueror's red hair is unstoppable. Update 9, please give me a monthly ticket for flowers. Previous chapter, next chapter advertisement. No one in the entire Marine Corps, even the world government, thought of it. Openly declare war on Whitebeard at Marine headquarters. When strong men begin to gather, they will be attacked by red-hair pirates. There is absolutely no reason or motive. Ace's execution hasn't started yet and he's not at Marine headquarters. Rayleigh, the straw hat he was related to, was also absent. What's more, isn't the redhead afraid of being kicked on the steel plate? That's Marine headquarters, but in reality, the redhead's timing was excellent. At this moment, there are only 2 highest combat forces in the Marine headquarters. Marshals Garp and Sengoku. Sengoku and the others did not expect that there would be more than a week before the execution. Someone will attack Marine headquarters, completely inconsistent with Sengoku's speculation about any of the 4 emperors. Red hair. Sengoku looked ugly, and without saying a word, his whole body glowed with golden light. Transformed into a giant Buddha, jumped from the broken wall to the ground with a bang. Looking at the red-haired shanks menacingly, although many people dodged the red-haired blow in time. Advertisement, but it also knocked away many Marines, causing them to be seriously injured. If Garp hadn't reacted in time, he would have crushed the red-haired sword energy in time. If we really cut it down, I don't know how many officers will die in the Marine headquarters building. After all, even Vice Admiral couldn't withstand red-haired shanks' overbearing slashes. And what makes Sengoku strange is, they clearly felt that the sword energy was coming from overseas. Why did the red hair pirates appear in the headquarters square? 4 emperors, it's 4 emperors, red-haired shanks. Countless Marines throughout the Marine headquarters were horrified. This is one of the 4 sea emperors. The biggest thing that happened in the past few years was that the red hair caused a stir in the New World and killed the old 4 emperors. In their place came the rising star 4 emperors. Every member of his pirate group is extremely powerful. Even Vice Captain Beckman once fought fiercely with Kizaru Admiral for a whole day and night without deciding the outcome. You know, it's a solo fight, but Beckman can really compete with Marine Admiral on equal footing. This kind of combat power is possessed by almost no one in the other 4 emperors groups except the 4 emperors themselves. Even Marco is slightly inferior. If it weren't for Whitebeard, he has been accumulating power for a long time, is powerful and deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. Some people even say that the strongest person in the world may be the red-haired shanks of the 4 emperors. Today's young Marine doesn't know much about old monsters like Whitebeard. Just think of it as a legend, but the red hair has risen to become the 4 emperors in the past few years. Advertisement: they were familiar with various battles and major events, and felt heavy in their hearts, with a slight sense of fear. Now the red hair pirates attack Marine headquarters. Are you crazy? Still have a plan? What are you doing here? Are you going to die? The man who led Luffy on the pirate path. Garp looked serious. The invasion of the 4 emperors was no joke. Even if it can be won in the end, the entire Marine headquarters will have to pay a heavy price. Seeing the red hair, Garp naturally thought of Luffy, who was still in jail. If Sengoku didn't come back yesterday, he planned to go directly to Impel Down to check on the situation. Vice Admiral Garp, a man's choice is always free, and I have always abided by this. I am here today to seek justice for everyone at Sabodi Archipelago and the other 4 emperors, the red-haired man said calmly. He has red hair, wears slippers, does not trim his length, rests one hand on the handle of the famous griffin sword, and has a thin beard. Looks like a downtrodden uncle on the roadside. The overall style is very similar to Pluton Rayleigh. As he spoke, the redhead pulled Griffin out of the sheath with a clang. The sound of the knife is clear and loud, full of haki. Fair. Marshal Sengoku frowned, although he was questioning. But there have been speculations, and at the same time countless marines gathered from all directions throughout the headquarters. But Beckman, Lucky Roo, Yasop and other cadres remained calm and calm. Yes, the Sabaody archipelago has always been a neutral zone. Your marine headquarters allowed the Black Crow Admiral to sweep away the pirates, cut off the fresh blood leading to the New World, and kill them all. You don't think that we will allow this, right? The red-haired asked in a deep voice. He did not mention Rayleigh individually, but looked at the overall situation and tried to restrain Marshal Sengoku. After all, there is a difference between the pressure of one person and the pressure of all four emperors. Let Sabaody archipelago, the island where pirates must stop, remain relatively independent. Neither the pirates nor the marines interfere too much. This is a tacit understanding that has existed for decades. Advertisement otherwise, marine will cut off the pirate blood leading to the New World. How do they, the four emperors, grow in power and become stronger? He must not be gradually swallowed up by marine, in this era where the overall pirate power is strong. Four emperors will not allow this to happen. Do you think we would believe this? You are here for Pluton Rayleigh, right? Sengoku said coldly. The excuses and reasons given by the red-haired man were fine from a general point of view. But that's only if the pirates don't do anything too outrageous. If they do, the marine will sweep away, and the four emperors will have nothing to say. Since Marshal Sengoku doesn't want to admit it, let the sword speak for itself. The red-haired man is here to cause trouble, and one or two nominal excuses are enough. No need to talk nonsense anymore. Sengoku, there's nothing to say. This guy is full of fighting spirit and is determined to find trouble. Let's work together to take down the red-haired brat today. Garp rolled up his sleeves and said in a deep voice. Okay. Sengoku nodded. He also saw that there was no need to talk nonsense. Now that the red hair has stepped out of his own territory, he has come to his door. Then there is no need to be polite, just take it down and talk about it later. There seem to be a lot of people, but the thing I'm not afraid of the most is the crowd. Shanks glanced around, and suddenly the void trembled. A golden conqueror's Haki shockwave suddenly shrank in his eyes. It was like a super large storm sweeping out in all directions. In an instant, countless marine elites were rushing towards here. Like harvested rice, it fell down piece by piece. There's even a rear admiral class marine close up inside. What a powerful conqueror's Haki, a marine vice admiral who had just arrived at the headquarters said in horror. 57. Is this conqueror strong? Kaido sits back and watches, first update, asking for flower evaluation votes. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement in the circle of powerful people in the entire world. Any strong man who has ever fought against the red-haired Shanks will always give two top reviews. First, the red-haired Shanks Haki is extremely powerful, especially the conquerors and armed colors, and is probably invincible in the world. Second, the swordsmanship penultimate is extremely domineering, not weaker than the former overlord sword Pluton Rayleigh. Huh? The red-haired man thought he could at least knock down more than 70% of the marine soldiers around him. But it seemed that there were more people standing than he expected. What happened? Although it's just Conqueror's Haki in his normal state. But he has already trained Conquerors to the ultimate level, and ordinary marines will never be able to withstand it. Alone, Conqueror's Haki, the aged Whitebeard, is not necessarily his match. So he does have the capital to stand out from the crowd. It doesn't seem to be as oppressive as the Black Crow Admiral. A man who had experienced Levi Reiatsu's rear admiral resisted the red-haired Haki at the marine headquarters couldn't help but said to himself. He looked at the horrified look on the face of the vice admiral next to him who had just arrived at the headquarters, and he couldn't understand. Is he that strong, vice admiral? No, your strength has improved recently? The vice admiral looked at the rear admiral, somewhat incomprehensible. He is also the vice admiral of the headquarters, but he is away from home all the time. How could a rear admiral resist the red-haired conqueror's Haki more easily than himself? No. Rear Admiral looked at Vice Admiral, also confused. He just felt that it was not as strong as the Black Crow Admiral. Advertisement he had experienced the Conqueror's Haki impact from Black Crow Admiral twice. That's what is called horror. It's like being hit hard on the head and falling unconscious instantly. When I woke up, my head still hurt. Compared to that annoying guy from Black Crow, he's far behind. But he's still very powerful, stronger than the criminals like Impel Down. Guion walked out of the headquarters building with a sword. Black Crow Admiral, Conqueror's Haki. Interesting, it seems the rumors are true. I'm really curious, is there anyone else who can develop Conqueror's Haki to a higher level? The red-haired man was always monitoring the surroundings. You immediately understand why. Many people at Marine headquarters seem to have suffered stronger Conqueror's Haki impacts. So when we face it again, it won't be that difficult. This made generals from many places lament that the headquarters Marine was indeed powerful. The name of Black Crow Admiral is further remembered by people. Red hair. Stay today. Garp's whole body turned red, black and red Haki covered his fists, and when he touched them, sparks burst out. Sengoku gave an order to all Marines. Vice Admiral and below, all Marines, please retreat. Only Vice Admiral is eligible for last hit. This is a top fight, and no one else, even the Rear Admiral, is involved. It is also easy to die. The real battle soon broke out. Garp and Sengoku attack red-haired Shanks at the same time. Beckman tackles Sengoku, red-haired Shanks tackles Garp. Usopp, Lucky Roo and others formed a small defensive circle. Make sure their captain and deputy captain don't get beaten up, and block and knock out some hidden spears and arrows. No matter how strong a person is, if his defense is not as strong as Kaido's, you have to prevent others from plotting against you. Advertisement boom boom. Puffy. Sengoku's golden light filled the air, the Buddha's golden hands roared, and golden light shockwaves blasted out one after another. Unfortunately, it was blocked by Beckman's strange bullet with the power of space. Garp's iron fist struck the red hair, and the red hair wrapped around Conqueror's Haki's griffin was extremely sharp and swept out. The two collided, and an explosion sounded like a collapse of the sky, destroying everything around them. For a time, the entire island was filled with all kinds of destructive energy, golden light shockwaves, sword energy, Haki, fruit abilities. Chaos and violent energy filled the entire Marine headquarters, like a battlefield of gods. Even the Marine vice-admirals were surrounding the edge of the battlefield one by one. There is no better opportunity, so don't dare to act rashly. No one noticed that in the high-altitude clouds, Kaido turned into a green dragon and walked on the white clouds, looking down. Suddenly he attacked us and then left. Sure enough, there was something fishy. I followed him secretly to have a look. I really saw a good show. This battle lasted for several hours. For the past few hours, Marine headquarters was like the eye of an energy-destroying storm. The battle between the four top powerhouses caused the earth to tremble. The collision between Garp and the Red Hair caused cracks in the atmosphere several times. News of it quickly spread throughout the world. The whole world is in shock and uproar. No one could have imagined that the Red Hair pirates would suddenly attack the Marine headquarters. Damn Red Hair. Akainu wanted to immediately support the Marine headquarters, but was afraid that this was a tactic to divert the tiger away from the mountain. The other Marine Admiral, Aokiji and Kizaru, who received the news, also rushed back immediately. But the Redhead seemed to have known about these situations. In other words, Beckman has already been based on the position of all Marine strong men. Guess the time when the top powerhouse will rush back to the headquarters. Advertisement: wait until Aokiji Kizaru arrives. Red Hair and others used Beckman's ability to retreat calmly. They didn't come to fight to the death from the beginning, but had another purpose. Leaving behind a Marine headquarters that had a third of it destroyed. Both parties also suffered varying degrees of injuries. This incident brought disgrace to Marine headquarters. It also made many people worry about the upcoming outcome with Whitebeard. After all, a Red Hair pirates can come and go freely in Marine headquarters. If he were to fight Whitebeard, the man known as the strongest in the world, would he be defeated? What if you lose? The tide of the world is becoming increasingly unfavorable for Marine headquarters. This made many Marine generals angry. If the admirals were here before, it wouldn't be so easy for the Redhead to escape. It seems Marine is nothing more than that. Before leaving, Kaido exposed his traces and taunted Marine. But Kizaru arrived and launched a fierce attack on him, preparing to pursue him. However, he was stopped by Sengoku. It was not appropriate to cause trouble now, and the general attack was not as pervert as immune to death Kaido. The red-haired Kaido came to the first half. There are too many variables. Now things are in trouble. Whitebeard must die. Prepare for this battle and show the majesty of the world government in Marine headquarters. The five elders gave the order decisively and did not give up their plan against Whitebeard. It is impossible to give up, it has been announced to the world. And this lost face can be regained with the lives of 4 emperors, only then can the world's mouth be stopped. War is inevitable. 16% 58. Hancock. Are you polite? You call this an invitation? Second update? Previous chapter: next chapter advertisement: an island port with bustling trade. The Kuja Pirates perfume cobra is docked here. What kind of forced summoning order? I am so beautiful, even if you don't go, you will forgive me, right? The beautiful and sexy pirate Empress, with fair skin and beautiful appearance, wearing a cheongsam and long black hair, showed her pitiable side to the Marines on a warship opposite. Forgive, definitely forgive. That's right. It doesn't matter if you go or not, whatever the summoning order is. Boa Hancock is high. No matter what you do, we are willing to listen to you. With the beauty of the most beautiful woman in the world and the charming attributes of sweet fruits. The highest-ranking military officers here are the Rear Admiral Marine officers and their subordinates. He was conquered instantly and fell into some kind of crazy state. HMPH, a bunch of useless men, Hancock thought arrogantly and disdainfully. Then he used his left hand to lift up her plump black hair. The hand slowly formed a heart shape. Mero Mello is about to start. Advertisement: finally found you, Pirate Empress, Boa Hancock. Levi held a map drawn by an uncle. After finding this location, other Marines spread out to look for it. They didn't have an exact location at first. There's only news of their coming and going from this island. Who dares to call me by my name like that? Hancock, who was about to launch a petrifying attack on the Marines, suddenly turned dark. There is no pitiable look on his face. Sister, Marine Admiral, Mary Groot suddenly said with a trembling voice. She was always paying attention to her surroundings. Before Hancock turned his head, that's when she saw Levi. For this popular Marine 4th Admiral, they have seen the reports these days. When Rayleigh was arrested before, Hancock also scolded Levi. What? After hearing Mary Groot's words, all the female warriors of the 9 Snakes Pirates. They all subconsciously bent their bows and pointed arrows at Levi. "It's you bastard." The first time Hancock saw Levi, his expression turned ugly. He actually sent both the hero and his benefactor to prison. Advertisement: what a jerk Marine Admiral. So rude, but it was expected. You should have received the mandatory summons order for the 7 Warlords of the Sea from the Marine headquarters, right? Levi asked calmly. I got it, but I don't want to go. You see, Hancock planned to repeat the same trick. So what about Marine Admiral? He's not even a man yet. And she is a young man, who can resist her charm. If it were a veteran admiral like Akainu or Kizaru. Let's not talk about who is stronger and who is weaker, at least mentally. It's definitely Akainu and the others who are more determined. No, I won't read it. I just want to ask you, Marine headquarters, will you come with me? You don't really want the whole country to be buried with you, do you? Amazon Lily is not far from Marine headquarters. Hancock didn't say anything. After finishing, he was interrupted by Levi. You. Hancock didn't look good. This Marine Admiral didn't give her any choice at all. This is a threat. Forget it, it's a compulsory summons anyway, and I just got the news that the Marine headquarters was attacked by the Red Hair Pirates. It's been such an eventful time, and this incident is probably caused by me, so we can't waste any more time. Levi once again interrupted what Hancock wanted to say. Hancock was a little confused. As the most beautiful woman in the world, this was the first time he was interrupted by others one after another. What do you want to do? And when she heard Levi's words, she felt vaguely bad. Nothing, I just hope you understand the word force. Anyway, as long as I take the person back, my mission will be completed. Mr. Sengoku should have nothing to say. Levi held his chin in thought, thinking that this should be no problem. What do you mean? As soon as Hancock finished speaking, his expression suddenly changed. Advertisement: she saw a pressure that was 10 times more terrifying than her conqueror's Haki suddenly burst out from Levi. In an instant, the entire island and the entire sea area became dark. The invisible and terrifying pressure fell on her from the sky. How could there be such a terrifying conqueror's Haki in the world? Is this guy still human? Hancock's beautiful face lost color at this moment. Became extremely pale. When Levi Reiatsu was released, it was so terrifying that the void seemed to freeze. Hancock was powerful, but he was unprepared and couldn't move for a moment. Then a stream of black Reiatsu hit the back of Hancock's head. Hancock lost consciousness instantly, the moment he fell to the ground, the moment before he lost consciousness. Hancock realized he was being attacked. I couldn't help but curse in my heart. Marine Admiral invited people like this? Just now you had the nerve to say I was rude. How about your politeness? Are you polite now? Levi ducked near her, put Hancock on his shoulders, took back the Reiatsu, looked at Sister Mary Grutt and said, I'll borrow your sister for a while. There's a high probability that she won't die, as long as she doesn't seek death. This task is actually quite easy to complete. It feels good too. Asshole. Give us your sister back. The faces of Hancock's 2 sisters suddenly changed and they were extremely angry. But with the help of Reiatsu, Levi disappeared like a shunpo with one bounce. 16% 59. Strong men gather at Marine headquarters. The third update, asking for flower evaluation votes. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Dad, all the captains of the 43 pirate groups are here. A total of 170,000 people and 160 pirate ships. The Red Hair Pirates attacked the Marine headquarters. I heard that Sengoku was injured, but the Red Hair made no next move. On Skull Island, Marco reports the current situation to Whitebeard. According to the bounty and the intensity of popularity, select the elite. The ordinary people should not go, Whitebeard said calmly. This time, there are more than just pirates coming to help Whitebeard. There are also many kingdom troops who have been protected by Whitebeard over the years. They are all non-member countries that were once abandoned by the world government. Some people volunteered, but Whitebeard refused to allow them to join the war. This is a battle for pirates. If they join the battle, they will easily be settled by the Queen. In addition, from now on, control all communications and send out vanguard troops to sink the surrounding New World Marine surveillance ships. We must not let them capture our whereabouts and catch that Sengoku guy off guard, Whitebeard said in a deep voice. As for the red-haired guy, I guess he just wants to test the strength of Garp. Over the years, Garp has not done much, and the red-haired guy is still a little afraid. But if we go to save Ace, I'm afraid Sengoku will be embarrassed to let Garp take action against us. After all, Garp values friendship too much. Even Sengoku cannot be so cruel as to let Garp block his grandson's life path. However, Red Hair has become closer to the world government over the years, and sometimes it is difficult to predict, but our battle will not change. Yes, Dad. The hot and tense work began. Advertisement. Select elites, control communications, and eliminate Marine's eyes and ears. Marine headquarters. 7 Warlords of the Sea, Doflamingo is coming. Is that Hawkeye? His eyes are so sharp and his sword energy is fierce. It seems he came with the intention of fighting. Unfortunately, the 7 Warlords of the Sea Jinbei refused the forced summons and were captured by the Kizaru Admiral. They are being escorted to Impel Down by the prison ship. Of course. I enjoy so many privileges in normal times and don't want to contribute at critical moments. How can it be such a good thing? I heard he was trying to stop the war. Aokiji Admiral and Kizaru Admiral are back. Damn it, that red-haired guy must have calculated the time when the admirals will be gone, and he will severely humiliate our marine. and at the same time remind Sengoku of the special significance of the Sabaody archipelago. Marine said angrily unfair. I think if the Black Crow Admiral was here before, one person would be enough. That is a man who can even capture Pluton Rayleigh. A few days have passed since the Marine headquarters was attacked by Red Hair. A lot of repair work is almost completed, and there are only 3 days left before Fire Fist Ace is executed. Basically all the powerful Marines and 7 Warlords of the Sea are here. Including the remade Tyrant Bear. At this moment, the Tyrant Bear no longer has any emotions. It's a pure killing machine, but many people don't know that. The highest conference room of Marine headquarters. Marshal Sengoku summoned all Marine generals who were at the headquarters at the moment to assign tasks. It mainly assigns fixed tasks to Vice Admiral and officers below Vice Admiral. Advertisement: the admirals, except for a few special things, are free on the battlefield. They are basically strong men who can stand alone, control the overall situation, and respond at any time. Except that the Black Crow made Sengoku a little uneasy. The other 3 admirals are very experienced in various battles. But many people are indebted to Vice Admiral Garp, and Sengoku is worried that when fighting, someone is too embarrassed to give his best. But Sengoku can understand, even he has a little difficulty in starting. Let alone others. But winning Blackbeard is of great significance to the entire world. For the sake of justice and personal feelings, Sengoku will put them aside as much as possible for the time being. He also had to prevent Garp. If Garp couldn't control himself, he would be in trouble. After all, Ace was raised by Garp since he was a child. People are not like grass and trees, and no one can be ruthless. If you raise a dog, you will have feelings for it for more than 10 years, let alone a human being. But Sengoku is in a bit of a mess at this moment. His left hand is wrapped in a bandage from the previous melee. He was accidentally chopped by the Red Hair, but the Red Hair also received a punch from him. But it failed to break his armament Haki, at most it only dealt him a little concussive damage. The Black Crow Admiral is back. Suddenly, an excited voice sounded from the Marine headquarters. This brat came back pretty quickly. Sengoku was a little surprised. From the position given before, and the normal speed of the ship, it should not arrive until tomorrow. Advertisement: if the pirate Empress was procrastinating and had difficulty communicating, it might take even longer. Oh, is the 4th Marine Admiral here? Doflamingo looked forward to it, got up and walked to the window. The man who took down Pluton Rayleigh, Haki and Gecko Moria also showed some curiosity. And soon they noticed that the atmosphere in the headquarters suddenly became noisy. Hey, Black Crow Admiral has the pirate Empress Boa Hancock on his shoulders. Why, was Hancock also arrested? Isn't the Shichibukai almost gone? The Black Crow Admiral is my idol forever. Wow. The pirate Empress is so cute and beautiful, I want to hug her too. Really or not, that crazy female pirate Empress is frighteningly powerful. No matter how strong you are, you can still be stronger than us, Marine Headquarters Admiral. That too. What do these guys from the Marine Headquarters think of our Shichibukai? Gecko Moria looked extremely ugly. Could it be that summoning them was a lie, and that wanting to kill them along with Whitebeard was the real purpose? You are as young as the rumors say. Do you really have admiral combat power? The entire Marine Headquarters was in an uproar. Many people admired the Black Crow Admiral who carried Hancock off the ship. The most beautiful woman in the world, the 7 Warlords of the Sea, the Amazon Lily Empress, the owner of Conqueror's Haki. It was treated as an object and carried on the body. So Haki. Levi made a high-profile debut. Sengoku also looked slightly uncomfortable when he saw Levi carrying Hancock. Is this brat really going to attack the 7 Warlords of the Sea again? 17% 60. Anger. Brother Ming who suffered an unreasonable disaster. 4th update, please give me a monthly ticket for flowers. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. The lobby on the 1st floor of the Marine Headquarters building. Many Marine generals gathered together. Look at the extremely dazzling Admiral Star in the center of the crowd. The eyes are different, including envy, admiration, questioning, curiosity. Levi glanced around and found many familiar faces. Kirby, Smoker, Tashigi, Tina, Huashaoshan Vice Admiral and so on. Even the giant Vice Admiral came to join in the fun, but the giantess was very beautiful. Levi had to look up to see her. 7 Warlords of the Sea also came downstairs to watch. Marshal Sengoku came to Levi. After understanding the situation, he looked strange. You call this a forced summons? Are you sure you didn't knock someone unconscious? That's right. Just as long as the person comes, won't it be enough? Levi just raised his head and finished speaking, his face suddenly condensed slightly. Old man Sengoku was injured. At this moment, countless strong men felt a cold chill that was about to freeze their souls. Did you do it with red hair? Levi asked, looking at Marshal Sengoku's arm. Oh, it's nothing serious. He will recover before the public execution in a few days, Sengoku said disapprovingly. But in fact, it is not that easy. It is estimated that it will take about half a month to fully recover. The red-haired Haki is too domineering, and some of the energy of Conqueror's Haki remains in it. Recovery is not that quick. Red Hair Pirate seems to be a target that needs to be eliminated, Levi snorted coldly. Advertisement. A hint of anger. Reiatsu couldn't help but overflow. Everyone suddenly felt as if they were being crushed by a mountain. 7 Warlords of the Sea's expression changed slightly. This Haki is indeed very strong. It was very heavy, as if a gravity field dozens of times enveloped them. However, it seems that it is not as exaggerated as the rumors. Unbeknownst to them, Levi never released Reiatsu. It's just a ripple of Reiatsu caused by emotional instability. Whether red hair is good or bad, Levi doesn't know. But he knew that Sengoku had been very kind to him during this time. Levi couldn't forgive himself if he didn't teach the redhead a lesson. Ahem, there's no need to be angry about this. As a Marine, it's normal to fight and kill. Marshal Sengoku felt warm in his heart, but he didn't care. As a Marine, I have encountered countless battles in my life. This kind of injury is really not worth mentioning. It's already good that things didn't get worse, and things are not simple for red hair pirates. Because of this, one of the 5 people from the Holy Land is on the road right now. This is not so easy to deal with. Sengoku vaguely knew the purpose of the adults coming to the headquarters. He hoped that saying this would stop Levi from being impulsive. This is the 4th Marine Admiral, and it's really Haki, fufufu. Doflamingo looked at Levi with a slightly sinister tone. Because he knows that even if the Black Crow is a Marine Admiral, it is almost impossible to touch the red hair pirates. Advertisement. He knows a lot of secrets, those old guys and this person who once had the same status as him. They are very close and have big plans. It is impossible to let anything happen to the red hair pirates easily. Maybe he has already taken action now, however, Brother Ming never expected it. Because I said one more word in the crowd, he almost died. Get out. Do you have any right to speak here? Levi was already in a bad mood, and Ming Jie made such a joke. To add fuel to the volcano, you were worried about not having a punching bag, but you showed your face to me. Weird and strange. Let me show you how weird you are. Boom. After Levi finished speaking, a black Reiatsu beam of light suddenly fell from the sky. Pung. Brother Ming was shocked for a moment. He never thought that someone at Marine headquarters would dare to attack him at this time. And it's because of one sentence? Gone? Are all Marines this brave now? As an admiral, doesn't he know his former identity? Even if it is taken away, it cannot be desecrated by ordinary civilians and Marines. And he has been trying to return to the Celestial Dragons for these years, and he holds the secrets of world government. No world government will offend itself easily. How dare he, an admiral? But Brother Ming reacted very quickly and stabilized his steps very quickly. But what's going on with Conqueror's Haki? Not only can it show the actual beam of light, but it can also destroy the world and destroy the earth, like a tsunami of intimidation and oppression. Advertisement mud. This is too exaggerated. Is this his true Conqueror's Haki? Pung. The ground that Brother Ming stepped on cracked under the weight. This made Brother Ming look in disbelief, and the Marines and Shichibukai around him also looked horrified. You want me to kneel down? Don't even think about it. Brother Ming felt like he was going to be crushed and knelt down. The whole body was instantly covered with armament Haki, and then a black and red Conqueror's Haki also burst out. He wants to destroy all the madmen in this world. One cannot tolerate being directly overwhelmed by one's Conqueror's Haki. HMPH. But Levi just snorted coldly, and an even more powerful wave of Reiatsu fell down. Boom. Ming Jie's Conqueror's Haki was roughly smashed to pieces, and then armament Haki was also torn to pieces along with his very distinctive flamingo suit. Then the red sunglasses exploded. Pung! Finally, his knees hit the ground hard, his bones shattered, blood flowed across the floor, and the floor turned into powder. The surrounding area was silent for a moment. The incident happened so suddenly that even Sengoku had no time to stop it. And he doesn't really want to stop it, as long as no one is killed. Damn it, you bastard! Veins popped up on Brother Ming's forehead, and blood was gushing. It's very hideous and terrifying. In this life, except when I was a child, I have never experienced such humiliation. This bastard Black Crow Admiral actually dares to look at him like an ant. Unforgivable. Bang. Levi stepped out in front of Brother Ming and stepped on his head directly on the ground. He looked down at Brother Ming like a demon, with anger and murderous intent in his eyes. Everyone is not a good person. If Brother Ming dares to say another word, Levi won't mind treating him as the target of venting his anger. You. Feeling Haki's murderous intention that was so overwhelming that it could tear his soul apart, Brother Ming seemed to have the illusion of facing a furious Kaido, or even worse. I was stunned for a moment. Fear breeds. 17% 61. War is approaching. 5 elders descend on the headquarters. 5th update. Please vote for flower evaluation. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Levi, that's enough. Do you still want to kill him? Sengoku pretended to scold, feeling so happy. Over the years, because of Ming Jie's relationship with the world government, they turned a blind eye to Ming Jie's many illegal industries. It led to many tragedies, but for the sake of the overall situation, they felt unhappy and had to endure it. Not to mention arms and weapons, just the slave auction that Sabaody Archipelago supported. Many people suffer every year. He, Garp, and he had long wanted to beat him up, but his identity was too sensitive. Garp was about to take action but Sengoku stopped him. But Brother Ming couldn't control his mouth just now, so he could use it to make a fuss. And Levi is young. In one sentence, he is young and energetic. Big things are reduced to small things. Small things are reduced to small things, and there is room for manipulation. But Brother Ming can't really kill him. In this battle, his fighting power seems to be irrelevant. With Levi as the 4th Admiral, it is enough to be worth half of 7 Warlords of the Sea. But the relationship with the world government is too close, and there are interests connected. After hearing Sengoku's words, Levi released his foot and removed Reiatsu. If I really kill him, I'm afraid it's Mr. Sengoku who will be in trouble. Brother Ming wanted to say harsh words to vent his dissatisfaction. But when he met Levi's eyes, he couldn't say a word. Advertisement. I once wondered, is this guy really Marine? Why does it feel more ferocious than the crazy pirates from Four Emperors? The look in this guy's eyes just now made him really want to kill him. What a crazy Marine admiral. Haki and Moria were also a little stunned. At the same time, he became increasingly wary of Levi's strength. Once known as the most dangerous man among the 7 warlords of the sea, Doflamingo fell to the ground with such a look, and then his head was stepped on the ground by his black crow. This strength is so amazing, even scary. Fortunately, this time, they are on the same camp. Brother Ming got up, repaired his broken legs with silk thread, and limped upstairs. Silent, not saying a word, so gloomy that no one dared to approach. If everyone has nothing to do, just leave and do your job well, Sengoku said to everyone. Others Marine left angrily with excitement and an unquenchable mood. Everyone performs their duties and continues to be busy, but the controversy about Levi has intensified. Damn it, damn Marine Admiral, what did he do to me? Does he already know my secret? Where am I? Hancock woke up in a room like a hospital room. In order to keep her quiet during the journey, Levi had kept her in a comatose state for the past few days. As soon as Hancock regained consciousness, he assumed a fighting stance. She couldn't even imagine what would happen to her if she fell into the hands of a man. Insulted? Or be discovered behind the celestial dragon's slave secrets? This is possible, and no matter which it will be more uncomfortable for Hancock than death. I checked the clothes first. Well, there was nothing wrong with it. It was still a cheongsam and there was no trace of it being untied. Advertisement. The surrounding environment is full of nurses wearing Marine clothes. What is this place? Are you awake? This is Marine headquarters, a nurse replied. Hancock felt like his head was going to explode. His eyes darkened, and as soon as he opened them, he arrived at the Marine headquarters? How could he refuse the summons of the 7 warlords of the sea now? No matter how arrogant Hancock is, if he dares to say no in other people's territory, he doesn't think he can get out of Marineford. Not at the Marine headquarters. It's not difficult to save your life. But at Marine headquarters, except for herself, the island is full of enemies. That bastard Black Crow Admiral. Hancock felt uneasy, although he was a little surprised that he didn't violate him. But have you ever seen the celestial dragon's slave mark on your back? Gion went to guard Impel Down. Akainu will escort Ace to the headquarters. If I had known this arrangement, Usagi wouldn't have to come back in the first place. Levi couldn't help but complain as he listened to the report from a frightened male rear admiral next to him. Looking at the frightened and excited adjutant, who was struggling to even communicate normally, Levi still felt that Gion was better. But this arrangement is very reasonable. Strictly monitor all pirate intelligence on the islands near Impel Down, especially the red hair pirates. Levi said to the temporary adjutant next to him. Obviously, after returning to Marine for half a day, Levi had nothing to take responsibility for. Sengoku lightened his burden. We just have to participate in this Marine headquarters war together. But Sengoku told him not to take action casually and to keep an eye on Garp. Advertisement as an insurance policy to prevent unexpected situations. Levi didn't care, but he had other plans in mind. Whitebeard symbolizes an era. No matter who defeats him, he will gain the honor of being the strongest in the world and countless titles. And these titles will evolve into a terrifying appeal. Levi needs this appeal, even if he doesn't need it right now. It will also be needed in the future. Levi plans to give Whitebeard a dignified ending ceremony. There is no Duozi sword, and there is no Blackbeard gang fight. This is worthy of him, but he has to accept the honor. Levi, come with me and I'll take you to meet someone. Sengoku suddenly walked over and said with a serious look on his face. Levi waved his hand and asked Rear Admiral to go about his business, then stood up and followed Sengoku. Sengoku was silent, as if he wanted to say something, but didn't know how. Is someone from the world government here? Levi noticed that Sengoku's expression seemed heavy, and he immediately realized that the situation was unusual. Sengoku nodded. After entering, no matter what the other party says, don't go against it. Disobedient, I know you have your own ideas, but you are still young now, and you may not be able to see many things clearly. It's the 5 elders. There are only a few people in the world who can make Sengoku make such a helpless compromise. Sengoku nodded again. Levi's heart froze slightly, as the 5 elders arrived at the Marine headquarters quietly. It didn't cause any fluctuations. It seems that they are not here for war. Sengoku brought Levi to a door, and Levi pushed the door open. 62. On execution day, everyone takes action. The last calm before the storm. Update 6. Please give me monthly tickets for flowers. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Sengoku waited slightly anxiously outside the door. The nearby area is isolated by CP0 and Marine generals. Ordinary people are not allowed to approach. The person who summoned Levi was the 5 elders known as Moon. Bald head, one of the 5 holding a weapon similar to first-generation Kitetsu. No one knows what they exchanged except themselves. All I know is that Black Crow Admiral came out expressionless about 5 minutes after he entered. The arrival of the 5 elders in person meant that Levi no longer had to go to the Holy Land. At least this time, there was no reasonable way to go. Sengoku asked Levi how he was doing, and Levi said everything was fine. Sengoku breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this. But he didn't know that this 5-minute exchange not only changed the war, but also completely changed the entire world. Even the 5 elders themselves didn't expect it. I'll go back to my place first. If anything happens, send someone to find me, Levi said calmly. Okay, there should be nothing to do in a short time. Now we just have to wait for the Whitebeard pirates. Having said this, Sengoku was still a little uneasy. Levi returned to his residence with particularly heavy steps. After returning to his residence, Levi's calm face was filled with unspeakable anger. World government, it's too much. It seems that we need to prepare early. I never leave my destiny in the hands of others. Besides, let me see what secrets you have that no one knows. Forget it if you can't take action against Brother Ming. You can't continue to investigate the red-hair pirates. More importantly, you dare to use the positions of Sengoku and Admiral to threaten and beat me, just because I refused to join CP0 and... Do you really think of yourself as a god? Levi said, holding a ball of black soul fragments in his hand. That was a handshake opportunity that Levi and the 5 elders got after giving in. This one is no bigger than a grain of rice, and because of the 5 elders, Levi has to be more careful. Advertisement. After checking his memory, Levi pondered for a full day and night, and then made a decision. The first stop, let's start with Impel Down and Whitebeard's heads. Since you like to make people feel scared and uneasy so much, then this time, feel it for yourself. My justice does not belong to Marine, nor does it belong to the world government, it only belongs to myself. Levi stayed in seclusion for the next few days. No one had seen him, and the entire Marine headquarters as the execution day approaches. The atmosphere became increasingly urgent and heavy. The evacuation of military-affiliated towns started ahead of schedule. The Marines were excited and curious when they first came to the headquarters. As the war came, everyone became taciturn, everyone's heart is gradually depressed. Do they really want to go to war with the strongest man and the most powerful pirate group in the world? While waiting anxiously, nervously and uneasily. Many people live like a year, but what is coming will still come. 3 days later, it was the day of execution. World government and Marine are fully prepared. Moreover, the execution was broadcast live to the whole world and made public. Sabodi Archipelago brings together journalists from around the world. They will spread the war situation to the world as quickly as possible. They were all nervous and heavy waiting in front of the big screen. Many powerful kingdoms have large screens connected to Marine headquarters. Ordinary people have begun to pray, with only about 9 hours left before the execution. Advertisement Akainu also exchanged positions with Gion and escorted Fire Fist Ace back to Marine headquarters. The route is kept secret so no one can find it. All Marine forces are arranged according to the established positions. 50 top warships surround the outer port of the entire crescent-shaped bay. Like 50 ferocious beasts that choose to devour people, the cold cannon fire points towards the sea. There were 5 Shichibukai standing on the inner wall of the bay at the front. Among them Hancock had a displeased face. Several others, including Doflamingo, had expressionless faces. Followed by 100,000 Marine elites and many vice admirals arranged in the center of the square. But the most eye-catching thing is that under the execution platform, there are 4 Marine headquarters admirals. Levi sits second from the left. His youth made countless Marines and everyone in front of the live broadcast feel incredible. Garp and Sengoku haven't shown up yet, and there's no one on the execution platform yet. But displaying such a lineup in front of the world makes people feel suffocated. What a behemoth this is. 4 admirals, 7 warlords of the sea, 50 warships, 100,000 elites. Marshal Sengoku and Marine hero Garp are also coming soon. This is enough power to make the world tremble. Gather these forces in order to keep Whitebeard forever without any major losses. The live broadcast has started, but the entire Marine headquarters is eerily quiet. From now on, the Whitebeard pirates may attack at any time. No one knows the exact time. Is such a powerful lineup only used to deal with one Whitebeard? Advertisement. This shows that Whitebeard is very powerful. We won't do business today. If the world is still around tomorrow, we will do business again. Old? That guy is not old at all. Don't compare him with ordinary old men. The first time we saw him, we gave up the idea of surviving. I hope execution will solve the problem. The Whitebeard pirates must not come. That's a pirate group that's scarier than demons. Whitebeard possesses the power to destroy the world. In terms of destructive power, no one in the world can match him. He has killed several powerful people at the same level. This is the evaluation from a giant in the underground world. It's so quiet. Everyone sighed as they looked at such a luxurious lineup and the screen full of Marines in blue and white military uniforms. The reporters couldn't help but swallow their saliva, and they were also frightened from the bottom of their hearts. They felt their hands trembling slightly. Will war really break out? And there are clearly hundreds of thousands of elites, but at this moment they can only hear the sound of the sea breeze passing by. At the same time, Impel Down, Rayleigh watched Ace leave, and the defense dropped a lot on the 6th floor. It seems that I should take action. Let's send the seedlings of Straw Hat and the others out first. Don't let me down, Straw Hat, boy. A deserted island near Impel Down. The red hair pirates are hiding here. Whitebeard is about to take action. They attacked the headquarters before. They will think that this matter is over. At the same time, due to the outbreak of the war, Impel Down's defense force is also weak, it is almost time. Understood. Except for Magellan, Impel Down is not worth mentioning. The boss's conqueror's Haki is enough to sweep everyone away. Holy place. The 5 elders were suddenly summoned urgently. They knelt down at the feet of a female-like figure, respecting Lord Chihuam from the bottom of their hearts. I.M. walked past them one by one, and suddenly stopped beside Yu Laoxing. What's wrong with you? Why is part of your soul missing? What? The other 5 elders all looked at Yu Laoxing. Their faces changed drastically, and they were all shocked. Marine headquarters. Waiting, countless people suffer, feel uneasy, panic, and fear. Suddenly a lookout shouted, "There is a lot of fog in the sea ahead." Levi, who was under the execution platform, slowly raised his head and looked into the distance with extremely deep eyes. Are you here? Then let the world feel the storm. No one can try to influence my destiny, not even the world government. 63. The summit war begins, and the world feels fear. 4 admiral meetings, please order first. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement go back to a few minutes before the fog rose. The first step of Levi's plan is simple. Build your own reputation and let the world know how powerful you are. Because fame is very important to Levi's future plans. And its own strength will become unprecedented appeal. So in this battle, Levi doesn't need to keep a low profile. There is no need to be humble. What he wants is a high profile. The higher the profile, the better. Can you survive and grow? No need. If they don't invite you to sign in at a holy place, then go by yourself. To show the world how powerful you are. The best plan right now is to defeat Whitebeard. But not too fast, and Whitebeard isn't that easy to defeat. Let the world feel how scary Whitebeard is. The scarier he is, the more powerful he is. When he knocked it down himself, only then can the whole world realize its own power more deeply. Let the strong men in this world see what crushing the soul is. Levi had just sat down in the Admiral exclusive seat at this time. But sitting here is just a facade, because it was live broadcast, it was for a few old guys in the Holy Land to watch. Levi was not very happy when talking to Yu Laoxing. Although he appeared happy at the time, he was not. The 5 elders want to control Levi's fate, which he won't allow. Levi did not know that a large-scale search was also launched in the Holy Land at this moment. Search the Holy Land to see if there are anyone else whose souls are in need of medical treatment. If so, find out what they have in common and locate the important thing that I.M. Sama cares about. At the same time, Levi still has to be in the process of this war. Take some time and go to Impel Down to arrange some things. He had a premonition that the Red Hair Pirates would attack Marine headquarters. This signaled that the Saboti archipelago matter should be discontinued. It should be a false signal, since they are so anxious to fight out of the New World. Even according to Sengoku, Beckman, who was not originally an Esper, became one. Some trump cards exposed. It shows that the redhead is anxious. Regardless of whether it was Rayleigh or Luffy he was rescuing. Now both of them are staying in Impel Down. As for saving Ace, it's unlikely. Ace is protected by Whitebeard. No matter what, Whitebeard will save Ace. There was no need for him to take any extra steps, and he only had one chance. The more people you have to rescue at one time, the higher the difficulty. With his current Reiatsu Shunpo, explode with all his strength. It doesn't take a while to rush to Impel Down, you can come back and continue fighting. Create the illusion for the 5 elders that they are always on the battlefield. Of course, Magellan's level must be arranged in advance. But during the war, if you go Impel Down, Magellan won't say anything. As long as he said that Sengoku arranged some kind of backup plan. During the battle, Magellan will definitely provide convenience to himself. Even if he guessed wrong, the red hair didn't attack Impel Down. I can't teach him a lesson myself. You can also take advantage of the moment when the attention of all the powerful players is attracted by the summit war. Make a clean sweep of the arrangements made over the past few days. Advertisement: the thugs on the 6th floor are willing to obey themselves. All fight Reiatsu into their souls, allowing them to become their own power. This prevents them from rebelling, but it is not easy to break in. Unless they relax their Haki defenses themselves. If you don't want to, you should also leave some backup for them. Just in case the 5 elders use it against him one day. As long as he can secretly control this power, even if the 5 elders will look unhappy with him in the future. If you want to do something to yourself, you have to be careful. You must control your own destiny, but the timing now has to wait and find. Levi is not in a hurry because he knows that this war will not be easy. Aokiji and Kizaru are 2 people who can definitely paddle. But Levi wouldn't say they were wrong. Levi doesn't dislike people who are grateful. As for Sakazuki, although he will work hard, I'm sorry. This battle is destined not to be his battle to become commander-in-chief. I need fame, just being a 4th admiral is not enough. It's best to be the strongest in the world. Whitebeard should be coming soon, right? I don't know where it will come from. It's really scary. Kizaru crossed his legs and said casually. No matter where Whitebeard comes from, these admirals will not act immediately. In this battle, what they have to do is to avoid top powerhouses like them. He might be dragged down to be buried with the monster Whitebeard. If nothing else, Whitebeard is scary, but the date of death is destined, otherwise how could they live broadcast to the whole world? It's best to fight in turns, and it's safest to kill Whitebeard bit by bit. Otherwise, his earthquake destructive power is too terrifying, and he has the ability to kill any General Shinto present. Ah la la la. Levi is really young. I wanted to see you a few days ago, but I couldn't, and now I finally do. Aokiji looked at Levi curiously. Levi rarely goes out these days. After all, nothing happened. Aokiji was also busy arranging his troops. So much so that the two of them didn't really meet until now. Aokiji's justice may be a little lazy, but it is similar to Fujitora's justice. It seems that if I have the opportunity to communicate with him more, instead of rebelling and becoming a pirate later, it is better to become my self-protection force. Levi thought. Although he may later become an undercover agent of the Blackbeard pirates. But now Blackbeard is still in prison. But if you really want to compete with Akainu for the position of Marshal, or compete with others for the position of Marshal, you will fail. Aokiji's Admiral Road may be changing. He himself has said that he has never regarded Marine as his own. Thinking about it over the years, some of the absolute justice of Marine and world government made him waver. The most obvious one is the Ohara incident. Not being able to become a marshal means that he cannot change the entire Marine and the world. I can only find another way out. Kuzan-san, I think it would be better if everyone keeps the same pace with their legs crossed like this. Levi's inner plan turned into a plan. But thinking of some interesting things, he looked at Aokiji with a smile on his face. Oh, why? I think this is quite comfortable. Aokiji asked confused. Why did he talk about his sitting posture? You don't fit in with others. I'm afraid that one day your legs will be gone. Levi also crossed his legs. Why is this? Aokiji looked confused and couldn't keep up with Levi's thinking. Could it be that this fourth admiral is unhappy with him? Hinting at breaking his own legs? But look at his kind face. It doesn't look like he's threatening himself. Akainu also turned his head slightly and looked over. There was a fighting spirit in his eyes, and he wanted to compete with Ji Wei. Maybe I am a little weaker than him in strength. But in the real fight, Akainu has absolute confidence in himself. Black Crow, let's see who can take off Whitebeard's head. Akainu is not willing to be inferior to Levi in terms of strength. But after cultivating to their level, it is too difficult to make further progress. Advertisement, but the combat experience itself must be richer. In a real fight, the stronger person may not necessarily win. Akainu thinks so. He wants to become Marine Marshal. He must have a record that would make even a strong man like Levi speechless. And now is such a good opportunity. Okay, I will win anyway, Levi said confidently and indifferently. That's not necessarily true. Akainu was slightly dissatisfied. This guy answered so confidently. Who are you looking down on? Every time I feel like this guy is very aggressive when facing me. But Sengoku said that was not the case. If Sengoku didn't lie, then Levi has been playing a trick on himself. Cunning little devil. Sometimes Akainu really wishes Levi was a pirate. In this way, he can destroy his humanity. Have you fought before? Kizaru asked curiously. He is relatively familiar with Sakazuki. At least it's better than Aokiji's relationship with him. He also entered the training camp in the same period. Aokiji is 2 years behind them. Listening to Akainu's rare words, just like in his youth, he refused to admit defeat and always wanted to compare. Kizaru couldn't help but have a bold idea. These two fought, and Akainu suffered the loss. Sakazuki was often like this when we were in the same training camp. As long as he loses to others, he will always find various competitions to win back and conquer them. But I haven't seen Sakazuki in this mood for decades. Yeah, Akainu admitted after the two briefly exchanged words. None of the people present publicized it. After all, they didn't get permission. In Admiral's battle, every move is valuable information. Who dares to leak it easily? It seems that Brother Levi is more powerful than first thought. Marine is really lucky. Kizaru said with a smile. A frown piled up at the corner of his mouth, which was a little wretched. Aokiji's eyes became even more curious. He is also a smart man. 2 simple sentences from Kizaru and Akainu. He knew the strength of 2 Marine admirals against Levi. There was no doubt at all, but full approval. They even vaguely felt that Levi's strength was superior to them. This makes Aokiji feel a little weird. In his opinion, Levi is so young. The strength can be similar to them, or even inferior to them. They are all the strongest men and geniuses in the world. If it was slightly higher than Akainu, it would be too strong. These admirals master the Logia fruit and penultimate Taijutsu Haki. Not as powerful as a strong man who controls Conqueror's Haki. What tricks can Conqueror's Haki do? I can pay more attention to it later, but Vice Admiral Garp is too hard. I thought of this. Please give me flowers. Aokiji couldn't help but sigh softly in his heart. Garp treats Ace like his own grandson. Now he is to be publicly executed. In the face of justice and family affection, no matter who it is, it will be difficult to choose. But they also have their own justice. Clang, clang. The sound of iron chains resounded in the silent Marine headquarters. Fire Fist Ace was escorted towards the execution platform by 2 executioners. Taking the steps, Ace raised his head slightly and looked at the sky in the distance. Many childhood scenes and promises flashed through my mind. We must live more freely than anyone else on this sea. Advertisement, but now, he is about to step onto the execution platform. But he doesn't regret it. Maybe it's the answer he always wanted. It has been there for a long time, from the moment I had a family. It's not a bad thing to be born on your own and live in this world. What he is worried about now is that his father will come to save him. Better not to come, life ended like this, he didn't have much to say. Garp, I want to tell you everything. Sengoku and Garp came from not far away. They had just discussed something, so they arrived late. It's up to you, I'll be down below. Garp's face was calm, and his eyes were full of helplessness. Then we parted ways with Sengoku on the same road. Garp walked towards the execution platform and Sengoku walked towards the execution platform. You have tried your best, Crane Vice Admiral comforted him. Garp worked hard just now, but world government and Sengoku finally decided to tell everything to the world. Ha ha ha. Women are really gentle at this time. Garp smiled forcefully. Oh. After Marshal Sengoku stepped onto the execution platform. Caught everyone's attention. Sengoku took out his phone, looked at the Marines below and said, "There's something I want to convey to you first." As soon as these words came out, everyone stared at Sengoku more intently. The Vice Admirals who knew a little bit about the inside story had cold sweat on their foreheads. Is Marshal Sengoku going to speak out about that matter? May cause panic. Pitka's D. Ace, about the significance of this man dying here. Ace, tell me your father's name. After Sengoku finished speaking, he looked down at Fire Fist Ace who was handcuffed on the execution platform and asked. Whitebeard. Ace's face darkened and he suddenly realized something. Then he said it very decisively, wrong. My only dad is Whitebeard. Sengoku stopped looking at Ace, he knew Ace wouldn't admit it. And he himself seemed to have fallen into a certain memory. Everything about that man, after his death, we conducted all suspicious searches. Because on a certain island, he behaved similar to his father and we are worried that his bloodline will continue. Sengoku began to talk about some past events after Roger's death. But at this time he was only using the man. It's not clear who it is, but smart people and reporters have already made some guesses. It was just a little unbelievable for a moment. In order to keep her child alive, a woman went against common sense and let the child stay in her belly for 20 months before giving birth to it, hiding it from all searches. But the price is huge. Your mother, Porcas de Rouge, died after giving birth to you. Over the years, without our knowledge, that man's bloodline was growing. It wasn't until 2 years ago that a certain pirate group emerged. Its captain showed amazing talent and refused the recruitment of the 7 warlords of the sea at a young age. At that moment, we finally determined. Yes, you are the blood of that man. It's just that Whitebeard noticed this earlier than we did, and protected you, trying to train you to become the next king of pirates. Portgas D. Ace, your biological father's name is Roger, the Pirate King, accompanied by Marshal Sengoku's final answer. The entire world and the entire Marine headquarters fell into deathly silence. Even the sound of breathing turned into noise at this moment. Then the whole world erupted into unprecedented panic and screaming. Countless people's scalps were numb and terrified. It's like falling into an endless cold ice valley. Fear lingers. One Piece, Goldo Roger, the demon who started the Great Pirate Era, the Butcher, still has blood in this world. How is this possible? An old reporter was completely stunned and dominated by fear. The pen and notebook in his hand slipped from his hand without any notice. He remembered the terrifying pirate who conquered the Grand Line decades ago. That was a demon that influenced 2 eras and brought darkness. For such a person, everything about him should be erased. How can he still have blood in the world? 64. The man who destroyed the world. 1 hit into the soul. First order requested. Previous chapter, next chapter advertisement. The whole world was frightened at this moment. They didn't expect Firefist Ace, other than being Whitebeard's son. His biological father turned out to be Roger, the Pirate King. Because the era of great pirates has begun for Roger. World government has always portrayed Roger as the world's #1 criminal. Some crimes that were not committed by the Roger pirates were all blamed on the dead Roger. After further publicity, the name Roger became synonymous with evil. It must die. Roger's bloodline must die. We can't let him live in this world. That's right. People all over the world are screaming in fear. For them, the sooner this evil bloodline is eliminated, the better. No, I joined the Whitebeard pirates to make my father the Pirate King. Ace heard Sengoku say that Whitebeard protected him so that he could become the Pirate King. He immediately retorted, "You are the only one who thinks so. If we leave it alone, sooner or later you will realize the potential of your bloodline that stands at the top of the pirates. In order to eliminate this danger, even an all-out war with the Whitebeard pirates is not necessary." Sengoku said firmly. The extremely decisive and firm tone resounded throughout the Marine headquarters and even the entire world. It's so interesting. I didn't expect that the bloodline of the Pirate King is still alive today. Morgans and the Lone Shark King, the Shipping King, the Queen of the Pleasure District, these underground giants. It's rare to get together, even the Golden Emperor. The speaker was Morgans, the Newsbird King, because this underground world branch club can get news from Marine headquarters as soon as possible. They don't want to fall behind others, and just when Sengoku finished speaking. A lot of fog appears in 607, in the sea area ahead. Ships appeared in the fog. Damn it, how did it happen? How could there be heavy fog? The 43 pirate ships under his command were strange and shadowy, forming a large fleet. Is it finally coming? Is it coming from the front? Sengoku frowned slightly. In his plan, there should be only one way for the Whitebeard pirates to land in Marineford. But it really appeared so easily, which made Sengoku a little uneasy. Confirm all members immediately. It's Rogue Knight Doma, Brother Degulban, Ice Witch Huadabe. They are all famous captains from New World. Do you want to open fire? No, wait. Where are Whitebeard and the captains? Sengoku felt bad when he heard these names. Whitebeard is really here, although reporters from Saboti Archipelago had some guesses and expectations. But I really saw the huge pirate fleet, and the bounty for each one was over 100 million. The world-famous pirate captain. Everyone couldn't help but feel fear, and all luck was shattered at this moment. War is bound to break out and no one can stop it. Nothing found. Wait. There's something moving in the bay. After looking around, the lookout found water bubbles coming out of the bay, which was very strange. When Sengoku heard this, his expression changed slightly, and he had made a mistake. It seems that he will appear from an unexpected place. That guy Whitebeard is still as cunning as before. Crane Vice Admiral said with a frown. This is not a good situation. That guy Whitebeard didn't pay any price, just let him get so close, Sengoku said with a frown. Whitebeard's earthquake power is inherently terrifying. Known as the world's most powerful destructive ability. Advertisement none of them, because Whitebeard achieved the earthquake fruit. It's not good to let this most powerful destructive force come so close. But it was too late to stop it. Peng pong pong, 3 pirate ships rushed out from under the sea in the bay, and the coating was shattered at the same time. Moby Dick was the first to surface. It's the captains of the Whitebeard pirates. The Whitebeard pirates have invaded the bay. Many Marines were shocked. Phoenix Marco, Diamond Josie, Team Sword Beasta. All the captains are on the ship. The Marines did not expect this outcome. Sure enough, even if they have arrangements, Whitebeard is not a vegetarian. I have been dealing with Sengoku for so many years. Know each other well. Levi knows, but there is no need to inform. Because sooner or later both sides will be in close combat. It's just the result of earlier and later. Whitebeard's ships appeared first, just to see the situation. Seeing that there was no firepower deployed in the bay, they surfaced in the bay. If firepower is deployed, the floating point will change. Quick, adjust the angle of the cannon immediately. Aim at the Whitebeard pirates. Vice Admiral, who was standing on the wall of the inner bay, commanded immediately. Clang, clang, clang. Whitebeard cuts through the clouds with his supreme sharp knife. Walking with some heavy steps from Moby Dick to the bow of the ship. Every step was like thunder, falling on the hearts of everyone present. Everyone subconsciously quieted down and watched. Because the strongest man in the world appeared. He was wearing a coat with no shirt underneath, and many old sword wounds could be seen on his broad chest. Wearing a turban and having the iconic crescent-shaped white beard. Whitebeard. Even if Whitebeard didn't take the initiative to release Conqueror's Haki at this moment. But at this moment, many Marines felt a strong sense of oppression. Since Roger's death, the Whitebeard pirates are the most powerful in the entire world. Even though Whitebeard looks extremely old at the moment. But it's still daunting. I always feel that Whitebeard seems to be more powerful than Marine Admiral in some places. Is it an illusion? Levi looked at Whitebeard and pondered. Logically speaking, the strength of the General and the Emperor are at the same level. Whitebeard shouldn't give himself the feeling that he is slightly better than Kizaru and others. Yes, it's a matter of mentality. In this battle, Marine's thought was how to avoid the loss of the strong Admiral as much as possible, but Whitebeard came with the determination to die. A conservative, a crazy one. Naturally, Whitebeard feels more ferocious. And the strong ones are so desperate that usually several strong ones at the same level may not be able to press it in a short time. Levi quickly understood. Sengoku, we haven't seen each other for decades. Is my son okay? Whitebeard looked at the candidate calmly. His eyes first glanced at Garp, then at the 4 admirals under the execution platform. Especially the new 4th admiral, this guy even captured Rayleigh. The strength is amazing, and the main reason is that he is too young. But it makes no difference to him. In today's battle, he knows what the outcome will be. One more admiral, one less admiral, it doesn't matter. Finally his eyes fell on his old rival, Marshal Sengoku. Whitebeard. Marshal Sengoku frowned. The cannon turned too slowly, it was too late. Ace, we're here to rescue you. Everyone, Ace burst into tears instantly, and countless memories related to Whitebeard came to his mind. From challenging Jinbei, to Whitebeard appearing and adopting him as his son, the assassination on the ship, being infected by Marco and the others. Advertisement, I'm sorry. It's obvious that I was too willful. Dad told me not to go, but it's all my fault for going my own way. No, Ace. I asked you to go, right, Marco, Whitebeard said firmly. That's right. Don't worry Ace, you are our family, we will rescue you now. Beasta drew out his 2 swords, ready to fight at any time. Yes, everyone in this world knows the consequences of attacking our family. Everyone is on alert. Don't think that we will win just because we have the advantage in strength. Sengoku noticed that Whitebeard was making a move. Remind everyone loudly immediately, Whitebeard said, freeing up his hands, and then punched the left and right punches. Boom. Crack. His fists suddenly hit the air on both sides. The roar of a powerful blow sounded, followed by Whitebeard's fist. The atmosphere spreads with mirror-shattering cracks. The sound of these fists sounded like thunder in everyone's heart. The fist blasted out, the atmosphere cracked, and the terrifying earthquake force spread along the air to the distance. What is that? The atmosphere is cracked. Countless people looked at this scene and were instantly stunned. Whitebeard just punches out. The void is full of cracks. What kind of monster power is this? Countless people have never seen such a horrific attack. Are you kidding? Can something like the atmosphere be shattered? Even if he is a god, I'm afraid it's nothing more than this. But the true power of this punch began to appear. The power of the shock blasted out and spread to an infinite distance, then caused a resonance and rolled back with terrifying power. Rumble, rumble. Marines in the entire Marine headquarters suddenly felt a strong ground rumble. And it's getting more and more violent. Marshal Sengoku, the water level has risen. Oh my god. What is that? Sea surface, sea surface. Marine looked at the sea in front of him, so scared that he couldn't even speak a complete sentence. The originally calm sea surface was like a piece of jelly, being torn into several pieces by a terrifying force. The entire Marine headquarters is like a swaying boat in a storm, and may be submerged at any time. Tsunami. It's a tsunami. The attack Whitebeard just made is going to turn into a tsunami. Everyone, be careful. Don't forget that we are facing the earthquake man with the earthquake fruit. Edward Newgate. A man with the power to destroy the world. Garp looked heavy and roared. To remind everyone. He didn't want to see any Marine die due to carelessness. After violent ups and downs, the earth-shaking sea twisted strangely. Suddenly, waves higher than the previous ones rolled up. The sky was so strong that the sky blocked out the sun, and a meter-high tsunami formed on the left and right sides of the Marine headquarters. At this moment, countless Marines, including some vice admirals, were so frightened that their faces turned pale. Tsunamis hundreds of meters high were coming from both sides. Just the shadow of the tsunami illuminated by the sun has covered the entire Marine headquarters. The tallest Marine headquarters building is in the face of this natural disaster and tsunami. It also looks extremely small. I'm afraid if a wave catches it, everything will be submerged. Is this the attack of the strongest man in the world? Kebi was so frightened that he had difficulty breathing, and the shadow covered him. There was only one thought left in his mind: dead? A tsunami bigger than the entire Marine headquarters. How to resist? This is simply not something humans can do. Oh my god. Humans can actually cause such a terrible tsunami. Isn't this a dream? Saboti Archipelago and others watching the live broadcast. Across the screen, you can feel the unprecedented sense of despair. What are the uses of cannons, guns, and warships under such a tsunami? Advertisement: this is the most terrifying natural disaster on the sea. The Marine headquarters is in danger. If this wave continues, even if there are 100,000 elites, the whole army will probably be destroyed. How could this happen? Why is Whitebeard so scary? With so many troops, can't he win? It's over. The end of the world is coming. The tsunami was monstrous, and in addition to the highest waves in front, there were countless waves in the back. The average person simply cannot think of it in this situation. How do Marines save their lives? They finally understood why Marine headquarters summoned all the forces of justice to fight against Whitebeard. Whitebeard's power is terrifying. A sea earthquake seemed to overshadow the entire Marine headquarters. Many Marines held swords and looked up at the tsunami hitting them. He looked desperate and had nowhere to start. This is not a force they can contend with. Huh. Aokiji breathed out a breath of cold air when he saw this. Only people with admiral-level strength can face such an attack calmly. But if it's Akainu Kizaru, it's not easy to completely stop him. But Aokiji's frozen fruit can easily stop this tsunami. But this attack made the world feel desperate, but it's what Levi needs. Under normal circumstances, it is not appropriate to take action early. But this blow is worth it. It is indeed a famous scene. One blow into the soul, making the whole world feel despair and fear, Ji Wei said lightly. But he stood up half a second earlier than Aokiji. Aokiji immediately turned his head and looked at Levi. Alalala, what Levi is good at should be Conqueror's Haki. I'm afraid this situation will be difficult to handle. Aokiji doesn't underestimate Levi, but in terms of ability, it is 1.2, my own frozen fruit. It can perfectly resolve this wave of tsunami attacks. If other attacks cannot be perfectly resolved, it will cause considerable losses. This will dampen morale initially. Kizaru and Akainu also looked over in confusion. Is the Black Crow Admiral going to take action? Some of the clever generals below had already set their sights on the admirals. They cannot resolve this terrifying tsunami, but the admirals, also known as monsters, may have a way. Seeing Levi stand up, many people in Marines had hopeful looks in their eyes. Those who heard this subconsciously focused their attention on Levi. HMPH, Conqueror's Haki can't break a tsunami of this magnitude. What do you want to do? Hancock frowned slightly, unable to think of how Levi would break this tsunami. I heard that he is good at Haki, but even a high-level Haki may not be able to defend against such a large area tsunami through the air. Hawkeye analyzed lightly. Damn Black Crow Admiral, you will have to pay the price sooner or later. Brother Ming looked unhappy. The bear's face was expressionless, and Moria stared blankly at the tsunami. Don't worry, it's just a minor problem, Levi said calmly when he saw Aokiji's hesitant look. It's just a tsunami. What is it? The powerful Reiatsu can easily suppress even the energy flow that collapses the world. That kind of power is the power that truly destroys the world. Whitebeard's shock fruit is not that difficult to destroy the world. Yeah. Aokiji believed Levi wouldn't joke about such an important matter. He didn't get up again, he also wanted to see how Levi would solve this tsunami. Levi looked up at the tsunamis on both sides and smiled calmly. 65. Reiatsu rushes to the town. Shock the world. Continue the big chapter, please order first. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement. Does the newly promoted 4th Admiral want to stop my attack? My attack is not that easy to block, young boy. Go, 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 go. Whitebeard also saw Levi gang up. Whitebeard knew the Marine Admiral was there. It was impossible for him to achieve significant results with one blow. But as long as it works, this kind of powerful attack helps improve one's own morale. Now both sides in the decisive battle are elite. The role of numbers cannot be ignored. A strong person is easily targeted by a strong enemy. It would be hard for Whitebeard himself to attack the execution platform directly. You will be targeted by countless high and mid-level experts in no time. But with a large number of people, anyone can seize the opportunity and save Fire Fist. These are all purposeful battles, not a decisive battle between armies of both sides fighting to the death. Black Crow. Garp looked at Levi with a complicated expression. Although Levi captured Luffy, Garp couldn't bear the hatred. Because Marine catching pirates is a matter of course. Black Crow Admiral. He looks like a young boy. Is he really as powerful as the rumors say? Can he catch Pluton Rayleigh? The Ice Witch led the ship closer. She leads the pirate fleet and is about to break out into a battle with the Marine warship outside the port. Levi stood up and was seen by her. In her opinion, Levi's face looked a little childish. Everyone, have you ever felt the trembling of your soul? Levi looked at the entire battlefield. The pirate ships in the outer waters are approaching, but have not yet entered the range. And directly opposite, there is no tsunami rising and it will not be affected. Levi's powerful voice echoed throughout the battlefield. No one knew why, but then everyone clearly heard a buzzing sound. Then the whole world became dark, and everyone's footsteps suddenly sank. Invisible pressure acts on the hundreds of thousands of elites on the entire battlefield. The scope is not only the entire Marine headquarters, but also the external sea areas. Everyone, for a moment, was forced to stand on the spot. Even the pirate captain, Marine Vice Admiral, is no exception. Can't move? Are you kidding? Marco and the other captains were all horrified. What are they? They are the top group of powerful people in the world. Even if it is far from 4 emperors and admiral, there may be some gap. But never too far. No one in this world can rely solely on Conqueror's Haki's sense of oppression. Suppress them until they can't move. Not even the red-haired Shanks of Conqueror's Haki fame could do this. Marco had felt the red-haired Shanks' Haki many times. He was absolutely sure of this, but what's going on now? Impossible. Chaozi and Wajan also found it difficult to accept this reality. The hands holding the foil sword could not move at all. The will wants to move, but the body does not move. The atmosphere is frozen. Whitebeard was stunned for a moment while holding the cloud cutter in his hand. In his memory, Conquerors alone could do this. There's only one person, his former captain Rox D. Gibble. But he did this only after Garp and Roger teamed up and were forced into despair. A state that only broke out once, but now, this young man has achieved this with ease. How is this possible? What kind of monster is this? Advertisement, I can't move. Hancock's body was filled with Conqueror's Haki. But even Hancock, who is very good at using Haki, can't shake the essence of Reiatsu. Instead, he almost suffered internal injuries. It's so heavy, but why does it feel strange? If I can practice swordplay in this environment. Hawkeye slowly raised his black sword. Only general-level warriors like them could still act. But even without full force, their actions were seriously affected. Feeling the pressure on the knife and body, Hawkeye's eyes lit up. This feeling is amazing and good. What an incredible monster. If nothing happens in the future, it's better not to provoke him. Brother Ming felt this sense of oppression again. It feels more and more obvious, and there is even a shadow of fear. It was a bit bitter, so he swallowed it if he wanted to. If I go to settle accounts with him again, I'm afraid I will be the unlucky one. This guy is by no means worse than Kaido, even scarier. Rumble. A series of majestic black Reiatsu spread out behind Levi like a celestial river. Like a black and beautiful picture. The picture scroll unfolds and radiates out indiscriminately in all directions. And Levi is in the center of the black scroll, as if a god has come to the world. Within a radius of dozens of kilometers, there was another soft buzzing sound. The already strong sense of oppression increased sharply again. Let everyone's soul be like a flickering candle that may be extinguished at any time. But Levi didn't actually go out of his way to intimidate these people. Because it scares them into unconsciousness. When the war breaks out, whether it's pirates or marines. Walking on the ground, no one cares. Once the bombardment occurs, they will all turn into corpses. In that case, Levi would have to bear all this debt. And Levi's focus isn't on the crowd, and on the terrifying tsunami rolling down at this moment. Circles of black ripples, centered on the scroll where Levi is. Just like a pebble dropped into a calm lake, it ripples out in circles. The ripples swept across the area, and it was as if time had stood still for an instant. It formed a picture that amazed audiences around the world. What is going on? The tsunami stopped and stopped moving. How is this possible? According to the inertia and the impact just now, it is absolutely impossible to stop. Morgans was shocked when he saw this scene in the live broadcast. Get up. He looked at the live broadcast as if it was paused. It's not just the tsunami. Look at those ships, those people, and the sea. Almost all stopped. Is the signal disconnected? The queen of the pleasure district was stunned for a moment and asked with some uncertainty. If it hadn't been disconnected, they would have never seen such a scene before, or even heard of it. So spectacular. So amazing. It's not disconnected. Look at Hawkeye, he's still moving, and Whitebeard has also taken 2 steps. This is the ability of Black Crow Admiral. Oh my god, what kind of ability is this? In this case, if we catch them all, won't we win? It's not that easy. Whitebeard can still move, and he's an earthquake man. Levi, this brat's conqueror's Haki, actually overpowered someone's unnaturalness. Can he really be so evil? Even Marshal Sengoku, who thought he was familiar with Levi, was a little embarrassed at this moment. With Levi here, he felt that this battle was more stable. Can I beat him? Garp began to ponder. The tsunami is moving? What? When everyone heard this, they all became excited again. Can't you stop it? Is it just frozen? Now the Black Crow Admiral is not powerful enough? Want to let the tsunami collapse? Then it seems that the Marine headquarters will also suffer? Then not. Levi spread his hands, and Reiatsu rippled out. The tsunami gradually calmed down and subsided. It's like a piece of soft and wrinkled rice paper, folded into the wavy shape just now. Then Levi's Reiatsu is like a pair of invisible void rulers. Advertisement with a slight touch, it was smoothed instantly, just in the blink of an eye. The sea will be calm and there will be no more waves. The tsunami faded into nothingness. Even the tsunami warning that the Sabodi archipelago should have had is now gone. This scene shocked everyone watching the live broadcast. Holy place. Black Crow's Haki is really terrifying. I'm afraid it has surpassed the existing records. In the Holy Land, the 5 elders are also paying attention to this battle. Not bad, not bad. It's a pity that the last time I invited him to the headquarters, he didn't want to join our CPO. It seems that we still have to work hard. Yes, Black Crow Admiral will be used by us sooner or later. Right now, he just can't see the reality clearly. No one can refuse the conditions we offer, he will figure it out sooner or later, Yu Laoxing said lightly. Have you found out? What is the reason for the missing soul? We haven't found it yet. Everyone is queuing up to go to the flower room. Lord I Am is looking for them one by one. Logically speaking, no one in this world should be able to plot against us silently. I once heard Lord I Am mention that the soul can carry information in memory, and has the same function as the brain. If the memory we lose is man-made, then we must eradicate the root cause. No one related to it can be spared. Clear. The tsunami is gone. Ho ho. Kebi gasped heavily as he watched the invisible tsunami disappear. This feeling of surviving a disaster is so good. Fortunately, the admiral from their marine headquarters is very powerful. Otherwise, you will be dead this time. What a scary kid, but this seems a bit unlike Conqueror's Haki. Or is this a Haki realm that none of us have touched? Whitebeard's eyes narrowed. His expression was solemn and somewhat doubtful. However, over the years, he has seen many storms and waves, and has long since developed a strong heart. And the will to never surrender to fate. As he spoke, his fist buzzed, covered with a vibrating halo, and he pulled out his frame. Dad, be careful, we can't move now, Marco said slightly helplessly. Even if Marco's whole body is burning with blue flames at this moment. He can only move his neck and hands slightly. The solidified atmosphere around him will not be broken unless it is broken or Levi takes it back. Otherwise it will be difficult to act. Pung, click. With a confident smile, Whitebeard punched out. The entire void in front of me exploded, and countless cracks appeared. The void atmosphere shook, and with a bang, the atmosphere completely exploded like a mirror. Everyone in the entire area can move again. Boys, destroy Marine, rescue Ace. Whitebeard noticed that the morale of the pirates was a little low. After crushing Levi's Reiatsu and solidifying the void, I cheered. It instantly aroused countless following and roaring reactions. In an instant, a battle broke out between external warships and came within range of each other. Gun smoke filled the entire sky. Thousands of cannons roared at the same time, deafening, as if the sky was about to explode. Shock fruit is indeed powerful. It can even break Reiatsu's suppression. It seems that in order to completely suppress Whitebeard, Reiatsu must reach a high level. Shock fruit is too destructive. Levi's face was calm. A real melee broke out. There are 93 top-level armed ships outside, with guns and cannons firing. As soon as the ship approaches, marine pirates jump over with ropes and fight hand-to-hand. The blood soon dyed the sea red. The most bloody and brutal side of human nature is undoubtedly revealed. After Levi hit it, he sat down after getting a certain effect. Catch the thief first. Capture the king first. Whoosh, after Aokiji finished speaking, he jumped up. Turn into ice. Lu shot at Whitebeard, double thorn spear. 2 ice spears as strong as steel appeared next to Aokiji, shooting towards Whitebeard like streams of light. Advertisement, Aokiji brat. Whitebeard grinned, disapprovingly, and punched out. With a click, the atmosphere shattered, and within Whitebeard's field of vision, shockwaves were transmitted. Nowhere to escape. Alala. Aokiji's body was instantly dislocated, shattered by the shock, and fell straight from the air into the sea. Aokiji Admiral. Many Marines were extremely worried when they saw this. That is the sea, the nemesis of those with abilities. However, after Aokiji fell into the bay, an ice sculpture was instantly erected. Centered around where he landed, the ice bloomed like a flower. A gust of cold wind roared past, and the large harbor turned into an ice field in an instant. All Whitebeard's ships are frozen, ha ha ha, it just creates a foothold for us without having to pull the ship over. Kids, kill Marine. The pirates on the ships in the bay became fierce. Although they were also intimidated by Levi's Reiatsu just now. But their father is here. They believe that Father Whitebeard is still the strongest 347 man in the world. I didn't see the solid atmosphere just now, but it was blown away by my father's punch. Attack. Aim for the pirates. Fire. The Marine general on the barrier also gave the order. The artillery fire was a volley fired at the elite members of the Whitebeard pirates. Peng pung pung. Explosions kept sounding and flames exploded. But many pirates are extremely powerful and can easily split cannonballs. The Marine general also rushed towards the pirates with countless Marines. Hand-to-hand combat behind artillery fire, instantly pulled apart. The strongest man in the world has never had a chance to fight. Let's see how big the gap is between you and me this time. Hawkeye looked at Whitebeard and still jumped from the wall of Bing Bay into the Icefield Lord. Oh, is that lonely man also interested in taking action against Whitebeard? Akainu looked at Hawkeye, slightly surprised. These Shichibukai, no more paddling. Brother Levi, aren't you going to continue? Kizaru asked Levi with a smile. I have to give you a chance to show off, Levi said calmly. Kizaru was speechless. What should he do? It would be best if he didn't do anything. When it's time to take action, Levi will naturally take action. Now that a melee broke out, he was looking for an opportunity to go Impel Down. If the red hair dares to attack Impel Down, Mr. Sengoku will get some of his debt back. There are not many people in this world who are kind to me. Moreover, the outcome cannot be decided so quickly here. But you have to find a cooperating actor to do the whole thing for the sake of acting. Marco is pretty good. Levi looked at Marco and smiled slightly. Marco noticed something and just saw Levi smiling at him, and suddenly his heart dropped. What is going on? Why is a Marine Admiral smiling at him? By the way, Sakazuki, don't use the information about the Great Vortex Spider. If we want the world to recognize us more, we have to defeat Whitebeard with dignity. Levi suddenly looked at Akainu and said. Road. Do you know what I'm going to do? Akainu frowned slightly. How could Black Crow know what I haven't done yet? Could it be that he was secretly monitoring himself? Did he know that he had collected information about Squado before? Of course, Sengoku-san should have hinted at it. Hey, the old man is just too cautious. We are so much stronger than Whitebeard, but we are still afraid of being unsafe. Levi shook his head. Being stabbed by the filial son's sword, if he wins, he will appear to be suspected of picking up the slack. It doesn't fit in with my plan to build a reputation. This stinky boy, don't you know if I have any knowledge of sexual intercourse? Sengoku's face darkened on the execution platform. Oh, by the way, Vice Admiral Garp, if you have nothing to do, come and sit down. However, Levi's next words made Kizaru Akainu and Sengoku a little nervous at the same time. Especially Marshal Sengoku, his heart skipped a beat. You caught someone's grandson in Impel Down, and you still have the nerve to ask others to come over and sit down. Such a big heart. Or is this a provocation? 66. High-end game, 3 emperors and 3 generals. Big chapter, I beg you to order the first and full order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement. The shells roared, blasting and spreading heat, filling the entire Marine headquarters. Garp looked at the battlefield in silence. Occasionally, I looked up at Ace, who was weeping on the execution platform with a mixture of joy and sorrow. I feel regretful in my heart. If I could be stricter. If you spend more time with them, will the results be different? But just as he thought this, Pooh subconsciously thought of Long. Long was brought to the Marine headquarters by him since he was a child, and he studied and grew up with him. But when he was young, he was not used to many things about Marine and world government. In a certain incident, he finally betrayed Marine completely. Later a revolutionary army was established. Garp once wondered if he usually pushed him too hard. So that this kind of counter effect occurs. So later Garp did not choose to bring Luffy to Marine for general training. Instead, he was handed over to the Dayton family, who kept saying that he hoped he would become a Marine. But in fact, Garp gave Luffy a life of free choice. But choosing to be a pirate made Garp's liver hurt to this day. Why didn't you choose to be a Marine? Did you really not develop your talents? And it's not just Luffy who became a pirate, Ace also went to sea and became a pirate. Garp looked at the battlefield where fighting continued and lives continued to pass away. The thoughts in my heart are extremely complicated. Ace, what's the use now that you have found the answer to life? Whether you can survive today is still a question. In today's war, even if I don't take action, I'm afraid Whitebeard will also have bad luck today. The world government wants his death to open up the territory of the new world. At the same time, we once again promote the power of world government to the world. This is an inevitable battle that cannot be stopped. Garp himself knew not to take action because he was a Marine hero. The justice he insisted on told him that pirates should bear the corresponding consequences. Otherwise the world would have been in chaos long ago. And Sengoku's observation Haki is always around. It is said that he is monitoring the situation on the battlefield, but I am afraid that part of it is to protect himself. But Garp doesn't blame Sengoku, because he waited until the moment of execution. Garp wasn't sure he could control himself, but at this moment, Garp heard someone calling him. The place where he originally stood was not far from the execution platform. Black Crow Admiral, what's the matter? Garp looked up, but didn't move. Look at other people's children, they're so young, they're Admiral. But Luffy Ace originally had this potential, it's nothing special. I just want to tell you that Kaido's figure seemed to flash past in the sky just now. I hope everyone will stay vigilant. It's best to ask Vice Admiral Garp to keep an eye on it, Levi said lightly. This is true, although at high altitude, Sha Changren's observation Haki cannot be released to such a high distance. But when Levi released Reiatsu just now, it filled the whole world. I noticed some clues, but maybe I realized that I had been discovered. Kaido, who changed into the form of a blue dragon, quickly retreated. What? Hearing Levi's words, Sengoku and the other two admirals, including Garp, were all shocked. 4 Emperors Kaido is peeping in the dark, is there another purpose? It would be fine if you just simply watch the fun. If you are not just watching the excitement, there is one more 4 Emperors. The entire battlefield may undergo unimaginable changes immediately. Advertisement. Several people raised their heads and looked towards the sky. At this moment, the weather was dominated by the battles of many strong men and the firing of cannons. Gunsmoke, chaotic energy and gloomy clouds merged together, blurring. They looked up, but saw nothing, but they knew Levi wouldn't lie about something like this. Otherwise, there is no need to remind you deliberately. Because once there is an emergency, Pooh actually serves as an external insurance. For example, when Blackbeard attacked, both Garp and Sengoku attacked without mercy. But now the entire battlefield requires the observation and command of Marshal Sengoku. Sengoku's role in commanding the entire army was greater than his role in fighting. For example, Aokiji seemingly inadvertently froze the entire bay within the bay. In fact, they all mentioned this during the meeting. His ability, matched with Akainu's ability, able to turn the harbor into the grave of the Whitebeard pirates. Levi, are you sure? Sengoku asked in a deep voice. Second place 4 Emperors peeked in, and that was no joke. Sure. Levi nodded affirmatively. Is this guy's observation Haki better than me? He has never shown it before, this little monster. Kizaru couldn't help but think in horror. Because of Sparkling Fruit's light sensing ability, Kizaru's observation Haki. If the firepower is fully turned on, it can almost achieve large-scale monitoring like Enel Heart Network. But he didn't notice it just now, but Levi did. This shocked Kizaru a little. Aren't you just great at Conqueror's Haki? Why is his knowledge and sex better than everyone present? But armament Haki seems to have never been used. Maybe this guy's weakness is close combat. Kizaru did not regard Levi as an enemy. But such a powerful Levi is in the consciousness of all the powerful men. He had long been regarded as an imaginary opponent and had been simulated many times. Only in this way can the fighting consciousness of the strong be continuously tempered and strengthened. The importance of deduction is no less important than actual combat. Hawkeye takes action. Is this the number 1 slash? So strong, at this time, in the battlefield, sounds full of horror sounded. I saw Hawkeye Black Dao Yi pulling out a beautiful knife flower in the air. Then he slashed straight at Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world. There was a buzzing sound, the surrounding environment seemed to be immersed in a blue sword intent like the wind. Then a majestic green sword energy, like a ray of light, ran across the ground, cut through the ice field, and rushed straight towards Whitebeard. The power is astonishing, and the air keeps making howling sounds due to this terrifying sword energy. But Whitebeard just raised his eyelids and remained unmoved. Suddenly a tall and mighty figure jumped out from behind, and with a loud bang, it landed on the path of the sword energy. Pung! The sword energy collided with a figure shining like a diamond. It was Diamond Josie, the captain of the 3rd Division. Soon someone recognized him. These captains at the front are almost all capable of wrestling with Admiral. Maybe they will be defeated for a long time, but in a short period of time, their combat power will explode. No strong man in the world can look down upon him. They are all famous pirates who have been famous for a long time, and they have their own methods and trump cards. The world's best slash was blocked. Chaozi blocked the sword energy roughly and fiercely, then hugged and threw him hard. Throw the sword energy struck by Hawkeye directly into the sky. With a bang, the sword energy exploded in the air like a huge energy firework. Advertisement tell the world how terrifying the power contained in that slash is. Hey, Josie said with a confident smile on his face. In terms of strange strength, even giants are no match for him. When it comes to swordsmanship, all the swordsmen in the world can't help but think of a man. Let me meet you, Hawkeye. Foil Beast chopped down several marines who rushed forward. Focusing on this man who enjoys the honorary title of the pinnacle of swordsmanship in the world. He jumped over the crowd, ran at top speed, and rushed towards Hawkeye. During the exchange of his 2 swords, bright petal sword energy burst out. Chang! The next moment, the 2 sides fought with each other, sword energy flowing freely. Whitebeard. Kill him! A giant, Vice Admiral, rushed in front of Whitebeard, preparing to take down Whitebeard. Even if you can't take it, consuming him is still a good choice. But he didn't expect that as soon as he rushed in front of him, Whitebeard's hands were holding the air in the void. Cracks were pulled out of the atmosphere, and then he was thrown over his shoulder through the air. In an instant, the world seemed to be turned upside down. With a loud bang, the body of the giant Vice Admiral was twisted instantly, and then he was thrown heavily to the ground. The shockwave surged forward, and the giant Vice Admiral spurted out a mouthful of blood. His head hit the ground and he lost consciousness instantly. Vice Admiral, flash sail. This scene immediately scared many Marines who rushed forward. Doesn't Whitebeard look very old? Why are you still so ferocious? That's the giant Vice Admiral. He was instantly killed in one move. What a terrifying monster. We can't let Whitebeard continue to run wild like this. Kizaru also stood up. Whoosh whoosh. Then the body turned into light particles and flew towards the distance. Hachiku Magatama. Kizaru stayed in the air for a short time and smiled slightly, very wretchedly. But the temperament aspect is quite good, without losing the Admiral style. He squeezed his hands into an okay shape, and then began to glow. In an instant, the overwhelming light ball splashed towards Whitebeard with high temperature, rapidity and terrifying penetrating power. It's so dazzling, Whitebeard said lightly, and Marco next to him instantly turned into a phoenix made of blue flames. Although Marco is slightly weaker than Admiral, but with the ability of the Fantasy Beast system which is more precious than Logia. He can fight with Admiral for a long time, and even has a very small chance of winning. Can rival the combined strength of Quinn and Jin. Puff puff. Marco used his blue flame body to take all Kizaru's attacks. Then it began to repair itself without any damage. Where are the Phantom Beast species? After the two joked with each other, Marco seized an opportunity. Kizaru was kicked out of midair. Kizaru turned into a beam of light and shot into a building, accompanied by the unique bombardment of his laser light. Looks extremely conspicuous. Kizaru Admiral. How could that happen? Many Marines were in disbelief that the captain of Hizashi was so powerful. Obviously as a powerful air combat force, in the air battle, Marco has a certain advantage. My god, what is this? A terrifying giant appears in the port. Something happened to the outer fleet as well. The demon Little Oz appeared, much taller than the giant, when he emerged from the mist. All the Marines fighting on the warships were shocked. They couldn't believe that such a huge creature existed in the world. Marine's top warship was like a toy in front of him. Holding a long serrated knife, he slashed it down and split the warship in half. But Whitebeard was not happy, but frowned slightly. Because Little Oz is too big. When dealing with ordinary vice admirals and warships, it can certainly be overwhelming. It can stand up to a real strong player and the dense firepower of the Marine headquarters. It's easy to become a target. Whitebeard originally planned to use Little Oz when he planned to retreat. Advertisement: he is not suitable to appear in such a chaotic battlefield. Ace. He is very gentle, I will definitely save you. Little Ozzy can't sit back and ignore it because of his body shape since he was a child. Everyone in the world regards him as a monster, even the giants are no exception. He was also an alien there, but his father took him in later. Ace gave him the same warmth as his family and partners. Oz, even you. Ace watched his friends fall one after another. He should have been sad, but he was extremely happy. Such a twisted psychology made Ace hate himself. This was the first time that he felt so clearly that it was so great for people to be able to live in this world. He is a descendant of a demon, a living descendant of a demon. We must make him a zombie. Moria suddenly became aroused, his eyes full of desire, ready to join the battle. With Aokiji, Kizaru, Marco, Josie, Haki, Oz and others joining the battle. It means that the battle situation is becoming more and more stalemate. Originally, Levi felt that it was based on the advantage of military strength. Marine headquarters is a sure win, but I have to say that Whitebeard is indeed a very charming person. There's a lot of talent around you. In addition to the captain, the 43 pirate captains are also amazingly powerful. Even if Marine has the advantage in high-end combat power. But facing Whitebeard, who is determined to die, he cannot act rashly. Once a monster like Whitebeard catches a weakness or opportunity, his life will also be in danger. At the same time, it also means that the strong level collision has begun. The reporters at Sabo de Archipelago fell silent. Looking at the chaotic battle between the demons in front of them, they were stunned for a long time, and they didn't come back to their senses for a long time. Even the giants of the underground world feel heavy-hearted. It was also the first time for many of them to see the terrifying battlefield where so many powerful men gathered. Where has the red-haired guy gone? I'm still thinking that if this guy interferes in the Marine headquarters war, give him a try, and that kid's perception is too strong. 4. Zhao's Zhaoli Kaido is traveling in the midst of abuse. There were traces of ordinary red hair, and he felt that the red hair must have some purpose. But no matter what the purpose, this guy has been causing trouble for himself over the years. I also want to destroy his plan. Impel Down. Boss, we're here, Beckman said, looking at the building not far away. I just felt Whitebeard's shocking power. A war must have broken out. Let's take action. Today we will also cause a big undersea prison, red-haired Shanks said. Shin smiled. The men all grinned, but they didn't know that Impel Down was also experiencing an unprecedented jailbreak at this moment. Boom. There are two terrifying figures fighting on the 6th floor. Rayleigh, how did you get out? You actually let Straw Hat Boy and the others run away. Do you plan to stay alone to break up the family? Magellan said with a solemn expression. I'm old. Of course, opportunities must be left to the young people. Now that the little monster is gone, I have to give it a try for the young people. Rayleigh held an ordinary knife in his hand. Sword, but still confident and calm. Don't underestimate me as the warden. They can't escape, and neither can you. Poison Dragon. 3 poison dragons appeared behind Magellan and attacked Rayleigh. The criminals on the entire 6th floor were making a noise and kept shouting. I'm going to supervise the battle. Levi sat bored and planned to blend in with the crowd and fish in troubled waters. HMPH, 1 or 2 of them are like this. Who will guard this place if they leave? Akainu said slightly dissatisfied. But now Whitebeard is still far away from them, even if the Admiral rushed over. There is a high probability that he will be intercepted by the captains. After all, Whitebeard also serves as the commander-in-chief of the Whitebeard pirates, so naturally he will not let them get close so easily. The strength of those captains is not comparable to them. But many people join forces and holding them back is not a problem for Admiral. Except for Akainu who remained motionless, the 3 Marine Admirals began to get busy, and the 3 Emperors also acted individually. 67. Make Marine Headquarters mine. Supervise those who release water. Big chapter, please order first. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement, it's not easy being an older Marine. Levi became a Marine. And after intercepting some secrets of world government. It is a genuine admiration for the older generation Marine. Even the 2 more controversial people, one is Garp and the other is Akainu. It goes without saying that Akainu is extreme in his approach and often resorts to any means to achieve his goals. Even at the expense of civilians, but spent a few days with Akainu in Impel Down. Levi had never seen him truly kill innocent people. He has the rules and bottom line of being a Marine. It's just that these bottom lines are used when there is no dilemma. Akainu will not be broken through, but once faced with a choice, Akainu will go to extremes. But even if some civilians were sacrificed sometimes, Levi did not feel that the crime was unpardonable. Because this is a troubled time. Only by using heavy codes in troubled times can we effectively scare the chickens and scare the monkeys. In this troubled world, human life itself is like a piece of grass. And more often than not, they, the officers below, have no choice. If Marine didn't have such a cold-blooded admiral as Akainu right now, what Levi can be sure of is that pirates around the world will become even more rampant. At that time, more innocent civilians and islands will suffer. From the overall situation, it is not all bad, there are also advantages. It cannot be judged completely from one side, but there is one thing about Akainu that Levi doesn't like very much. That is to become Marine Marshal, Akainu no matter how unhappy he is. The orders of the 5 elders will also be strictly enforced. Because Akainu knows that in the end it is the 5 elders who can really decide the position of Marshal. Not Sengoku, not the soldiers below. Like Aokiji, he very much aspires to become a Marshal. They all want to use their own methods to change Marine and change the world. Admiral alone is not qualified to change the world. He was even a little stunned. The biggest controversial point for Garp is the adoption of Fire Fist Ace. Although Long is his child, it is impossible for him to personally train Long into a revolutionary army. But when he grew up, he had his own ideas and the blame couldn't be put on him. Ace said at that time, as Roger said, the child was innocent. Garp's actions are just a sign of conscience. No one can predict what will happen in the future. Whether it is Ace or Luffy, becoming a pirate was not Garp's original intention. On the contrary, because of the choice of 2 grandchildren. Now put him in trouble. On one side is justice, on the other side is family affection. No matter what you choose, it will be extremely difficult. Even, people with white hair give gifts to people with black hair. Needless to say, Sengoku, Zephyr has worked hard for the Marine headquarters all his life. But the whole family was ruined, and even the new Marines they trained were almost slaughtered. He also had an arm cut off. Advertisement, but the murderer was still recruited by the world government as the 7 warlords of the sea. The former unkillable admiral was forced to go to extremes to set fire to the island and destroy the entire new world. Sengoku worked hard for Marine all his life and never got married or had any children. Being alone all the time, Levi sometimes even wonders if Garp, Suru, and Sengoku had some kind of complicated love triangle. But actually it doesn't happen, it's just because I'm busy. Of course, this may be partly due to Zephyr's mistakes. Levi's overall feeling about Marine is very good. As the strongest guardian of order in this sea, many mid to high level Marine generals are qualified. All have a sense of justice, but it is a pity that the highest authority in charge of them is not qualified. They use Marine as a righteous force institution. Used to protect one's own power and life. Marine headquarters is a knife, and the knife is a good knife. World government is about people, but people are not necessarily good people. And only those who are loyal to the world government can hold this knife. Therefore, this knife has no independent opportunities and conditions. Because people with this idea usually cannot reach the position of Marshal. The 5 elders have ruled this world for who knows how many years. You are definitely not stupid, and you cannot let an unstable or rebellious person become a Marine Marshal. And they also placed a Rear Admiral collar in Marine. As soon as there is any trouble, the world government will know it immediately. It would be great if the Marine headquarters was mine. But it's not impossible. Neither Sengoku nor Garp knows the secrets and truth of the world government. If they knew about the Valley of Gods, they would definitely not be able to tolerate it. But Roger and Rayleigh may know something. They have always claimed to know the truth about the world and guided to the end. But why didn't you tell Garp? After all, even Ace can be entrusted to Garp, which shows that Roger really trusts Garp. Perhaps there is only one reason. Some kind of trump card of the world government can kill a strong man like Garp. Once it is leaked to Garp, their colleagues, and they will be easily discovered through frequent contact. Once discovered, it will be life-threatening. And Garp, Sengoku, and the others are really going to die. Who will protect the order of this sea? Relying on those drunken nobles? That is probably the real darkness. If we can figure out the world government's trump card and have enough strength to let them know the truth, maybe we can instigate Sengoku and Garp? This way, the Marine headquarters is mine. Levi jumped and fell into the chaotic battlefield. While thinking, he walked gracefully in the chaos. The pirates were not afraid when they saw Levi. They dared to join the battle. They were ready to sacrifice. Now when they encounter Levi, they turn around and run away, which is even more dangerous. And their sense of honor of the Whitebeard pirates. It also prevents them from being cowards who run away. If you don't care about life and death, do it if you don't accept it. If they are killed, they will become famous in one battle. The best thing about being a pirate is becoming famous all over the world. Kill him. I heard he's good at Conqueror's Haki. You have thin skin and tender flesh, but you are definitely not good at melee combat. Shield, charge forward. A pirate captain with a bounty of over 200 million Baileys ordered. The Seastone Shield can not only make ability users lose their combat experience, and it can defend against the impact of various abilities to a certain extent, including Haki power. The tough pirates that Levi encountered were all tall and armed with Seastone shields. Advertisement: form a simple charge formation and attack under the leadership of the captain. Go to hell. The person came aggressively. Then Levi didn't even frown, and a wind of Reiatsu blew by naturally. All the pirates who rushed towards him spiraled straight into the sky and were blown away. Hiss. That's the great pirate captain with a bounty of 200 million belly. He flew into the sky without even touching him. The Black Crow Admiral is too strong. Not only did he not touch it, he didn't even blink. It was so powerful. He crushed it gracefully. It seems that a report about the Black Crow will be published soon. Reporters from Saboti Archipelago were talking a lot. Everyone was deeply shocked, mainly because there is no harm without comparison. Look at the other two admirals, Aokiji and Kizaru. Although they also showed strong combat power, but one was knocked over by Whitebeard and fell into the bay. Although he was not injured, at least it was not easy or a big highlight. Kizaru was kicked out of the air by Marco, but Black Crow Admiral is different. He walked among the gunfire and smoke like an otherworldly god. Walking around in the courtyard, no attack can hurt him. Sometimes he held his chin in thought. Sometimes I stretch my arms lazily. Elegant, mysterious, powerful. This is the invincible Marine Admiral in their minds, the representative of the highest combat power. Not to mention the black ripple energy he used just now to ripple and calm the tsunami. Now he's judging others again. Hancock, Li Zai Gon God Demon, this is too much. You pick a pirate with a bounty of 100 million belly, and the fight is not over yet. Let's let it go. You can also find someone with a share of the throne to let it go. Hancock was pulling a sweetheart substance and pointing it at her opponent. Pinch the peach heart substance and pull it out like a bow. She was ready to shoot her enemy, but her hand speed was obviously not very fast. It was so obvious that anyone could still see that she was paddling. Even if she doesn't want to take action, the pirates see Shichibukai on the wall blocking their way. They also had to fight passively. This fight was not their choice. And with the strength of 7 warlords of the sea. As long as he doesn't meet Whitebeard himself and the most powerful captains. When you meet other people, you can paddle easily. But Hancock didn't expect that he would give up and fight when he was preparing to survive this war. Levi suddenly appeared behind her. This startled her. It's you who has such a weak soul. It seemed that he knew that his charm and beauty didn't work last time. Hancock stopped pretending this time, he said angrily and subconsciously. In this moment of confusion, the female pirate captain on the opposite side escaped. Damn it. If you fight Hancock and get kicked out, it's okay if you don't knock yourself down. Even if she wanted to escape, she wouldn't let her. Who are these 7 warlords of the sea? Torture King? Moreover, the biggest problem in fighting Hancock is not the physical torture. It's a mental blow and beauty suppression. As a 5-pound, 3-thick female pirate captain, she is under so much pressure. Quickly change to another opponent and slip away. Advertisement. Why did you call me weak for no reason? Logically speaking, I saved your country. Levi was puzzled. Saved our country? Huh, my country doesn't need anyone to save it. Hancock tilted his head back slightly proudly. Does it not matter if the citizens die? Of course it doesn't matter. I'm so beautiful, no matter what I do, I'll be forgiven. Hancock said extremely narcissistically. You're not mentally ill. It seems like you're a weak soul. Levi thought for a second and came to a serious conclusion. What did you say? Hancock's eyes were splitting with anger, and he had a rather sassy air. Am I wrong? Obviously it was you who knocked me out and brought me to this war, but you say I'm stupid? You villain Marine. Hancock was full of dissatisfaction and grievances, and finally found an outlet. In the past few days at the Marine headquarters, she had been a bit nervous. After all Shichibukai are here under summons. She is the only exception. The Marine headquarters will kill the chicken to scare the monkeys. She must have been the first of the 7 warlords of the sea to suffer. Originally, Hancock was not afraid of this in the outside world. Their Amazon Lily Kingdom is in the calm belt. It's so easy for Marine warships to attack them. But this is the highest combat power in the country. If someone gets caught at Marine headquarters, then everything will be different. If Marine sends a strong man, it is possible to capture their entire kingdom. I just fulfilled your duty for you. Look how good it is now. You can just fight a battle and go home to continue being your Shichibukai. You don't have to see those ugly celestial dragons, and you don't have to obey orders from the Marine headquarters. Isn't this good? Levi said he was here to supervise the battle, so it would be too obvious to let him go like this. You have to say a few words. Not to mention you, Shichibukai must exert all his strength. Everyone knows this is impossible, but it's impossible not to have even a vice admiral level contribution. That would be too much. Look at Ming Jie and Tyrant Bear, and Gecko Moria who is like a rookie. The 3 of them are ready to take action. The confrontation is too small. Little Oz is huge and extremely powerful. Just now, 2 warships were destroyed and 2 giants, Vice Admiral, were defeated. He is a very tough strong man. Shichibukai went to deal with it, which was considered as a little effort and a duty. Haki also chose Captain Whitebeard, the foil beasta, to pass the time. And I heard Levi subconsciously mention Celestial Dragons, Marine headquarters. Hancock's face suddenly changed drastically, and he had a murderous look on his body. It spread out in an instant. Celestial Dragons. This Marine Admiral said to himself, Celestial Dragons. Does he know anything? Damn it. This Hunden must have taken advantage of him while he was unconscious. I looked at my own body and at the same time saw the slave marks of the Celestial Dragons. You got it, but Hancock wasn't sure. Levi said it casually. I still really knew it, and it was exposed subconsciously. After she woke up from the coma, she checked the time and realized that she had been in coma for more than a short period of time. But for several days, even when I got off the ship, this guy was holding me on his shoulders like cargo. This incident was even photographed and became breaking news. She has this newspaper now. 68. Whitebeard. When did Lousy become a prey that can be fattened and then slaughtered? Big chapter, please subscribe. Previous chapter, next chapter advertisement, mad. Why does this bastard keep looking here? Doflamingo noticed Levi's eyes wandering around him. He didn't even dare to release observation Haki to sense it. Lest Levi notice it and have any objections to him. Don't take action, I'm going to play with this big guy, Brother Ming said to the 2 Shichibukai beside him. He didn't want to be around anymore. Maybe this guy was unhappy when he saw him standing here and letting off steam. That's why I looked over. Now at the Marine headquarters, Marine is powerful, so it's better not to provoke the Black Crows yet. Brother Ming seems to understand why Levi calls the Black Crow Admiral. Wherever he went, it was full of unknowns to him. Brother Ming thinks that his control over people's hearts has reached the point of perfection. He also often likes to fight in various battles on various occasions. Ridicule plays with other people's hearts, but Black Crow has such a weak soul that there is no way to use common sense to measure it. It's like I never thought of it. He would be directly forced to kneel down just because of a joke. Then his head was stepped into the ground by him, and Ridu almost died. Brother Ming swore that he would walk to the Holy Land by himself. Even if you tease 5 elders like that, you won't be treated like this. Now he doesn't want to have anything to do with Black Crow for the time being. As for the losses he suffered, he would definitely get them back if given the chance. But if there is no chance, forget it. Come on, let's play. Super Whip. Ming connected with the white clouds, stepped on the lines, and flew towards Lil Oz. He casually pulled out a high-voltage thick wire and swept it over. Why is this guy so active? Moria had already prepared the Shadow Mage, but Brother Ming said he would do it himself. Everyone is a world-famous strong man. Since he said so, of course they will give him this face. Anyway, Moria only needs corpses. Over the years, he no longer believes in the power of his partners. He believed more that corpses would not betray people. Although in his heart, he still values his partners. When he was young, he fought with Kaido, and when he got older, he became a transparent man. Still dared to go to 4 Emperors Blackbeard's territory alone. The only pity is that the strength is insufficient. It's not stupid. Looking at Hancock's reaction, Levi understood immediately. He let it slip. In Levi's memory, he knew about Hancock's life experience. This kind of natural memory makes Levi easy to relate to when he speaks. Faced with Hancock's attitude of wanting to fight at any time, it's still a bit difficult to handle. Put Haki away first, put it away. Levi responded to Hancock first. What? Hancock's head was filled with questions. I'm asking you if you know something. You asked me to put away the Haki that was revealed unconsciously. Can you be more perfunctory? Hancock remains unmoved. If his secret is known, it would be better to die in battle than to live. There were some looks and things that she never wanted to see or encounter again in her life. I do know. Levi didn't feel the need to lie about it. What? A terrifying storm spewed out along with Hancock's Conqueror's Haki. Both Marines and pirates were swept away. Cracks gradually appeared on the ice. Advertisement. This release of Haki's full strength immediately attracted the attention of many people. After all, it is rare to see an explosion like 7 Warlords of the Sea with full force. If the Shichibukai really take action and unite, they will probably fight against the Whitebeard pirates for a while. What's going on? Could it be that the 7 Warlords of the Sea Hancock are going to fight with the Black Crow Admiral and they are having a civil strife? Josie looked at the two of them and couldn't help but grin. If this is really the case, then for them, the Whitebeard pirates. Very beneficial. The pirate Empress, what does she want to do? Is she still worried about what happened before? She doesn't know what is good or bad, Sengoku said slightly dissatisfied. Are you sure you want to fight Haki with me? Levi had no reaction and just stared at Hancock calmly. Hancock was seen calming down, but Haki has not disappeared and is still being released. It was obvious that he still planned to commit suicide at any time. She knew what had happened before. Fighting against Haki, I am afraid that I am far from being a match for this demon. But so what? I will no longer let others control me. But after calming down a bit, she also noticed something was wrong. If only the Black Crow knew his identity, why didn't you tell the world government or the world's nobles? And these days at Marine headquarters, I have never experienced those strange looks from other people. As for those lustful eyes that lusted after her body. Oh, that's normal, it's daily life, there's nothing wrong with it. Could it be that he knew about it but didn't tell anyone else? It seems that this is the only way to explain it. But how is this possible? As we all know, Marine Admiral is loyal to the world government. If you find yourself once a slave to the celestial dragons, how could he hide it for himself? Could it be that he misunderstood what he meant? In fact, he doesn't know his past at all. Hancock couldn't help but feel a little lucky. But as soon as this luck rose, it was directly shattered by Levi's ruthless words. You are right, I not only know your past, I also know your body data, such as height, waist circumference and so on. There were always some guys discussing it before. Hey, no one is discussing it now, but I miss it a bit. Hancock forced himself to endure it. Moreover, this anger can turn into tenderness and sweetness in an instant, and the change of expression is so fast that it is jaw-dropping. No matter what you want, I can satisfy you. Show your ugly nature, man. Hancock only thought of one possibility. He really knows his past, but if you don't expose yourself, then there is only one truth. He wants to use this secret to control himself, like satisfying some of his ugly desires. As long as he makes such a request, he will give up his last thought of survival. Then fight with him, even if you die, you will still have to bite off a piece of flesh from his body. Any request is acceptable? Levi's eyes lit up. Yes, anything is fine. Hancock's royal blue eyes flashed dimly. Haha. Men, you must be coveting your own body again. The reason why he didn't take action against himself before was probably because he wanted to obey his advice. After all, he is also a Marine Admiral, and any woman can be found with just a wave of his hand. I definitely don't want to just get my own body, but I want to conquer myself both mentally and physically. These high-ranking nobles always have similar hobbies. Go, find a stronger opponent. Did you see, Bramink, Blenheim, these Whitebeard captains choose anyone, don't let me see you paddling so excessively again. Hancock. What, advertisement, did you hear me? I heard that. Then go, or I will expose your secret in front of everyone. You bastard, devil, villain. Hancock had no choice but to choose one captain as his opponent. But he couldn't help but vomit in his heart, this guy must be sick. Let yourself do this and directly threaten. Logically speaking, Hancock would have to fight him. But fighting against others for what you should do. No matter how you look at it, it's stupid. So Hancock stepped on his foot, and a perfume femur was unable to reach him and knocked away the captain of the Whitebeard pirates. Yeah, that's good. If you want to, you can still do it. I'll give in later and you guys will do the same. The situation won't be very good. Levi nodded with satisfaction. Fortunately, Hancock didn't hear this. Otherwise, I might turn around and fight with Levi. The Black Crow Admiral is so powerful. Don't be afraid of them, we have Admiral here. Not bad, it's amazing. I saw Hancock was about to attack him just now, but I didn't expect that after just saying a few words, Hancock went all out to deal with the Whitebeard pirates. Black Crow Admiral is not only amazing in strength, but his eloquence is probably also world-class. Everyone, follow the Black Crow Admiral, the Holy Light Pirates. Levi paid little attention to the changes around him. Walked towards his target Marco. Marco was kicked by Kizaru at the speed of light and flew hundreds of meters away. Falling into the fighting crowd, a flaming circular shockwave exploded instantly. But Marco's body was glowing with blue flames, which quickly repaired his body. Came out of the explosion unscathed. He's a bit handsome, but it's a pity that fighting is so troublesome. Otherwise, I can give it a try. Reiatsu should be able to condense steel skin by now. Levi looked envious, but he was not in the habit of getting beaten. Kizaru moved a particle of light laterally and appeared in front of Marco again. Speed is power. But Marco reacted extremely quickly, with a phoenix seal and the phoenix claws slapping over, releasing a strong shockwave. There was a loud bang, and the collision of their legs against their claws instantly set off a terrible shockwave. Both of them were shaken out. Xingyanyan, but obviously, Marco is more aggressive at this time. The moment the two retreated, he attacked again. The middle and index fingers were put together, and with blue flames, the void circled and turned into the tail feathers of the phoenix, and then turned into a huge flaming fist and blasted towards Kizaru. Kizaru pulled out an Amankongyun sword to block. But the momentum still knocked it away. Josie struggled with Aokiji for a while. Avoid the enemy's high-end combat power from approaching Dad at the beginning. Because it is still far away from the execution platform. Dad's body may not be able to fight at high intensity for a long time. After temporarily forcing Aokiji back, Josie punched the ice, then roared and erupted with terrifying strange power. Please give me flowers. A huge iceberg that is almost as large as half of Marine Plaza was pulled directly from the ice sheet. What kind of strange power is this? Is it scarier than a giant? He looked at Josie holding up the small iceberg. Many people suddenly felt bad. Marine, if you have the guts, come and take it, ha ha ha. Josie laughed wildly, and suddenly threw the iceberg in his hand towards the execution platform, launching a tentative attack. At the same time, try to see if there is any power secretly deployed there besides Admiral. The faces of the giant Vice Admiral changed dramatically. Because this iceberg is several times bigger than their bodies. Moreover, the impact speed and force were so fierce that they could not stop it. HMPH, however, Akainu looked at the flying iceberg, snorted coldly, and stood up. He was also surprised by the strange strength of the captain of the 3rd Division, Josie. No wonder Marine Vice Admiral couldn't stop it. Great eruption. The giant arm of lava blasted out instantly, clashing with the iceberg, and quickly destroyed this. Advertisement: the iceberg shattered completely. Many Marines instantly burst into cheers. Although Whitebeard is powerful, their Marine Admiral is not a vegetarian. Destroy the pirates. Destroy Marine. The two sides continued to fight fiercely. Akainu did not sit down, but stared at the battlefield. See if the time has come. At present, many pirate ships have arrived at the port in the bay. Thousands of pirates rushed over on the ice sheet. We have to let some more pirates in, and try our best to get rid of these thugs in one fell swoop. Some things must never happen again. Akainu thought to himself, looking at the pirates all over the mountains and plains in front of him. There was only burning anger in his heart, which is the tragedy of this era. It is also the sorrow of the world, and it is also the sorrow of my own childhood. He once swore that he would live his whole life to end the era of rampant pirates. For this, no matter what price you pay, you can bear it. He looked at me again. Damn it, are you really being targeted? Marco watched Levi walking towards him. With his brows furrowed, it's not easy for an admiral to deal with. If there are two, then he will be very dangerous. Marco, have you seen some stage plays in New World? Do you know anything about acting? Levi suddenly asked with a smile when he was still some distance away from Marco. But before Marco could respond, Whitebeard's voice came from the distance. Marco, avoid shock. Marco heard a familiar voice and subconsciously dodged. Whitebeard holds a cloud cutter, covering it with a shock halo, and slashes at Levi from afar. A crescent sword energy with shocking power was faster than thunder, and it slashed towards Levi. Levi just glanced at it, and the misty black Reiatsu formed a barrier like a sky cushion. Boom. The sword energy with shockwaves struck in front of Levi, motionless. Blocked. The high-level Haki who can't be broken by the earthquake force. Whitebeard's face also looked unusually heavy. I don't really want to fight with you right now, Whitebeard, Levi said slightly helplessly. Young boy, are you scared? If you are, just go back to your mother, blah blah blah. Whitebeard mocked mercilessly. Conqueror's Haki was released with excitement and Whitebeard's taunt. Many Marines looked horrified, although Whitebeard knows that after practicing to this point, it is impossible to be afraid. But as long as you are an enemy, it is not normal to taunt someone. I'm not afraid, but you are not strong enough now. If I kill you, your prestige will not reach its highest level. This place is full of Levi's Reiatsu and Whitebeard's Haki. Unless someone can break out of their circles at the same time. Otherwise no one can hear what they say, so Levi speaks out. When Whitebeard heard this, he was stunned for several seconds. He has seen countless strong men and women in his life. But no one had ever dared to talk to him like this. And the reason why I don't want to fight him is, he has not yet burst out his true power, which makes people feel that he is not strong enough. I feel there is no gain from killing. Mad. When did Lousy become prey that others fattened and then slaughtered? This arrogant brat plans to raise Whitebeard's majesty in this war. Then he will defeat himself again and gain the most unparalleled prestige in the world. This kid is so arrogant, he is simply crazy. Whitebeard was surprised, shocked and angry, and all his emotions turned into fighting spirit and laughter. He even burst out with swear words. Gula la la la. Lousy has never been underestimated like this. Ah, little devil, let me see what your crazy capital is. Conqueror's Haki is raised high. Conqueror's Haki is fully released. The earthquake ability is also activated. 69. Almost crazy, the strongest riot in history. Important chapter, must read. Big chapter, please subscribe. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. The battle at the Marine headquarters becomes increasingly tense. Impel Down also saw the largest and most powerful riot in history. Rayleigh found the mezzanine space in Roger's cell that had been opened up with fragments of ancient tools. Met with Ivankov, the Demon King, and after some discussion, the two sides finally reached an agreement and decided to rescue the revolutionary Dragon Son Straw Hat Luffy. Don't look at Ivankov on the magical 5.5th floor, seemingly isolated from the world. But actually during the years here, They have already figured out Impel Down's monitoring rules and patrol tracks. And what are the weak points? Even the work and rest patterns of powerful men like the Warden and Warden are very clear. In order to escape from here one day, however, after learning about the Straw Hat incident, a war broke out with the outside world. Ivankov felt that it was better to act in advance. Impel Down for so many years. In order to explore where the 6th floor personnel were sent to do experiments and what experiments they were doing. They put so much time and effort into this, but that is the foundation of world government, and their revolutionary army cannot ignore it. Gotta figure it out somehow. For this reason, Ivankov risked his life and was personally imprisoned. Over the years, something has finally been gained. Originally, she planned to screen some more people. And rescued the other captured companions one by one. Then find Magellan who leads everyone to escape from prison when he goes out to accept prisoners. But I didn't expect that Pluton Rayleigh would find him here. And it is pointed out who left behind this magical 5.5 layer. This made Ivankov suddenly realize that it was almost a separate space that had been opened up. No wonder they found that even here they roared like crazy and had a party. Magellan, whose office is in L763, V4, didn't notice anything strange at all. They had thought that it was a prison paradise left by a powerful criminal senior. But I didn't expect it to be Roger the Pirate King. They don't even know the entrance to LV6. After the two reached an agreement, they began to make plans. Because Fire Fist Ace has been taken to Marine headquarters. Marine Admiral Sakazuki also withdrew, and the garrison strength began to decline. On the eve of the war, there were many Marine warships outside the main fleet. All others were transferred to Marine headquarters to participate in the war. This is the best time. For Rayleigh, what he fears most is Levi's power that looks like Conqueror's Haki. The kind of power that could tear his Conqueror's Haki apart. Apply the attack directly to Mental Wool and Haki. Unheard of. That strength, a powerful pervert. During the Saboti archipelago, after Rayleigh realized this, she did not choose to fight Levi. Because he knows that doing so has a very small chance of success. So he chose to keep all his remaining strength until now, waiting for the right time. Things proved that he was right if he hadn't retained that little bit of power. The CPO punishment may have pried open some of his memories. It also prevented him from dying of exhaustion. Advertisement of course, he had been looking forward to Impel Down a certain cell from the beginning. When questioning the jailer, even bundled into tiny forms using Conqueror's Haki. It interfered with the jailer's will and thinking. Although it cannot be done like some talents, complete hypnosis. But a little hint and guidance is okay. So when he proposed to spend the rest of his life in the cell where Roger once lived. Of course the jailer agreed. The captain's character has indeed not changed. He always likes to hold back when doing things and is too kind. Rayleigh couldn't help but laugh at himself when he thought of this. I used to often say that his kind personality was not good. Unexpectedly, it would now become the key to their escape. After the plan was initially drawn up, action began quickly. They unlocked Rayleigh's handcuffs and passed through a previously unknown entrance to the 6th floor. He invaded the 6th floor and obtained several keys through other entrances earlier. The most critical one is the one that can open Straw Hat's cell. It was also the one they targeted in the first place. Among the other handfuls, one belonged to Haisha Jinbei's cell that was just delivered a few days ago. The prison escape was successful, and the trio of Straw Hat, Luo, and Kid were rescued on the 6th floor. They were in a cell, followed by Kaisha Jinbei and Sand Crocodile. Originally, Luffy thought that dangerous guys like Sand Crocodile should not be allowed to come out. But their escape requires strength, and Ivankov says he has the code to use Crocodile. Luffy and others agreed. As for the other pirates, they never thought about letting them out. The reason why other criminals on the 6th floor were able to get out was not the Straw Hats. Even on other prison floors, the release of criminals starts with Buggy the Clown and the others. But Buggy the Clown is still on the prison floor above. Buggy, who was originally a person with abilities, was treated as a person without abilities. As a result, he was only placed in LV1, but in the past few days, Buggy, who should have been waiting for opportunities to escape from jail, has been very honest. Because he heard about it. During this time, Marine Headquarters Admiral Sakazuki led warships to guard Impel Down. This guy plus the Warden Magellan, the clown Buggy dare not move. It wasn't until Sakazuki left and heard some commotion again that he understood what was going on. He then began to escape from prison. After the jailers lost their keys, the entire Impel Down became chaotic. Naturally, we found Rayleigh, Luffy and the others on the 6th floor. The angry Magellan led people to kill him directly. But Rayleigh stopped Impel Down's highest combat power, Magellan on the 6th floor. And he bites hard, refusing to give in at all, and wraps around Magellan tightly. Rayleigh had just entered Impel Down not long ago, although she had been tortured and mentally tortured. But Levi was afraid that he would die, so he gave him a wave of treatment. Therefore, Rayleigh's fighting power is still not weak. Before being imprisoned, the field was divided. Uncle Rayleigh, Straw Hat couldn't help but exclaimed when he saw Rayleigh blocking Warden Magellan alone. Countless jailers, coupled with this special environment. Once Rayleigh and Magellan fought in this narrow terrain. As soon as reinforcements from Impel Down arrived, even Pluton Rayleigh would find it nearly impossible to escape. Advertisement because Magellan is very strong, There are also many other strong people, and reinforcements can arrive quickly. Go on, don't you still want to find your partner? Leave this old bone to me here? Rayleigh looked at the passage and smiled happily. Rayleigh doesn't want to wait any longer. Some secrets have been carried for too long. Coupled with the special situation now, he can only put most of his hopes on Straw Hat. On the other hand, Black Crow doesn't know if it's suitable. He has to explore further. Straw Hat Boy, let's leave. If we don't leave, the fleets and strong men from outside will arrive. Then we won't be able to leave. And that's Pluton Rayleigh. Maybe he can escape on his own. Ivankov persuaded. HMPH, Whitebeard. Crocodile corrupted another door, thinking of Whitebeard going to war with Marine headquarters. The Sand Crocodile is eager to take off Whitebeard's head. In New World before, if he still wants to challenge again. Maybe he was stopped by other captains and subordinates before he even got close. But now that the war has broken out and there is a big melee, he has a chance. Uncle Rayleigh, you must survive. Luffy had no choice but to move forward in order to save Ace. You can't stop, otherwise the external warship reinforcements will come close. They cannot escape. Pluton Rayleigh, do you want to stay and fight for them, or die? Magellan was extremely angry if these guys were allowed to escape. This would be an unprecedented shame in the history of Impel Down. It's even worse than the Golden Lion jailbreak a few decades ago. That depends on whether you have the ability. Rayleigh smiled calmly and pointed his sword at Magellan, Haki. Rayleigh, kill Magellan and let us out, we can follow you. That's right, as long as you let us out, you will be our captain from now on. The others shouted excitedly. We can help you, although only Conqueror's Haki is left, but it is still somewhat useful, if Conqueror's Haki is not developed to a substantial and entangling level. The ability to intimidate powerful men of the same level is equivalent to none. But if the number increases, even Magellan wouldn't have it easy. It seems that you have really decided. In this case, from now on, I will go all out to kill you, and then go after the Straw Hats. Guion Vice Admiral and Marine are still up there, and they will not escape so easily. Magellan had a look in his eyes. The 3 poisonous dragons disappeared if Rayleigh escaped. Magellan may not be able to be completely stopped by himself now, it will be difficult. The only advantage is that this prison has many mechanisms. There are also seastone traps, which may not be of much use to strong players. But it can still be done by procrastinating for a while. Originally, Pluton Rayleigh was a prisoner who was strictly ordered by the world government to be protected and to avoid losses as much as possible. But if he insists on blocking it in front of him now, then there is no other way. He has to go all out to cooperate with other prison troops. Try to take down Rayleigh as soon as possible, and it won't be easy. This was only possible because the space here was narrow and his ability had a huge advantage. Giant soldier of poison, endless venom melted and spread out. Magellan is going all out. Rayleigh must be neutralized or taken down as quickly as possible. Otherwise, even if there is defense above, there is no guarantee that everyone will be stopped. Venom, it seems to be really difficult to deal with. In such a narrow space, anyone can be exposed to these poisons. Judging from the extent that it can corrode stone, steel, and even sea stone on the ground. Haki may not be able to defend himself. The two looked at each other without saying a word. One should be resolved as soon as possible without delay. Conflicting goals, the only solution is to fight. Boom. Sword energy collides with poisonous waves, endless poisonous energy fills the air. The criminals on the 6th floor immediately cried and cursed the two of them. Advertisement: some old, usually tortured criminals who were about to die. Under the poisonous gas and the rushing sword energy, he died immediately. But Magellan was unmoved. It is better for these criminals to die than to escape. But at this moment, Impel Down was in chaos, and Shiryu of Rain finally found a chance. Save Blackbeard. It was originally reminded by Levi before. He did hesitate, but it was boring to stay here. And even if Magellan now doubts him and is wary of him, so what? There is no time to separate at all, during their fight. Somewhere dark in Tianri's cell, the extremely miserable Blackbeard suddenly saw a figure appearing in front of the cell. When he looked up, he immediately showed an evil smile and 2 rows of white but missing teeth. Ha ha ha. It seems I made the right bet. This is the key. Everyone has been killed. There is no way out. I hope your plan is as effective as you said, otherwise I will kill you next, Shiryu said coldly. A whole seastone key was thrown in front of Blackbeard. We alone are not enough. Let's release all these lawless guys. Take away the strong ones. As long as the plan succeeds, I will be invincible, even if the Black Crow guy comes sooner or later. I will kill him every day. Thinking of these days of torture, Blackbeard was both frightened and angry. Let them all go? Shiryu was stunned for a moment. That's right, wouldn't it be better to make the whole world chaotic? Ha ha ha. It is indeed right to follow a man like you. It's crazy. Then let them all go. Click click click, many cells were opened, especially the strongest monsters. However, some monsters wouldn't go with Blackbeard, and Blackbeard didn't dare to force them. After all, he hasn't captured the shock fruit yet. Although the strength is strong, it is not yet at the top level in the world. What's going on? The cell is open. Shiryu. You bastard. Magellan's face changed drastically, 4.5. But I soon realized what was going on. He saw terrifying and powerful figures, liberated and free. He, Magellan, might die. Even if he is strong, It is impossible to suppress so many strong men who have been liberated from their shackles at the same time. This is not going to be good. Rayleigh's face also changed slightly. Although he is also a pirate, the Roger pirates also hate pirates who kill innocent people indiscriminately. Some of the pirates here were brought in after being defeated by them and taken advantage of by Marine. It seems that we need to join forces temporarily. I don't need to say which one is more serious, letting the criminals above enter the sea or letting the criminals here enter the sea, and Rayleigh said this. At this moment, he did something beyond everyone's expectations. He turned around to face the prisoners, which made Magellan stunned for a moment, and also stunned the prisoners opposite. What does Rayleigh do? We are all criminals, shouldn't we work together to escape at this time? Why did you turn your back on us? What are you? Magellan was also puzzled. Although I don't know what the Black Crow guy is doing here these days, these people seem to be quite important to him. Although he also arrested me, it was out of duty. His skills were inferior to others, and he had nothing to say. Later, he saved half of my life, or even one life, but this was a kindness. And I don't like to owe people any favors, so just help him, you all can stay. Rayleigh's few words shocked everyone present. Many criminals froze when facing Rayleigh, almost all of them had the same idea for a moment. Is this the capacity of Pluton Rayleigh, the deputy who assists the Pirate King? 70. Penetrated inside and outside, Whitebeard flew away, and the whole world was shocked. Please subscribe. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Before the 6th floor riots, many criminals were in the same era as the Roger pirates. But never really got to know Pluton Rayleigh. In their impression, they only know that Rayleigh is a strong person. He is a peak warrior who has trained Haki and swordsmanship to the extreme. Even the old monsters who had conflicts with the Roger pirates. There are only a few people who have an in-depth understanding of Rayleigh. And of course Bullet, who was once in the same boat. Magellan looked at Rayleigh's back in disbelief. If Rayleigh really fights side by side with him to stop these criminals, that is equivalent to taking away the extra way of survival that you just gained. Choked alive again. Regardless of whether he stopped this group of thugs in the end. Rayleigh's current choice has only two results. First, he couldn't stop so many criminals, so he died suddenly along with them. The second was to block it, and when things calmed down, he was thrown into the cell again. As for the current situation, Fuli should actually have a better choice. That would be to leave with the criminal, but he didn't. Just to return the favor, Magellan is in charge of the prison, and such people are almost never seen. Many people have respect. In the world of pirates, sometimes we need to talk about benevolence, justice and morality. But in this situation, those who can still persevere are in trouble. It was so difficult that when Rayleigh turned around to deal with them, they were in disbelief. Admirable and admirable, the road to freedom is right in front of you. No one can stop them, not even Rayleigh. Rayleigh-san, please get out of the way for us. The tall and mighty Bullet walked out of the crowd. Looking directly at Pluton, Rayleigh said calmly. Even though they were once on the same boat, they were partners. Bullet is no less powerful than Rayleigh, but Bullet follows Roger. Although I have respect for the deputy captain, it is only a bit of a disapproval. Anyone who stands in his way now, he will show no mercy. Since Roger's death, the former evil ghost successor has gone berserk. You know me. Rayleigh smiled lightly, holding the weapon. Haki covered him. 21. There's nothing to say. If you want to be free, kill them, Blackbeard in the crowd shouted, and everyone no longer hesitated. His eyes gradually became crazy, and various powers began to spread. Kill. Several strong men took the lead in attacking. They have longed for freedom for too long. Anything that stands in their way at this moment will be destroyed. Seeking death. Magellan was still in the state of a giant poisonous soldier. The venom surged away like a wave, and many criminals suddenly screamed. Rayleigh's sword energy burst out. Rumble. The criminals swarmed up, and the terrifying energy completely exploded. But Rayleigh and Magellan fought together and guarded the passage. The prison is specially built and is located under the sea. There are countless Sea King's lairs overseas. If all the thugs want to escape, there is only one way to go, the exit. Although there are only two people, Rayleigh and Magellan. But his strength is almost all at his peak. Although there are many thugs on the 6th floor, many have not yet recovered to their peak. Advertisement. Even Bullet has become more powerful over the years. But the body also needs some recuperation. Only then can they have 4 Emperor's level combat power. This is one of the reasons why he only started holding fanatic activities 2 years after he escaped from prison. They have all been tortured so miserably by this prison and the occasional experiments. They can't wait to take revenge on the world, kill them all. In a short period of time, the two of them withstood the attacks of many strong men. Even if it is very strenuous, you may even start to get hurt. But he resisted after all. But they also understand that if this continues, sooner or later they will be unable to stop it. There are too many thugs. Unless there are 2 or so Marine admirals to help them. Only then can these thugs be suppressed, in the midst of horrific battles and killings. Powerful criminals continue to fall. Now Magellan's thoughts are no longer on the Straw Hats. Compared with Straw Hat, these people are much more powerful and terrifying. A few escapes are worth the harm of all the criminals on the 5 floors in front of Impel Down. Luffy and the others arrived at the 5th floor, and after rescuing Zoro Kira, they fought with the jailers. In the chaos, the other imprisoned supernovas found their own opportunities. successfully escaped from prison, although Luffy and others saw it. But they ignored it. They were not jailers, and he is also a member of the jailbreak. 11 supernovas, plus 7 warlords of the Sea Jinbei, Crocodile, and Ivankov's jailbreak lineup. Without Magellan's interference, they quickly moved from the 5th floor to the 4th floor. Hanayabel led a large number of jailers and powerful jailer beasts to conduct an interception here in the hot hell. Fighting breaks out. The red-haired Shanks who attacked Impel Down at this moment did not expect this. They just invaded Impel Down at the moment. Due to the special construction materials of Impel Down, it greatly restrains any fruit-powered users. Beckman also cannot open a space channel inside Impel Down. It can only be invaded openly from the front, judging from the information they have. They should have been stopped by the combined efforts of Magellan and alternate Admiral Guion. But the only people standing in front of them now were Marine and Guion. "Where's Magellan?" red-haired Shanks asked calmly. In Impel Down, their biggest enemy should be Magellan. They attacked 5 warships from outside the comm belt. There's no way Magellan doesn't know, but now only Marine stood in front of them. Impel Down's troops are nowhere to be seen, which is too abnormal. "I am enough." Guion looked at red hair pirates, feeling extremely stressed. But she can't retreat, as a Marine, in this situation. She could neither retreat nor retreat, she could only fight to the death. It's a pity that the phone calls they sent out were interfered by unknown radio waves. All telephone bugs were down and unable to contact Marine headquarters. This is naturally the work of red hair pirates. They didn't underestimate Impel Down if Beckman hadn't become a rare fruit user. And if the time is right now, advertisement, the red-haired man felt that his success rate in conquering Impel Down was extremely low. Magellan and Marine may be delayed by the signal, but reinforcements will definitely arrive. These are not easy to deal with. Everyone, be careful. Either Magellan has an ambush inside, or something happened inside. Leave this Marine to me. Boss, you guys can make a quick decision. Beckman stood up and faced Guion, the candidate. "Admiral. Don't even think about going in. Guion has a strong temper and will never be held back." With a slash of the sword, a terrifying sword energy swept across the entire red-hair pirates. "Marine Headquarters Substitute Admiral, you really have some skills." Red-haired Shanks showed some approval. This sword energy is very strong, but he drew his sword with one hand and easily broke through Guion's sword energy. The battle broke out, and the Impel Down was gradually penetrated by the strong inside and outside. High in the sky, a green dragon was swimming among the clouds, sometimes laughing and sometimes crying. Uhe failed in suicide again. Damn it. "You bastard red hair. Where are you hiding? Lousy must find you out." Kaido was upset about not being able to stop the red hair pirates in the New World. Having fought against Hongfa for so many years, Hongfa's actions this time were very unusual. It seemed like he was a little anxious. There must be something very important. The more important it is, the less he can get his wish. Red hair pirates has become very strong in recent years. If he becomes stronger again, it will be a big trouble for him. Naturally, Kaido immediately thought of the place Impel Down. The thought of the redhead possibly going to attack Impel Down. But he stayed nearby for a few days. He found no trace at all, which made Kaido doubt whether his judgment was wrong. Even now that the war has begun at the Marine headquarters, there is still no sign of the red hair pirates. Just when Kaido felt that he had made a mistake in his judgment and was pregnant with red hair, would he return to New World and raid his hometown? He finally saw the red hair pirates who had a conflict with the Impel Down guards. At that moment, his long mouth revealed a meaningful, even destructive, inferior smile. "It looks like a ruffian dragon. Red hair, I finally found you." Kaido was ecstatic, but he still resisted the urge to go directly to stop him. If the information is correct, Magellan is here. That guy is not easy to deal with. If you go down rashly, you may face a double attack from the red hair and the prison. That was not cost-effective, so at this time he made a decision. He ran to the Marine headquarters and told the hash incident to both parties involved in the war in public. By then, even the Marine headquarters, which is currently fighting Whitebeard, will definitely send someone to check it out. Then the red hair pirates were attacked from both sides, regardless of their final outcome. The possibility of becoming the final winner is the greatest. The red-haired plan was ruined, and he might be able to find some talents with powerful combat power from this underwater prison. Talent is a precious resource. Not bad, not bad. Ahaha. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. No, it should be a king winner. If the Marine headquarters allocates combat forces, the battle with Whitebeard will be even more difficult. There might be heavy losses. That would be a good thing for him too. Just fight to your heart's content. In the end, everything is mine. The whole world will be mine in the future. Ahaha. Then Kaido turned and flew towards the Marine headquarters. He believes that Impel Down still has some resistance and will not fall so quickly. Moreover, the Marine headquarters can be reached from Impel Down in just a short time with the strength of strong men like them. Not to mention that Kaido is an aerial unit. With a full burst, it will not take more than 15 minutes. Kaido was very decisive at this time and chose to be a snitch dragon. Boom. Marine headquarters, the dust battle is getting more and more crazy. More and more pirates are landing on the ice field and heading towards the square. Little Oz the Devil is about to collapse. He was covered in scars, but he was still fighting. Because he wants to save Ace. Advertisement his body is too huge, even though his strength is amazing. Still became a target. Under Doflamingo's onslaught and numerous artillery bombardments throughout the Marine headquarters. It was too much for him to bear. Of course, many Marines also lost their lives at the hands of the terrifying little Oz. In this battle, no one can say right or wrong, just different positions. Everyone has their own pursuits, and they have to talk about good and evil. That is, victory is justice. Almost there, Akainu said to himself as he watched more and more pirates coming in. Several special warships have been protected, and they are gradually approaching the port at this moment. Hidden above is Marine Science Unit. Zon Taomaru has been hiding there with the pacifists for some time 350. Always waiting for the best time. Next, the world needs to know about Marine's victory, Marshal Sengoku said calmly. But this time, he didn't choose to disconnect the phone bug. Because the last time the Red Hair Pirates attacked Marine headquarters. Let them Marine lose face. At this time, they need to let the world re-recognize their power. Even if this process is a bit bloody and brutal, it is still necessary. But to many people in this world, this is actually nothing. They were already used to fighting. If I have to say it, the fighting lineup at Marine headquarters is so huge that it's frightening. Akainu, do it, Sengoku ordered through the phone bug. Akainu's resolute face, as strong as a knife or an axe, remained calm, but his aura gradually became violent. The cloak of justice behind you was fluttering in the wind. Both hands turned into dark red crystal like magma, and then he quickly waved his fist towards the sky, meteor volcano. Whoosh! Countless fists of lava blasted away from the body and into the sky, sinking into the clouds. The entire sky turned red. Then these fists of lava fell out of the clouds again. Under the inertia of the fall, there was a deafening roar, and everyone subconsciously raised their heads. Suddenly I saw volcanic bombs all over the sky, like a group of meteors attacking the entire harbor. Pung pung pung. The volcanic bomb hit the ground, covering a large area, the ice sheet was cut through, and the entire bay exploded in an instant. A sea of fire ignited, and countless pirates screamed and were blown away, just like purgatory on Earth. The surrounding wall activates. The pacifists took action to block the retreat. Marshal Sengoku issued 2 more orders. But suddenly there was a harsh roar in the battlefield. Dad. At this moment everyone is attracted by these crazy sounds. What happened to Whitebeard? Because Marco's voice is among them. When Sengoku Akainu and others' attention returned to the battlefield from the plan, they stared in the direction of Whitebeard. They were all stunned. People all over the world were stunned. They saw the man known as the strongest man in the world. Whitebeard Edward Newgate, the Earthquake Man. It was blown away like a rag bag. It's not being knocked back, nor is it moving backwards. Instead, the whole person was sent flying into the air. The Kong Yunki in his hand was also thrown out, and with a clang, it was stuck on the ice. Whitebeard in midair, blood spurting out of his mouth. How is that possible? It's a lie. What happened just now? Someone said in great horror. What happened when their attention was drawn to Akainu's massive bombing attack? I saw it. A trembling voice sounded. 71. The power of King Sero Light, Informant Dragon. Kaido appears. Please subscribe in full. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. The entire battlefield and the strong men in front of the World Live broadcast suddenly stood up. Ordinary people and ordinary journalists may not know what Whitebeard really means in this world. They will only stop at the words, the world's strongest man, evil ghost, and Whitebeard pirates. Maybe I felt fear from the bottom of my heart and was afraid. But they have this fear, and fear, it's not the same thing that the strong are afraid of. Whitebeard is so powerful that he is known as the strongest. And the strongest people in the world are never tied. In other words, people all over the world recognize that among generals and emperors, there are strong and weak ones. And Whitebeard is the one at the top. The so-called same level is just a general term for those who have reached the same level these days. But even strong men of the same level can win or lose in a fight. It's just not that easy to score, and this title is not even enjoyed by the marine hero Garp. You know, Garp is a strong man who has chased and killed the Pirate King Roger many times. But even Garp is not the strongest, but Whitebeard. Of course, this does not mean that Garp is weaker than Whitebeard. It can only be said that nothing major has happened in the past few decades. There was no chance for the two of them to decide the outcome. When Whitebeard arrived just now, he bluntly said that he had not seen Sengoku for decades. That's not much different from Garp. This is because since Roger's death, the power of the entire sea began to gradually stabilize. Because at that time, Whitebeard and Ant were no longer passionate young people. It started to focus on business territory. Whitebeard's strength is the result of decades of accumulation of countless glorious achievements, little by little. This kind of record made people of the same era as Whitebeard deeply frightened. They could not forget how terrifying the destructive power of the earthquake fruits was. Whitebeard alone can destroy a fleet on the sea with just one tsunami. Even if he is a strong person at the same level, if it is not Aokiji's frozen fruit, it is almost impossible to completely defend against Whitebeard's seismic wave attack. Because his attack range is too wide. Other generals are so powerful that they can usually only deal with a strong person of the same level. But Whitebeard's power lies in all the strong men within his field of vision. The attack strength may be just a little stronger than Akainu Kaido's. But he can fight against several strong men of the same level as him at the same time. If the earthquake fruit is said to have the strongest destructive power in the world, this is its first characteristic. The second feature is that Whitebeard's ability allows him to face the siege of multiple strong men of the same level at the same time. Not to mention victory, but as long as his earthquake power can still be activated, it will be difficult to defeat. This is difficult for other strong men to do, but Whitebeard can do it. So people in the world recognize Whitebeard as the strongest, and no one refutes it. Unless one day, someone can defeat Whitebeard, this title of strongest will be transferred. But now, what did they see? They saw the Emperor of the Sea, who had ruled for an era, fly away. Can't even hold a weapon, it's unbelievable. This shows that his opponent is probably stronger than him. Rather than 1 point or the same level, Marco looked at the young figure in the field in horror. It was difficult for him to accept this reality for a while. Advertisement no one present could see it more clearly than he. Whitebeard explodes with all his strength, abilities, haki, and sword skills, all integrated together. He wanted to teach this arrogant boy like Levi a lesson. No matter what level of haki Levi masters, Whitebeard was fearless, jumped down from the ship, and struck a blow, as if he was going to open up the world. The void and atmosphere resonate and tremble at the same time. With that kind of power, Marco and Kizaru's expressions changed drastically. The fighting spirit of Whitebeard is terrifying. With this knife, Kizaru felt that if he was hit, he would probably die or lose half of his life. Of course, if such an attack hits him, Kizaru will not just stand there stupidly. Not like the Black Crow. Damn it, the Black Crow didn't avoid it. Frightened, Kizaru quickly reminded, Black Crow, get away quickly. Whitebeard bursting out at full strength is no joke. Whitebeard mocks and despises Levi verbally, but when it comes to actually taking action, he goes all out and doesn't hold back at all. Levi has already demonstrated his strength just now. Conqueror's Haki alone calmed the tsunami. This strength is enough for Whitebeard to go all out. Whitebeard never looked down on anyone who was strong. Even if he is young, because he had seen more than one young and powerful monster in Rock's Pirate before. What a terrifying attack. Levi remained unmoved in the face of the knife. The Reiatsu on my body exploded with a bang, but it didn't spread widely. It is only concentrated within a 10-foot radius of itself. A pair of black Reiatsu condensed wings appeared behind him. Then all the Reiatsu in the world, in the body, were madly absorbed into the wings. Condensing, compressing, extracting, refining. Reiatsu is like a rushing stream, connecting these wings, flowing straight into the sea. The pair of huge black spiritual wings became more agile and solid, and a shadow of a crow seemed to emerge behind Levi. The ominous atmosphere filled the air, causing Whitebeard to frown subconsciously. But there is no regret when the sword is used. You may think that I want to kill you, but from a certain aspect, I still agree with you. Of course, killing you is imperative. Levi smiled lightly. Yeah. The sword light flashed, but there was only a loud roar, and a pair of wings stretched out, as if there was no limit. They are formed from energy and can be ever-changing. The speed is also extremely fast. Whitebeard's knife slashing at Levi was directly blocked by the extended wings. When the two collided, Whitebeard was surprised to find that his energy did not seem to fully explode. But it was roughly torn into pieces. So much so that the collision between the two did not erupt into a strong shock wave. It's like being annihilated. At this moment Whitebeard suspected that Levi was not simply the owner of Conqueror's Haki. Maybe he is also a person with some kind of fruit ability. You want to block my attack with this kind of thing? Whitebeard grinned, raised the Kong Yunchi again, and charged up again. This time the shock halo looked more unstable and powerful. Sweeping the knife down, it struck the wings in front of me again, and there was a click. The atmosphere shattered and shockwaves surged out. However, Reiatsu Black Wing is still safe and sound. What's going on? Such strong energy can't even be destroyed by the force of an earthquake. Whitebeard was shocked, but didn't panic. His shock fruit is the most destructive in the world. There is nothing that cannot be destroyed. If one hit doesn't work, just hit a few more times. Advertisement, I didn't want to start a fight with you so early. After all, I still have things to do, but it seems like you don't want to let me leave easily. Levi said calmly, taking a step forward. With this step, along with Reiatsu, a thin black mist appeared in this area. With a buzzing sound, Whitebeard clearly felt that the pressure in this area instantly increased by at least 100 times. With a bang, under the atmospheric pressure, the ice sheet was suppressed and a huge crater was formed. Whitebeard's heart is heavy, but he must take action. He just saw the Black Crow targeting Marco. Marco's strength is okay against a Marine Admiral. It's very dangerous to deal with two Marine Admirals. Boy, if you want to take action against my family, you have to get through me first. Whitebeard said, and punched out, shattering a lot of the Reiatsu mist, but not completely. Because there is endless Reiatsu pouring out from Levi, endless, as if it will never run out. Whitebeard found that the earthquake force could not completely shatter it, so he simply used himself to fight in close combat, waving the Kong Yun knife wildly like a cloak. But the sword is precise and swift. However, Levi's two black wings kept blocking easily. In just one moment, Whitebeard made at least dozens of chops, but he made no achievements at all. And at the focus of Levi's eyes, there's a small black Reiatsu ball condensing. All defenses are only for this attack. Whitebeard is really not easy to deal with for Levi. Whitebeard cannot be defeated by soul intimidation alone. His earthquake power is extremely destructive. Reiatsu that can dissipate oneself to a certain extent. Still able to fight freely, Levi cannot completely crush him. But the problem is still not big, after Levi tested the defense for several rounds. A conclusion has been drawn based on hard experience. He is a long way ahead of Whitebeard. It may take some time to continue fighting, but you will definitely win. It's a pity that by ending Whitebeard's life so early, can he maximize his prestige? What is that? No matter what it is, he will never be able to successfully condense it. Levi's two Reiatsu wings, combined with the mist-shaped soul deterrent field, constantly collided with Whitebeard. Whitebeard continued to attack and was continuously defended by Levi. I saw a small black ball of energy condensing in front of Levi's eyebrows. Under the Reiatsu black mist, except for those nearby, others could not see the specific situation at all. And the powerful energy distorts space and atmosphere. From time to time, black lightning crackles and shines out of the black Reiatsu ball. An unprecedented sense of crisis emerged from Whitebeard's heart. That little black ball of energy, extremely dangerous. It must not be allowed to condense successfully. Whitebeard has a strong sense of combat and a sense of crisis. It was only when he was young and the group was not old enough that he had it a few times. Later, when he became stronger, even Rox and Roger couldn't make him feel this extreme sense of crisis that came from his body's instinct. Very keen perception, but it seems that I realized it a little late. Levi looked at Whitebeard, his head turning slightly. The small black ball rotates and always remains directly in front of the eyebrows. God is destroyed. Whitebeard roared in his heart, and the sense of crisis became stronger. The clouds cut above, covering an earthquake halo with the highest intensity. This seismic halo would fall on the Marine headquarters if not stopped. The entire Marine headquarters will collapse, but there are still our own people on the battlefield, so we are afraid of accidental injuries. So Whitebeard has been controlling the intensity of the earthquake force, but now his instinct tells him that he can no longer keep it. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Wangshu's flash, Levi whispered to himself. The entire black Reiatsu ball suddenly rioted, and a dazzling black light bloomed. Whitebeard was in the process of wielding this knife. Advertisement. I saw that the space next to the little black ball was distorted, like ripples in water. It's not that the atmosphere is shattered, but that the void of space is shaken. At his peak moment, Whitebeard also happened to throw out such an earthquake punch that could shake the space. But only that one time. Later my body started to go downhill. The earthquake force of that time came back and caused serious damage to his body. That was a blow that exceeded his limit. I really didn't expect that today's young people are so scary. Gu la la la. Roger, maybe you were right. Although the process is a bit cruel, you and I will indeed come out later. We have found a very good and strong person. We can even go further in the future. A black light that destroys all things blasts out in a fan shape. It is unstoppable. God's strongest earthquake shattered the entire atmosphere in front of him, and the cracks became even more dense. The shock wave swept through everything within the field of vision. Boom. God's destruction and Sero clashed, and the entire island burst into a ferocious abyss. Almost splitting the entire island in two, but this is nothing. The most terrifying thing is this blow. Crash Whitebeard. Whitebeard was knocked away from Reiatsu's black mist. Kong Yunki flew out of his hand, and he was in midair with blood spraying. Whitebeard was unable to block the flash of Wangshu, and his body suffered heavy injuries instantly. The whole person flew out for 1,000 meters. His slightly confused consciousness quickly recovered. Controlling his body, he landed heavily on the ice sheet with a thud. Looking down at his chest, there were burnt brown marks there that had been blasted by high explosive energy. His shockwave was shattered by the opponent, and armament Haki was unable to defend himself. Scary little monster. Whitebeard felt extremely heavy. Yes, he didn't care that he was injured. But there is such a strong person in front of him who is slightly stronger than himself. The difficulty of rescuing Ace has increased a lot. Akainu happened to blast Meteor Volcano, and the pirates' screams of fear could be heard from behind. The pacifists began to block the port, surrounded the ice field, and encircled and massacred the Whitebeard pirates. The situation suddenly became very unfavorable for the Whitebeard pirates. It's the Black Crow Admiral. The Black Crow Admiral knocked Whitebeard away. The Marines and the people in front of the live broadcast saw the black mist clearly. Reiatsu was shaken away by the blow, revealing an unscathed film. At this moment, all Marines were excited and crazy. Countless Marines roared hysterically and shouted. Morale instantly rises to an ultimate. Black Crow Admiral was actually able to force Whitebeard, overwhelm Whitebeard, and injure him. Why is this kid so ridiculously strong? Zhang also understood. In his opinion, Levi is very strong, but at best he is no different from Akainu, and his attack methods may be relatively simple. After all, it's just conquerors, but I didn't expect Haki to be able to unleash that devastating flash blast just now. Beard loss. The 4th Admiral of Marine Headquarters is so powerful. The Lone Shark King looked at the scene with great horror. A monster like Whitebeard was actually knocked away, and he was confronting me head-on. The power of this 4th Admiral is too strong. This is not a hard fight, but there are vague signs of suppression and crushing. This is so scary. Whitebeard, have you reached this point of age? You can't even deal with a young boy? It's so ugly. Suddenly, a voice came from the sky. A loud mocking voice. Everyone looked up, and their hearts were filled with panic again. 4 emperors. Kaido of the beasts. 72. Red hair, get out of here. The Reiatsu sword shoots through the 6th floor. Impel Down. Please subscribe in full. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Kaido's sudden arrival plunged the entire battlefield into an eerie silence. Beasts. 4 emperors. The strongest creatures in the world, known as unkillable monsters. He likes to commit suicide. He was arrested many times, could not be killed, and even managed to escape. It is an extremely terrifying monster, but Levi feels nothing about it. If this guy really couldn't be killed, when Kazuki Oden was executed by cooking, he wouldn't have that incredible expression. This shows that Kaido at that time was very likely not able to do what Oden did. And his defense has been broken, not so mythical. Now it is certainly becoming stronger and its vitality is becoming more tenacious. But Levi didn't believe that there was anything in this world that couldn't be killed. There is a saying that goes, well, if people are killed, they will die. But Kaido suddenly stopped spying, but after leaving, he suddenly appeared again. This indeed makes both warring parties more vigilant. Because they are both worried that Kaido will be each other's partner. Once Kaido intervenes, no matter which camp he joins, it may change the outcome of the entire battlefield. Even the 5 elders in the Holy Land frowned. If Kaido takes action, then the preventive measures they have taken will also have to be taken. Kong Anming has been waiting for orders with many strong men. The purpose is to prevent these unexpected situations from occurring. The world government has already made up its mind about this war. Keep Whitebeard around no matter what. The plan was so thorough that even the 4 emperors came to rescue him. It definitely won't work, at least not until Whitebeard dies. Their world government and marine headquarters will never give up. Just because they have made preventive preparations does not mean they want to see this happen. If there are too many forces involved, it is likely to turn into a situation that even the world government cannot handle. Sengoku Garp looked ugly. Ace's eyes were still on Whitebeard, full of worry. Aokiji Kizaru, Marco Josie, Haki, these world-famous strong men. They all distanced themselves from the enemy and looked at the sky warily. This is not going to be good. Kizaru stretched out his fingers and scratched his ears. Because that's what I knew during the meeting. He had never heard Marshal Sengoku express or hint about the possibility of Kaido being their reinforcements. It's unlikely that it will be, and it will be broadcast live to the world. If Kaido was on their side, Marshal Sengoku should have stopped the live broadcast at this time. But no, so it is very likely that Kaido came as a pirate. As for the non-allied forces, it happened that the captains of the Whitebeard pirates also thought so. I hate it when 343 people look down at me. Levi raised his head. It was troublesome to raise his head for a long time. But right now I don't know what Kaido is thinking. It is also not advisable to take the initiative to attack, lest bystanders become enemies. That would be troublesome. Levi is strong, but never blindly confident. Then what is that? A dragon? Isn't it a legendary creature? Oh my god, is there really such a creature? It looks so fierce, but why did a strong man call him Kaido just now? HMPH, a newcomer is a newcomer. Everyone in New World basically knows that Kaido of the Beasts is a user with the blue dragon ability of the fish fruit phantom beast species. Advertisement, a fantasy beast. The pirates, civilians, and reporters before the live broadcast fell into crazy discussions. Their little hearts can't stand it. A Whitebeard pirate group has already fought so fiercely with the marine headquarters. We can't tell the winner for the time being. If Kaido of the Beasts joins the battlefield again, could it be that marine headquarters will be defeated? Kaido looked down at the entire battlefield. Both sides were unsure of his attitude. They will not take the initiative to attack him. He looked at Whitebeard, his cold eyes full of surprise. He didn't expect that as soon as he arrived at the marine headquarters, he would see the monster old man Whitebeard being sent flying out. I can't even hold the knife anymore. In Kaido's impression, he has never seen Whitebeard like this. As a young man, he met Whitebeard during the Rocks Pirate. By that time Whitebeard was already a very powerful pirate. There shouldn't be a strong man in this world who can fly Whitebeard. So Whitebeard flies away now. From Kaido's point of view, there is only one outcome. He is old. Older than I thought. Maybe the battle with myself in the past few years. They were all done with the last breath, but even so, Kaido was not careless. The one who can knock the old Whitebeard away, it shouldn't be simple either, is it Garp or Akainu? But after scanning around, he found that only 2 admirals were closest to Whitebeard. Who did Kizaru and the newly promoted 4th admiral? Forget it, this is not important for now. The important thing now is to bring the news of Impel Down to Marine. So after Kaido mocked Whitebeard, his eyes slowly fell on Sengoku. Marshal Sengoku, it seems that you are getting old too. The resourceful general has overstated his words. CBEH, in fact, when you get old, you should hand over the responsibilities to the young people as soon as possible. After hearing Kaido's words, everyone fell silent and did not dare to answer the question casually. Sengoku felt uneasy when he heard this. What do you mean by this? What do you mean? Haven't you noticed it yet? Impel Down has been invaded by the red-haired guy. By now, it should have almost hit the inside. Tisk tisk. When I came, I only saw a backup admiral leading someone to intercept him. Maybe Magellan has been killed. Kaido deliberately made the matter more serious. It's not serious, just in case they have some other arrangements and don't use the troops here. That's not what he wants to see. When Kaido thought about it, he just happened not to see Magellan. Maybe Magellan came out after he left. What? As soon as these words came out, all the strong men on Marine's side were horrified. The five elders' expressions also changed dramatically, and their mentality was a little unsettled. If all the strong men accumulated over decades were allowed to run away. That's okay. This red-haired guy clearly promised not to cause major fluctuations in the world structure. How is he going to plead his case now? Yang Laoxing said to Heaven, with a little anger. With the red hair's behavior, there was no need for him to deliberately go to Marine headquarters before. Go and warn Sengoku and the 4th Admiral not to attack the red hair pirates. It is unforgivable to violate their interests now. And 4 emperors has 3 emperors who are in the first half of New World. This situation was vaguely beyond their control. And it has always been Tian Laoxing who was responsible for communicating with the red hair. Tian Laoxing also frowned slightly, but then he thought of something and gradually calmed down. If it is true, it can only mean that Pluton Rayleigh plays a very important role in one of the red-haired plans. Although Red Hair invaded Impel Down, he is not stupid and will not release all the strong men we have accumulated over decades unless he is ready for an all-out war with us. But as far as I know, he has no such plan yet. And with Magellan still here, it may be possible to save one Rayleigh, but it's not that difficult to rescue the others. Master 5 Elders, it's confirmed that we can't contact Impel Down, and the communication is interfered with. A CPU secret guard suddenly appeared in the room silently. Advertisement: this is their personal bodyguard, extremely powerful. Some were once the world's strongest, but were brainwashed by them during Impel Down. Complete control over the existence of the mind. Some came to them voluntarily. I have arranged insurance measures before. Kosas is on Kong's side. Kong's position can support the headquarters and Impel Down at any time. Let Kosas go to Impel Down and have a look. If the red hair has rescued Rayleigh, talk to him and let him stop causing trouble and leave quickly. If he hasn't been rescued yet, stop the red hair. Clear. Sengoku heard Kaido's words, took out the phone bug, and quickly dialed Magellan's phone bug. Failed to connect, signal was interfered, it's not normal. Under normal circumstances, the distance between Impel Down and Marine headquarters is not long. Even if there is a severe storm, the call between the two will not be affected. But now it's obvious that I can't contact him. Something really happened to Impel Down. Levi's face darkened. He thought about the redhead attacking Impel Down. But I didn't expect it to be so fast. The war at Marine headquarters just started. The redhead took action, and he's also being haunted by Whitebeard. But Whitebeard is now forced back by himself. Gotta get to Impel Down as soon as possible. Although Magellan is there, we join forces with Guion. Even if you can't defend Impel Down, you should have no problem protecting yourself. Unless something unexpected happens, but Levi would not bet his hopes on whether there would be an accident. He wants to hold all of this in his own hands. Mr. Sengoku, I'm going to Impel Down. Now Levi no longer needs to cover up. Because now Kaido brings this news. It makes Levi so upright as to Impel Down, office. After Levi said this, he did not give Marshal Sengoku time to answer. There was a loud bang. The ice exploded. Levi jumped and reached high altitude in an instant. Then Reiatsu is fully released. For a moment, everyone present was suffocated for several seconds. But Levi didn't stop and teleported away in the direction of Impel Down. This pressure just disappeared. This makes many people think that it is an illusion. The figure only moved for a few moments and quickly disappeared from the entire battlefield. The speed of action and execution shocked both Whitebeard and Sengoku. Is it because of Guion? Marshal Sengoku frowned, even though Levi left. But there is nothing wrong with it. Now there is a problem with Impel Down. Moreover, there is an invasion by 4 emperors, and there is no way Marine headquarters can just sit idly by. Because Marshal Sengoku doesn't know if the world government has prepared any insurance measures near Impel Down. Levi's ability to make such a prompt decision also saved Marshal Sengoku the time of arranging manpower. And Levi's strength is past, plus Magellan and Guion, it should be enough. On the contrary, if Aokiji Kizaru goes, it may not even be enough. Because that could be the whole red hair pirates thing. And sending 2 admirals? This won't work. Sengoku cannot send 2 admirals before the situation worsens. Otherwise, the Marine headquarters' military strength advantage in this war will be greatly reduced in an instant. How to take down Whitebeard like this? Advertisement. And Kaido told them that these motives were unknown and they had to be on guard. Sengoku. Garp looked at Sengoku. If necessary, he could rush to Impel Down now. No need for now. Look what this guy Kaido is planning. I don't believe this guy has such good intentions, Sengoku whispered. Although Garp is strong, he can't fly, neither did Sengoku. Thinking that Levi can fly. But being able to fly at this time is very advantageous and has the strongest maneuverability, so it is indeed the most suitable for support. Garp said no more, just stared at the battlefield. This matter has gradually gone beyond their plan. 4 emperors, there are 3 of them in action, they must find a way to stabilize the current situation. Otherwise, if you make a wrong move, the 3 emperors and 3 emperors will attack together. The world is about to change. even if the Marine headquarters will not be destroyed. His vitality will definitely be severely damaged, and he will fall from the top military organization in the world. That would be an absolute disaster for the people of the world. Pirates, we can't let them win. Win or lose in this war will determine whether the future is the age of Marines or the age of pirates. If it were still the age of pirates, it would be so disappointing. There are enough pirates now. You're just going to let a newly promoted admiral pass? Kaido frowned. In his opinion, he gave the name of red-haired Shanks. It would take at least 2 Marine admirals to stabilize the situation. The red hair pirates are extremely powerful, and an admiral working with a Magellan may not necessarily reap benefits. Because all the red hair pirates officers are dispatched. This is none of your business, Sengoku said coldly and cautiously. I'm afraid it's you who will regret it later. Kaido's eyes flickered, but he didn't stop. He was about to return to Impel Down, but in order to dispel Sengoku's doubts and make him think that he was selling him a favor, Kaido still said before leaving, Sengoku, don't forget this. This is what you owe me. After saying that, he pretended to leave in a different direction from Levi. This was very confusing. Marshal Sengoku frowned, wondering what Kaido was thinking. Did he really leave, or is he hiding high in the sky? Could there be some secret agreement with Whitebeard? It seems we have to deal with Whitebeard as soon as possible. The nights are long and the dreams are endless. Akainu's eyes turned cold. These bullshit sea emperors will only bring disaster to this world. Whether it's Whitebeard, Red Hair, or Kaido, sooner or later, we have to destroy them all. Let's do it. Sengoku also felt that it was necessary to fight quickly. Akainu turned into a stream of lava fire and shot towards Whitebeard's direction like an arrow. Whitebeard reacts very quickly. He is slightly inferior to Black Crow, but that doesn't mean Akainu can suppress himself. An earthquake punch blasted out, knocking back Akainu who was coming halfway, and at the same time forcing him out of his human form. You lava kid, you want to kill me with a single sword attack, you are too naive to think. You'll know if you try it. Damn, what's going on? I can't catch up with that kid. Is that kid so fast? Kaido changed direction, then ran towards Impel Down at full speed, preparing to sit down. Harvest the fisherman's profit. But he found that after flying at full strength, Ji-Wei could not be seen. This made him feel a little unbelievable. He is the Qinglong, a magical beast that can soar into the clouds and control the wind. Is there anyone faster than him in the air? Levi rushed to Impel Down as quickly as possible. When he saw the scene in front of him, he was furious. Red Hair, get out of here. At the same time, Levi unleashes his full Reiatsu like never before. Even an extreme explosion, a rushing stream of Reiatsu condenses into a black sky sword. With the explosion of Reiatsu, there was a roar, and the sky sword exploded from above Impel Down. A loud bang instantly penetrated all floors. From LV1 to LV6, a straight channel appears. 73. Haki deprivation. A killing spree. Arankar is born. 5,000 word chapter, please subscribe. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement Gion was defeated. Endless humiliation rose from the bottom of my heart. Look at the broken cloak of justice. For the first time, I felt how fragile my justice was. Just like this dress, she knew the red hair pirates would be powerful. But I didn't expect the gap to be so big. It was so big that she couldn't accept it. Only 2 minutes before and after, she first rushed to the red-haired Shanks, planning to capture the thief, capture the king first. But the red-haired man fought her with a knife, which directly shattered the Haki she had trained for many years. And subsequently deprived. It's like my Haki doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the red-haired one from the beginning. At that moment, Gion was horrified. She had heard many legends about the powerful red-haired Haki. Only when they really faced each other did they understand how powerful they were. It is simply a talent given by the gods. It's obviously his own Haki, but when he comes into contact with him. But instead he was controlled, and Haki was out of reach and unable to be deprived. Although it can be recovered, it takes time. Can red hair pirates be in a hurry? How can I give Gion time? This is not a competition, but a holy event. It was hard to wait for this opportunity. They had to race against time, so Beckman made a decisive move. For a moment, bullets and sword lights intertwined with each other, creating a melody of devastating collision sounds. Haki failed to use it immediately, and his combat power was weakened. Plus Beckman's bullets are terrible. After 3 shots, her sword energy was broken. The 6th shot hit the blade directly, causing some traces of space splitting. The 7th shot shattered the famous sword Jinpa, Pai, Luo she was proud of. And his body was knocked away and suffered a heavy blow. She didn't care about serious injury or even death. But she cares about her justice, protection. She can no longer protect her now. If you can't even see through a gate, how can you talk about justice? She was unable to fight anymore. She only had 1 knife and 7 bullets. He was defeated. The defeat was so unacceptable that Gion couldn't accept it. Even if her opponent is red hair pirates, she can't forgive herself. All this is because I am too weak. All along, she thought she was strong. There are only a few people in the entire Marine headquarters who are stronger than her. This kind of achievement would inevitably make anyone proud. But today this pride was shattered. The famous sword that accompanied her throughout her life was also shattered. If it was a disastrous defeat after a fierce battle, she could accept it. But she couldn't accept losing so easily. She wasn't going to make excuses and say it was the redhead who deprived her of Haki. Because in fighting, any method is allowed. If I was careful enough, I shouldn't have known that Haki was powerful. He rashly approached and slashed at him. Kill me. Guillaume looked at the Marines lying on the ground, and looked at Beckman with a pale face. Beckman's pistol was pointed at her head, but he didn't shoot immediately. With his Haki and abilities, he can easily shoot through Guillaume's head at this distance if he fires a gun. But Beckman hesitated. He always felt that killing this Marine would cause huge trouble. Advertisement, although it is an intuition, his intuition has always been accurate. She is no longer a threat. She is also a qualified Marine. There is no need to kill her. Let's go. Hurry up. The red-haired man knew that Beckman was hesitant, so he also pressed his arm. There is a choice to kill Guillaume. As the red hair said, a qualified Marine who fulfills his duties and eliminates the threat is enough. There is no need to kill innocent people indiscriminately if such a strong man goes further. In the future, he might be able to compete with Beckman or even be as good as himself. It is also an important combat capability in the future. Yeah. Beckman put away his gun, and the group went straight into Impel Down, leaving behind a dazed and extremely unwilling Guillaume. Guillaume tried to hold the broken sword and fight again, but he was a little exhausted and couldn't hold it at all. Huh? Why didn't you see any jailers? And the floors below seemed a bit noisy. I found the map and Impel Down easily. There were not many troops guarding it, and there was no ambush. Where is Magellan? After entering Impel Down, Beckman and others found that the situation was completely different from what they thought. It seems that it was easily invaded. Due to material construction issues in Impel Down, the range that observation Haki can detect is limited. The red-haired man concentrated and could only vaguely detect something. At the bottom, there seemed to be multiple powerful auras fighting. Although it's not very obvious. But it can definitely, the Impel Down must have been an accident. Could it have been Rayleigh-san? Oh, there seems to be some commotion in the middle layer. The smell is very familiar. Could it be Luffy? The red-haired man was vaguely happy. Although it's not yet the agreed time to meet Luffy. But it doesn't matter, he will become an excellent man sooner or later. The timing couldn't be better. Rescue Rayleigh quickly. Yes. LV4 is fighting under the Straw Hat, although Hannibal brings many powerful helpers and excellent equipment. He can face 11 criminals with a bounty of over 100 million, and 2 former Shichibukai, Japanese Senior Revolutionary Army cadres. Without Magellan on his side, he still couldn't bear it. Was crushed by Straw Hat and other jailbreak teams. Then I met Red Hair Pirates in LV2. Shanks. Have you been arrested too? When Luffy saw Red Hair Pirates, he was instantly ecstatic. I never dreamed that they would meet in Impel Down. It's so unbelievable, but Luffy is well known for his nerves. Ask the redhead directly if he was also arrested. Ha ha ha. Luffy, you're still the same, you're an idiot. Lucky Roo and the others burst into laughter. Beckman also smiled. If you want to catch them Red Hair Pirates, you have to see if the Marine headquarters has the ability. Red Hair Pirates, Sand Crocodile, Ivankov, Jinbei and others in the Supernovas were also shocked when they saw Red Hair Pirates. After all, under normal circumstances, the 4 emperors would not leave the New World. They are safest where they operate, if a few people alone come to the first half or 4 seas. It is very likely that the world government and Marine headquarters will be interested. So as to ambush them, but I never expected that the 4 emperors pirate group would invade Impel Down. I'm afraid I can't hold on to this Impel Down. By the way, hurry up and go to LV6 to rescue Uncle Rayleigh. In order to cover our escape, he was surrounded by Magellan's men. Luffy quickly recounted the situation. When the red-haired and others heard this, their expressions also became solemn. We understand, leave this to us, you seem to have something to do. The red-haired man smiled lightly. But, Luffy also wanted to follow the red-haired to save people. After all, Rayleigh was there to cover them from danger. Now their reinforcements seem to be very powerful if they join forces together. Maybe Rayleigh can be rescued. Don't worry, you go first, we can handle it. The red-haired man reached out and pressed the straw hat on Luffy's head, saying confidently. Luffy saw the seriousness in the red-haired eyes. He was stunned for a few seconds, then nodded. Then I'll go rescue Ace. Luffy now knows that war has broken out. There were only a few hours left before the execution. Set off now, if you can capture a warship. It is still possible to reach the Marine headquarters by riding the high-speed current. A brief reunion and a brief separation. Advertisement. At the same time LV6. Hurry up, these 2 guys can't hold on any longer. If you don't want to die, get out of the way of lousy. Rayleigh, are you crazy? What's the benefit of helping them like this? Betrayal is very common among pirates. Why risk your life for a favor? That's right, so what if you stop us in the end? Marine will not let you go, they will turn around and throw you into prison. The criminals on the 6th floor were all attacking. Rayleigh Magellan has fallen under the feet of many once famous guys. The other criminals felt a little scared, these 2 guys are so strong. If the real Admiral level fights with all their strength, it will be very dangerous for criminals like them who have not yet recovered their strength and injuries. If they are not careful, they will die. Damn it, if the strength is restored, how can the 2 of them stop us all? Many thugs were very unwilling. And heard the thug's persuasion. Magellan subconsciously wants to be wary of Rayleigh. But soon I felt a little ashamed of this move. If only Rayleigh was so easily persuaded. How could he turn around and help them just now? He is eyeing his main rival again, the Red Earl. Rayleigh's current main rival is his former partner, Deathless Bullet. Blackbeard and Shiryu looked at Rayleigh Magellan. Shiryu stood in the crowd, silently drawing his weapon. Blackbeard also began to be filled with black smoke. The two of them were almost exhausted, and it was their turn to take action. But at this time, a furious roar suddenly penetrated the entire Impel Down and resounded throughout the sea. Red hair, get out of here. The sound was like rolling thunder, accompanied by an extremely terrifying pressure. Everyone stopped subconsciously. At this moment, Luffy has reached LV2, the red-haired person has reached LV5, Zhongli and others are still at LV6. But no matter which floor people are on, they feel as if their heads have been struck by lightning at this moment. And in this roar, there is a soul wave that destroys everything. Peng peng peng. Many of the criminals in LV2 exploded with this roar and turned into clouds of blood mist. Countless cells were instantly ablaze, and many criminals were so frightened that they screamed with fear on their faces. Many people had blood splattered on their faces. After all, the good inmate suddenly exploded into blood mist. No matter how good his psychological quality was, he couldn't bear it. Not just the second level. There are strong men on the third, fourth, and even sixth floors who burst into blood mist under the sound of furious souls. It seemed that only some of the people exploded into blood mist. There are no rules, but this is not the case. Please give me flowers. Only people with fragile souls will explode at this moment. Whether the soul is fragile or not is related to the physical injury condition and the will. The most important thing is the mental will, and those who have weak mental will. They all exploded just now. Many of them are criminals who have been tortured to the point of mental illness. Because these people are the most mentally confused and weak. Only then was Levi roared into the sky. It was a relief, but it frightened others. Even the supernovas who had gone through many battles were frightened. Because the higher you go, the more people with weak souls will be there. Damn, who is yelling? It's so uncomfortable, it feels like my head is going to explode. What's weird? This is a thing. Even a powerful person feels extremely uncomfortable. After seeing someone's head really explode, fear spreads instantly. Is that monster Black Crow back? Damn it, how could this happen? Didn't he go to participate in the war to hunt Whitebeard? Many people on the 6th floor heard this voice. Suddenly everyone felt a little scared. Even Blackbeard is no exception, but his strong spirit inspires everyone. If you try hard, you might still have a chance to survive. Do you still want to go back to the dark cell? Advertisement. Yes, this is our only chance. No matter who it is, anyone who stops us will die. Kill. However, as soon as this strong man finished speaking, the ceiling of the cell exploded. An energy sword cut it down. With a pop, the strong man's body was split vertically in two. This shocked everyone. The ceiling materials on the 6th floor are of the highest specification. It's also mixed with sea stone, which they can't break. So Crocodile and the others escaped from the 6th floor. It is also the only passage you can take. Only floors above the 6th floor can be melted away with fruit sand. But now the 6th floor is broken. The long-lost sunshine shone down from the top, illuminating all floors. This made the criminals, who had not seen sunlight for a long time, stunned. Then it went completely crazy, because this knife broke many cells. Above Impel Down, under the sun, there is a young figure, releasing endless pressure. Reiatsu went berserk, and Levi's whole body became a little twisted. Reiatsu possessed Levi, and a black and white substance slowly formed on the body surface. It seems that under Reiatsu's rampage, Levi is completely transformed into another creature. Run away. We're free. The entire Impel Down criminals, including the people on the 6th floor, saw this suddenly opened up road. It was all boiling instantly. Lousy is leaving first. Chode, the big wine barrel on the 6th floor, laughed. Jump up and leave so you don't have to face Rayleigh and the others. With such a wide passage, anyone can escape. I'm going to go too. Get bigger, the San Juan wolf said, and then his body suddenly became bigger than Little Oz. It occupies half of the suddenly extra passage, but fortunately, it is still wide and other criminals can still escape. And San Juan only needs one step to get out of here. Let's go. Blackbeard also jumped up. As for the other partners? No more. During the battle on the 6th level just now, he had taken the opportunity to convince many strong men. The most important thing is to leave here now and rush to the Marine headquarters. Whoosh whoosh. Figures of strong men bounced out along the passage. With their strength, they can escape from here in no time. But then a nightmare-like voice sounded. Who allowed you to leave? Boom. A force of Reiatsu crashed down from the sky like the sky was collapsing. All the criminals who flew into the air, regardless of their strength, were all shot down. It's like making dumplings, and he'll get away with it. Fight him. Chao Ti was unwilling to jump any further, and so was Zan Yu Hunter. Several legends from the old era were unwilling to be trapped any longer. But as soon as he jumped up, Levi's soul damage activated. And it's launched with full force. A snort. These legends who once had a great reputation. The body was torn apart like a ragbag in midair with blood flying everywhere. Deter everyone at once. Those are several peerless experts. Huh? After the death of countless people, their souls remain and gather into new soul bodies. What is that? It still resonates with my Reiatsu and can be controlled. Levi was about to continue attacking, but found out. Now Impel Down has countless soul fragments, and they reorganize unseen by ordinary people. Levi was curious, pointed his hand, and entered a Reiatsu. Then Levi was stunned for a moment as he was about to go berserk. Among those countless souls, a new creature was formed, as if it had been reshaped into an entity by Reiatsu, Levi. It was a creature covered in black and white bone material. It looked like a demon or a monster. The bone mask on its face shattered, revealing a small half of a human face, expressionless. Arrancar. How is this possible? Levi's heart suddenly stirred up a storm. This change was something he didn't expect. 74. Deter the heroes. The broken sword is reforged. Zanpakuto, please subscribe in full. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement. Levi really didn't expect this. When Impel was down, Levi felt many soul fragments. But those are dissociated states. Levi just feels that the soul power here is more and thicker than other places. But he never expected that after a large number of criminals died just now. There are so many scattered soul fragments that they can be condensed together. It's like I came alive instantly. Then Levi thought about the composition of Reiatsu and Hollow. Reiatsu is the source of all fighting power in the Shinigami world. It is also the elemental factor that constitutes all things in the world. And Levi has already developed many uses. It's definitely more than just soul deterrence or impact and real damage. As the use progresses, Levi discovers that there are many things that Reiatsu can do. For example, with Reiatsu, Levi can easily master high-speed movement skills like Shunpo or Hibiki. You can see the soul structure of each person after adding soul analysis. Now it is even more possible to intervene and change the form. And what is Void and Arrancar? Shu is a monster that the soul lingers on after death, or after years of accumulated resentment, the soul degenerates and becomes a monster. If the soul fragments were entangled, condensed and twisted together, they would become Void. If it were not Arrancar, Levi would think it was normal and possible. Because of places like Impel Down, countless people have died due to torture over the years. And those who died, whether they were good or bad in life. At least when he died, he must be full of resentment and linger here all year round. After Levi went on a killing spree just now, it seemed like a critical point. 673. Activate all the fragments of the unwilling soul at once. Although under Levi's Reiatsu, it was even given a new life state. But as for Arrancar, not necessarily. Arrancar needs Shinigami's soul and Hogyoku, as well as Hollow. And after all those things are said and done, the most basic composition is still Reiatsu. Reiatsu is the basis of all power, if you look at it from this point of view. Maybe it's not that he can't understand it, it's just that Levi didn't expect it. I feel like I can operate this thing perfectly. It seems to have no independent consciousness yet. It's confused. I don't know how powerful it is. Levi's eyes were slightly greedy. If we could really create those Arrancars in our memories. Not to mention having the strength of those espadas at the front, even if it is a little more ordinary. I'm afraid it can also compete with Marine Admiral, and may even surpass it. It just seems like it needs more soul power. Are you okay? Levi drifted between rage and greed, and then his reason slowly returned. Levi looked at Guion, then landed in front of her from the air. He took off his coat and put it on her. Guion looked at Levi, who fell from the sky and shot through the entire 6 floors of Impel Down in one thought. I also had some dementia for a while, but she quickly told the story again. There was a riot on the 6th floor of Rayleigh, and many criminals began to escape from prison. But later, in order to stop the escaping criminals, team up with Magellan to get the 6th death, advertisement. Although Guion knew the situation, she went to help first. But I saw red hair on the way there. Unable to contact the outside world, she could only go on her own. Go and stop them, and the results will be obvious. Don't worry, just leave the rest to me. Thank you for your hard work. Yeah. Listening to this gentle voice, Guion suddenly felt less desperate. Although there are still red hair pirates facing all the Impel Down escaped prisoners. It was something that should still be despaired of. But for some reason, when he came, she felt at ease. It seems that there is nothing in this world that he cannot do or cannot solve. Is the knife broken? Levi looked at the broken Jinbaluo and suddenly felt a magical feeling. If Reiatsu and the soul can make Arrancar born, why can't the weapon become Zanpakuto? This should be possible. After all, there are still many broken souls wandering in Impel Down at this moment. Just do it. If you think of it, it works, everyone is happy, but if it fails, there is no cure. No reason not to try. Boom! A black river of Reiatsu stretched out from Levi's back, and then followed Levi's right hand. It contains many soul fragments, and along with Reiatsu, it is compressed into these fragments little by little. This scene shocked many people. They saw a monster appear out of thin air under Levi's finger. Now it seems that the Black Crow Admiral is pulling some force into the broken knife. What is he doing? Everyone looked puzzled and had no idea what Levi was doing. But one thing they can be sure of is that no one dares to escape from prison. He will be killed immediately by Levi. The scene just now intimidated them, and no one wanted to stand out. They are all waiting for someone else to take the lead. Because smart people know that under the temptation of freedom, even if a moth flies into the flame, there will still be many people taking action. Rayleigh-san. Now 6 floors are Impel Down, all penetrated, just stand on the edge. Everyone can understand the relationship between the upper and lower levels by lowering their head or raising their head. Shanks. Rayleigh looked up and was a little surprised. Huh? But the red hair noticed something was wrong. Why did it seem that Rayleigh-san and Magellan were in the same group? Red hair. Only then did Blackbeard notice. The uninvited guest is not just the Black Raven Admiral, an unprecedented and terrifying monster. And red hair pirates, when you see red hair pirates. Magellan's expression changed. How so? Magellan was relieved when Levi arrived. But I never expected that the red hair pirates had already invaded Impel Down. And it's just one level above them. The Gion Vice Admiral was probably unable to stop them and was defeated. It seems that the situation is still not optimistic. Now Marine Headquarters is at war with Whitebeard. And it is a war broadcast live to the whole world. Any urgent situation now is not as important as the victory of that war. That's not as simple as killing a Whitebeard advertisement. That victory or defeat will mean whether the future era will be dominated by pirates or Marines. So must win. This also determines that the Marine Headquarters, the strongest reinforcement, may not have many strong people. However, the Black Crow can come and stabilize the situation more or less. This will not prevent them from being overthrown by the pirate forces. Boss, that Black Crow Admiral seems to be coming towards us. This guy's aura is really scary, Beckman said solemnly, seeing the relationship between Levi and Gion Vice Admiral. Beckman vaguely knew the source of his previous uneasiness. It's just that the previous Marine Admiral couldn't give him this feeling. But this Black Crow made him make a terrible evaluation. With his strength, even if he faced Marine Admiral, he wouldn't have much reaction. But just now Levi's Conqueror's Haki was completely released. It was too exaggerated to directly explode many people into blood mist. And the pressure that accompanies it is like another mountain peak pressing down on it. The pressure on that young man who was as young as a demon was gradually increasing. Simply speaking in terms of momentum, if it were Beckman, he would probably measure Levi's aura like this. The strongest man in the world, Whitebeard, is furious, completely liberated, and his explosive murderous intent is condensed into ultimate. Probably only about a quarter of Levi's, although I can only judge based on the breath. It does not mean that the real strength is this gap. But it's still scary. Let me ask you, is there anyone in the entire world whose violent and coercive aura can be equivalent to 4 Whitebeards in the state of an angry demon? But at this moment, Beckman and others felt the same way. Take Rayleigh-san and leave here as soon as possible. The Black Crow has arrived, and other reinforcements from the world government or Marine Headquarters may also arrive soon. I thought that I would be discovered so soon. The red-haired man also felt slightly sad, a sinking. If we don't get it done as soon as possible and are surrounded by them and Impel Down, we will be in big trouble. And the creature that suddenly appeared out of thin air and was covered in black and white bone remained silent even now. Although the bone mask was broken, the red hair could not feel the slightest anger or human emotions from this thing. There was a vague, terrifying aura spreading. The Straw Hats and Supernovas of LV2, the Shichibukai, felt the powerful Levi just now. His expression was solemn, and it was extremely difficult to breathe. Many people were panting like cattle. It seems that if they don't breathe more air, they will soon die from lack of oxygen and suffocation. Although Levi's current Reiatsu is much gentler. But LV2 is too close to Levi. For a while, no one could step beyond the Thunderpool. This damn nightmare is back. Damn it. Are we destined to be unable to escape from this hellish place? Kid has never experienced anything or anyone more desperate than the Black Crow. This bastard. It feels several times scarier than when Whitebeard was angry. Cold sweat broke out on Sand Crocodile's forehead. A few days ago, he was also one of the people who was experimented by Black Crow. He still has lingering fears. If he could, he never wanted to see the Black Crow again in his life. So now, freedom is right in front of you. Sand Crocodile hesitated. He had to hesitate, those strong men who had just bounced up from the 6th floor. Big Barrel Chode, Xuanyue Hunter, St. Anne's Wolf. None of these guys is better than me. But that Black Crow guy didn't even make a move, they were completely killed. Advertisement: if he rushes forward rashly, he will definitely turn into a bloody flower. This is the 4th Admiral, Black Crow. His whole body is indeed filled with an ominous aura. Shichibukai Jinbei met Levi for the first time. But what is going on with this unparalleled feeling of oppression that drags people into hell and crushes them repeatedly? It's a little too scary. However, many strong men saw that Levi did not continue to attack immediately. But it seemed that he was busy doing something for the broken knife. At this time, many people started to get ready to take action again. He seemed distracted. I don't know that every move they make is under Levi's surveillance. As long as Levi holds this place, no one can leave. They are all turtles in the urn. It is better to deal with these guys. Levi's creative attempt at Zanpakuto is the most important. For everyone else, just leave them all behind, and Levi is eager for someone to start running away. Because in this way, I can feel at ease and kill them all as a matter of course. Then let their souls be devoured by this weird Arankar. Swish swish. In Impel Down, the fragments of resentful souls accumulated over the years. A lot of, almost every inch of the land was stained. This has been accumulated over hundreds of years. After being baptized with blood just now, the originally dim soul particles seemed to resonate. All revealed, now being pulled by Levi Reiatsu and poured into all the fragments of Jinpira. In Gion's somewhat incredulous eyes, those broken blades actually came together intact. And vaguely, she noticed that there was a faint light emitting. It seems that 3.1 is sharper than before, something has changed. Gion raised his head and looked at Levi in shock, only to find that Levi frowned slightly. He looked a little pale. Are you okay? Gion's heart ached a little, and he didn't need to think about it to know that he wanted to replace this broken sword for her. Levi must have paid a heavy price. Levi also didn't expect that Reiatsu would consume so much money in forging a Zanpakuto that doesn't even have a spirit. But Levi modified his soul with his fingers. Then the body returns to a state of full blood and energy. Reiatsu analysis and soul modification are just routine for Levi now. It's okay. When the broken sword is reforged, I also hope that it will be a victory or defeat when the night returns. Don't take it too seriously. Levi said lightly. Gion's state just now was very uncomfortable at first glance. Satisfied. Coupled with multiple injuries on his body, Levi couldn't help but burst into anger. As he spoke, Levi put a hand on Gion's soul and modified her soul. With a buzzing sound, Gion's physical injury completely recovered in these 10 moments. After hearing Levi's words, Gion's confused eyes gradually became firm again. No matter what, I can't let him down. It's just strong and sharp, but without spirit. That's not enough. Just use the casting method of the demon sword to complete the spirit casting. Just use your blood to cast it. Levi's eyes suddenly looked in one direction. On the wall there was a line of black smoke, clinging to the wall, very cautiously, thinking that it would not be discovered. Oops. Blackbeard suddenly panicked when he met Levi's eyes. 75. Blood sacrifice. Shikai blooms. Could he be a god? Please subscribe in full. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement Blackbeard's black smoke enveloped Shiryu and several other criminals. Because Blackbeard fought against Rayleigh and Magellan. IV6 people are not allowed to kill each other, so there are quite a lot of people left. No one is taking action now, and Blackbeard looks at everyone waiting for the winner. Blackbeard doesn't want to be the one who stands out. But Levi put too much pressure on him, so he acted anyway. But it's not the kind of upright departure. He planned to temporarily cover the group of them with black smoke and climb up the crack. Then go to the third or second floor first and wait for a better opportunity. In this way, you are very close to the outside world. When someone attacks Levi, he can escape from here as quickly as possible. Unexpectedly, he managed to hide this from Rayleigh and Magellan in the chaos just now. But he couldn't hide it from the Black Crow, which made Blackbeard very uncomfortable. Because his dark fruit is actually very hidden. Wherever there are shadows, his dark fruit can hide it from all observation Haki's perceptions. Unexpectedly, Levi discovered him just after arriving at LV4. This made Blackbeard doubt his life for a while. He even wondered if it was when Levi did those strange experiments on him before. Arrange some means to sense yourself, and actually, there really is. Although Levi has solved many of the jailbreak factors on the 6th floor. But I still kept a precautionary measure, just in case. Almost everyone's soul has been silently marked with the Reiatsu logo by Levi. If they escape from prison for other reasons, no one will have to worry about finding them. But even if you don't rely on this mark, just rely on Reiatsu's perception. Blackbeard's ability is invisible to him. What's the use of covering your body and breath? As long as you can't shield your soul, it's in your own eyes. They are no different than standing in front of themselves. Hearing that Levi wanted to sacrifice them with blood, Blackbeard's expression changed drastically. 21 Then he decisively stopped hesitating and had to give it a try. Whether you want freedom or prison, it's all up to you. Run away with all your strength. Blackbeard removed the black smoke. Taking Shiryu with him, he jumped among the broken eaves and broken walls, sword up and rushed towards Levi. All we can do is attack. Levi wants to kill them, they can't just sit there and wait for death. The Black Crow is really a nemesis, but if I can kill him, there won't be any way to stop him. The blood-red light will be cut. Shiryu maintained a sword drawing and slashing hand gesture. He is also a great swordsman, not weaker than Gion, but more dangerous. Because he is bloodthirsty, when he takes action, he must use the killing skill. And he has been practicing with criminals in prison, so it is extremely dangerous for a great swordsman of the same level to face him. It's a pity that he's not an Esper, otherwise, maybe we would all have a chance to kill him now. The Dark Emperor, Blackbeard exploded with all his strength, and endless darkness covered the sky and the sun. The little bit of sunlight that was finally cast was blocked. Facing a monster like the Black Crow, I experienced his terror once. Blackbeard didn't dare to hold back anymore, and he used his strongest move as soon as he took action. This blow made the red-haired Rayleigh look at all the strong men present. Especially those with abilities, they feel that the devil fruit they control is somewhat out of control. Advertisement It's like meeting a sea stone, very uncomfortable. A huge dark sphere was held in Blackbeard's palm. Kill Black Crow. Seeing Blackbeard, Shiryu, and several other strong men rushing forward. Others followed, planning to strengthen their attacks against Levi. Let's go too, Kid gritted his teeth and prepared to rush forward. Wait a minute. I have a bad feeling. Wait a minute. Luffy suddenly had a whim. It was as if his soul, which was different from ordinary people, trembled at this moment and gave some reminder. Or intuition. Many people looked at Straw Hat in confusion. But just looking at the Straw Hat for a moment, they discover that Blackbeard, Shiryu, and the other strong men have all suffered. Those who don't know how to live or die, I spared your life before because of the world government's policy that it is not easy to kill you, and at the same time there is some need for you, but now there is something more obedient. Your life is important to me, it's not necessary to stay. And your souls belong to me before. Levi faced this overwhelming, all kinds of devastating attacks that could destroy the island. His face was calm, and then he stretched out a palm from the distance. Aim at Shiryu, who has drawn his sword and is slashing with murderous intent. Seducing the Reiatsu she had left inside him, then a blazing black Reiatsu burst out from Levi's back like burning flames. Then he grasped the void with 5 fingers, peefed. Shiryu felt the void solidify, and his consciousness seemed to have paused. Then the hand holding the knife was splattered with blood and was inexplicably broken at the shoulder. What's going on? Shiryu suddenly felt nothing, but blood spurted onto his face. Blood? Where did the blood come from? He looked at his right hand blankly. Where's my hand? No, Shiryu screamed after realizing it. He is not a prisoner and has not been tested or studied. When did you have an extra energy in your body that didn't belong to you? I have no contact with Black Crow at all. They met several times when Black Crow was dining at Impel Down. I have shaken hands several times. I have shaken hands. Could it be that time? Damn it. The insidious Black Crow, lousy, is going to kill it. Pung. Bloody fireworks exploded. Then the blood and soul fragments were all pulled into Jin Kun's famous knife with a wave of Levi's fingers. This famous sword crazily absorbs blood and soul fragments. Sucks it clean instantly. This. Gion suddenly felt a strange feeling. It was as if the force on the knife was feeding back into her hand. Such majestic and fierce power, just like Shiryu's 10 slashes just now. Seeing the scene of bloody fireworks, everyone's hearts tightened. That is a world-class swordsman. The sword drawn and slashed just now was extremely amazing. Let everyone present have the illusion that this is hitting their heads, it is very dangerous. But such a strong man will die immediately, and even after death, the blood is collected by Levi and poured into the weapon. The legend of creating a demon sword is recorded in this world. Marine Admiral, how could Black Crow know something so evil? And he appeared from now until now. He has killed many people and has no plans to stop. This makes other people who want to jailbreak a little scared. Advertisement: although imprisoned in Impel Down, life is worse than death. But when real death is in front of you, it's not that easy to choose either. Devil, this guy is definitely a demon. The big wine barrel and the others died just like this. He must have planted some kind of demon seed in us. Damn it, I don't want to die. Someone looked at it, then Levi began to scream in agony. Damn. Blackbeard watched Shiryu explode beside him, with unprecedented fear and panic on his face. He wanted to kneel down and beg for mercy, as long as he could survive. Blackbeard can do this. He is an able-bodied man who firmly believes that as long as people live, there is still hope and possibility. My plan hasn't really started yet. He hasn't gotten the shock fruit yet, he hasn't embarked on his own path to invincibility yet. How could he die like this? Stay alive. You must find a way to stay alive. But earlier when Impel was down on the 6th floor, I was tortured and steadied by him. He knelt down and begged to be bypassed, but he ignored him. This made Blackbeard lose confidence in his acting skills. Could it be that I have been seen through? Levi's face was expressionless and he looked at the other 2 criminals on the 6th floor. The palms that had just been closed were opened again. Peefed. Just for a moment, Blackbeard was stunned and quickly approached Levi. 2 more figures beside him were torn into blood mist, which splashed Blackbeard's face. This completely inspired Blackbeard's fear to ultimate. The figure in the middle of the rush suddenly paused, looked at Levi and begged for mercy. No, don't kill me. I can become your subordinate, your weapon. I have no problem being a Marine. This, all the strong men present were stunned for a moment. Is this the person who caught Fire Fist Ace? Is this the man who had the guts to rebel after killing a captain from Whitebeard's ship? Is this the man who briefly owned 7 warlords of the sea? This is so spineless and embarrassing. The battle hasn't even started and you're already almost kneeling down to beg for mercy? The redhead subconsciously touched the scars on his eyes. Although it was left after being tricked by Blackbeard when he was still weak in the early years. But Blackbeard is acting so badly now, it was a shame for the redhead to feel this scar. This time, 70% of the truth is actually true. I would have considered it before, but now I have a better choice. Just go to heaven honestly. No, please, I know a lot. Blackbeard's body gradually expanded. But because of its powerful strength, Haki is also amazing, coupled with dark fruit and special physique. Levi was unable to successfully let Reiatsu bloom at once and burst it. Instead, it explodes slowly, and this process is even more painful. Plus, Blackbeard feels pain several times more than others. This scream screamed and screamed, making countless strong men's hair stand on end. Blackbeard's screams became more and more shrill and tragic. The more criminals are in awe and fear of Levi. It's nothing. Why did you develop such strong strength and body? Now you can't even die. Levi was also slightly speechless. He had no intention of torturing Blackbeard. I just wanted to sacrifice him with blood and let him die quickly. Who knew that his body was much stronger than those of the same level? And the pain is several times that of others. This kind of tearing and swelling pain is gone all at once for others. He had to savor the process slowly. Advertisement. I'm going to kill you. Upon hearing this, Blackbeard went berserk and cursed at Levi, but unfortunately, his speech became unclear. This is really cruel. Levi shook his head with emotion and said to himself in compassion. Everyone present suddenly felt countless grass and mud horses galloping past. Even Guillaume couldn't help but have one galloping past. It's obvious that you killed him, and you're the one here torturing him. But you actually said it was cruel. What did you do? Are you still embarrassed? And you have an expression that seems like it's none of your business. This guy is so scary. Could it be that he is really the reincarnation of the Demon King? When ALV3 criminal saw this scene, silently walked into the cell, and picked up the broken cell again. Installed. Pretend that you are still in jail and escape? Escape? He didn't want to die so hideously and horribly. Pung. Even if Blackbeard held on for a while, nothing would change in the end. His body explodes along with his dark orb. 850 Levi draws all the energy into the knife. Then he pulled out a trace of Guillaume's soul, pour it into the knife and use it as a guide. A connection between the two was established, and then something happened. The power of the sword is transmitted to Guillaume. It is extremely powerful, and at the same time, a certain wonderful artistic conception arises from deep within. Levi Reiatsu has always been trying to break through the barrier. At this moment, everything comes naturally, and Guillaume understands and integrates it. There was a roar. A terrifying sword energy of black smoke soared into the sky from her body and penetrated directly into the clouds. Interesting, it seems that Blackbeard has retained his dark fruit ability. Could it be that after a person dies, the devil fruit ability will remain in the soul for a period of time? So when Whitebeard died, Blackbeard was depriving the soul of the shock fruit that was about to disappear? Levi seemed figured something out. If so, just tear up Blackbeard's soul and pack it up yourself. It doesn't seem impossible to retain the corresponding abilities. Try to give your knife a new name. I think it should convey some intuition or thinking to you. This knife was created by Levi and can naturally sense it. Everything. But the will in the sword is completely new. No relation to Blackbeard, Shiryu, at all. Their will has long since been torn apart as their souls were torn apart and completely disappeared. The spirit that was born is a new existence formed by Levi using Reiatsu to fuse the soul fragments. Well, I can feel it. Fight with me on the battlefield again. Black Sword Emperor accompanied Guillaume's first chant. There was a loud roar like thunder, and the black smoke that shot into the sky instantly expanded like a black curtain and spread. It has expanded more than 10 times, and its strength and aura have all increased by about 10 times. In the black mist that filled the sky, a Valkyrie made of black smoke stood quietly behind Guillaume. Holding a black judgment sword high in his hand, it has the power of an emperor, as if he wants to judge the whole world. Maintain the same posture as Guillaume's main image. Tisk. The terrifying sword energy filled the air, and countless sea abyss were torn out in the surrounding sea area. It was very scary. Everyone was scared at this moment. What is this? The red hair pirates of Saiyo Rado. In particular, Beckman lost all his previous calmness and composure. How is this possible? A person's strength and swordsmanship suddenly improved so much. This goes against common sense. Even if he has an epiphany of sword intent, it is impossible to do this. The power of the supreme swordsman is not even weaker than that of Haki. This. The red-haired man couldn't believe it, and the source of all this. It's the 4th Admiral of Marine Headquarters, Black Crow. Could he be a god?